Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, Joe Dehls, and John Tortorelli. And it's now episode 415. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Jets surprisingly, shockingly firing Robert Saleh, the Patriots electing to start Drake Maye against the Houston Texans, and get into our NBA Western Conference preview, go over the win totals for every single team. And Riv, you came to this show a brand new man with the fresh cut.
Bald.
You look so good, bro.
Yeah,
looking mad daddy-ish.
Dehls definitely told me before he wanted to fuck me.
I'm with him.
That's how we're starting the show.
I understand that,
All right.
you know. But yeah, just new vibe. Well, old vibe, but
It's your first time here. Welcome. This is, it's what we do. Fuck.
That's what you do?
We
what?
fucking talk about sports.
Yeah, happy to be here. Had a good day, just chilling. Happy to see you guys, man. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a minute.
New hair, same riff.
Same riff always. I'm definitely
love
still
that.
that freaky, horny, dangerous, lubed up man that I can be.
Oh, man.
Love that we're starting this show so demonic.
If we have any sponsors coming soon, we're not starting this episode.
We're not gonna dive into it just yet.
No.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Mets are up 6-0 right now, looking to take a 2-1 lead against the Phillies. You should have been here with us, man. It's been a great
had a
year.
chance.
It was a great
That's
year.
the five.
That's the five.
That's the five.
I don't like baseball, man.
I respect that. Liberty.
We're up and
Oh,
stuck.
man. Liberty's here.
Sabrina is a demon this season. She really wants it. She wants it bad, truthfully.
I respect it.
My Yankees are giving me a bit of a fright. Not going to front you.
Yo, what's up with Aaron Judge?
My goat is struggling. He's
Does he
struggling
only
badly.
struggle in the playoffs?
He has the highest strikeout percentage with hitters that have a minimum amount of requirements of at-bats. The highest strikeout percentage in MLB history.
What is it like?
I don't know. I really don't know. I thought that this year with Soto in front of him, it'd be a little bit better. But he's just up there and he's pressing. He had a better game too. Definitely a better approach. Game one, the pitcher that went, Michael Wacha, he's had a bad history with. He's only had one hit in like 20-something at-bats against him. So when he went up against him, I wasn't expecting the best. But it's still judged, so you hope for the best. But he definitely got the best of him. And then yesterday, struck out in the first inning when we got people on. And then you had, he got a base hit. He walked. Not a bad game from him, just, he's not hitting home runs. He just missed a home run too. That was another thing that kind of blew. But he'll be okay. I trust in him. But
So what is it? The James Harden
we
of the
just can't
MLB?
Joel Embiid?
yeah, you said Julius Randle, and
I
that
couldn't
shit-
think of
that
that.
was
Julius
yours.
Randle was rude.
But I think James Harden is accurate because he has had moments. It's just they're kind of getting outweighed by the other ones, and that's fair.
Yeah.
Stinks.
So how you
Regular
doing,
season, he's
Dehls?
elite. I'm doing great, man. Mets are up 6-0. I'm on the moon right now.
For the people that want and like a 3.5-4 hour show, this has potential to be one of them. And I'm praying to God that I'm wrong because sitting here for 3.5-4 hours is a task. But
Why would it be 3.5, 4 hours?
I gotta go play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That's what I gotta do.
I got Madden now, so
Oh, nice.
Oh, you just got Madden.
I got Madden. Actually, my brother got Madden 7 days ago. He didn't tell me until 2 days ago. He said, "Oh, Rip, forgot to tell you, we got
You
Madden."
better make a franchise?
Huh?
Franchise?
I already started.
Oh, who? Houston?
Yeah,
Buffalo?
yeah. I traded Diggs. He's
Didn't even
gone.
ask about Philly. No, not.
No, I don't like.
you traded Diggs off Houston?
Yeah, I traded him for DJ Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, sent 4 first rounders for Jettis. So now I have Jettis, Nico, DJ Moore.
So you're one of those
Genius.
franchise players.
I can get him.
What's wrong with that? Defense is okay. Offensive
need-
line is
listen.
terrible, though.
I'm good. I have CJ. I didn't start playing a game yet though because I was tired yesterday. But I'm gonna
Just
start
went
playing
and made
again
some
today.
trades.
Yeah,
I
went in
respect
just to
that.
just
I
make
Go
some
to super
trades.
team.
Yeah,
First round pick for Jett is accepted.
I sent my
He said
future.
four
Four.
first.
I sent 4.
4 first. I don't.
No,
Can't you
3
only trade
first.
3?
3 first, 3 seconds.
Okay.
Was it
Jeez.
really? Damn, that took that much
They
to get
said no when I sent 3 first, 2 seconds. So I had to send one more.
Would Minnesota
is
take
Jettis.
3 first and 2 seconds Jettis right now?
I don't think they
I don't
will.
He's a 98 overall.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had to send everything. I tried to get CD, but I was out of draft capital.
Yeah, Madden's like sometimes they're very accurate with their stuff. Like it's really hard to trade for some players, and then other times it's so like sometimes backup quarterbacks just have like insane value because Madden programs it. So
they're young as
quarterbacks
shit,
have
yeah.
value, but it's like a fucking 30-year-old journeyman who's not going to be anything. But if he's green, you could trade him in like a 4th round pick and get like CD instead of using all the first. But yeah, man, it should be fun.
The NBA season is starting soon, and PrizePicks already has NBA season points per game averages where you can play on who you want to go more or less on. So right now, this is Western Conference preview. So we're going to get into these point totals right now. and you guys are going to tell me if you're going to go more or less on these players' points per game average for the season.
Is this fast or?
It can be. There's a lot of players that we got to go through.
Don't look at me.
Are you staring down, Drew?
Don't look at me because last time I went too fast, allegedly.
And Dehls can't participate.
Take
At
that
least
as
I
well.
don't think so. He can't participate. He's over here locked in on the Mets game. So let's get into it. Trying to predict if these players will hit these points per game totals this season in the NBA Western Conference. LeBron James, 24.8 points per game.
Easily over. Easily more.
He'll have more than that. LeBron James never averaged anything less than 25.
Anthony Edwards, 27.3 points per game.
20. They have 0.3. They have that.
Yes.
That's funny. Imagine it's 27.2. I'd be so sick. He'll probably have more than this, especially without
28
Karl
is
Anthony
tough.
Towns. 27 is 27.3.
Well, he had to get 28.
He just needs 27.4.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's so funny.
I'm going more on this.
I think so too. I think he'll have more than that.
That's a lot of points.
I think this is the year that Anthony Edwards breaks out.
Randall's still
scoring
a 20 to 22 point per game guy. I'll take the wild card. I'll go more.
I think Randall will know off rip though. It's not his team.
I don't think he cares.
You're cooking.
Yeah. I'll go more though.
Steph Curry, 26.5 points per game. He has to carry this year.
I'll go more. Steph would get 26.5.
Find myself.
He averaged 24 in the second half of the season.
And it was pretty bad basketball.
You find yourself hating again.
I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. And if being honest is hating, then damn it, so be it.
Sure.
I'm going less.
He averaged 26.4 last year. So.
If stats were just the second half, he wouldn't average a 26.
Well, if stats was just the first half.
Was it 24 or were you rounding up?
No, it was 24.
It's pretty close to 24.
All right,
23.5.
Okay.
So if stats
Pretty
were
close to 24?
That's a roundup.
It's dead middle. You're lucky that 0.5 rounds
but if stats
up.
were the first half, he's averaged 29.
Yeah, he was cooking.
Well, the
And
point
then
is that
he fell
Steph
off a cliff.
Curry in the second half wasn't that good.
No, that's the whole point.
For sure, yeah.
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 I actually think this Warriors team is pretty cute this year.
Sneaky.
You know?
Brother, 26 is light for him. What are we doing?
Anthony Davis, 24.5 points per game.
With JJ Redick, I'm hopeful this can be 26,
I'll go
27.
more. I think he averages about 25.
I think I'll have more than this too.
I'm going to go more as well. I feel like this is going to be a dominant Anthony Davis season this year. I just have a feeling. Nikola Jokic, 26.8 points per game.
I think he'll have less than this. I think it's going to be around 24, and hopefully we see an uptick in Jamal Murray and his usage as a scorer. I know that hasn't been the case in the regular season, but he really doesn't need to dominate on the scoring side of things for his team to still win.
A bench is a wild card. I'll go more.
I'm going to go more as well. I think
It's hard to take less with these superstars, but I'm going to try and do it.
It's just with Nikola Jokic right now, Denver, they've lost some pieces over the past couple of seasons, and Jokic has to more consistently provide more offensively for the Denver Nuggets.
More?
Especially with Jamal Murray, the terrible Olympic run. Wasn't
right, he's gotta
good
get
in
right.
the playoffs. Or Jokic got to carry
sucks.
more of a load now.
I just don't think Jamal Murray just falls off a cliff. There's no
we know
way.
what he's going to be in the regular season.
I don't disagree with that.
SGA, 30.6 points per game.
We're talking about the MVP of the league right there.
I think that might hit flat. Like, I wish
He's Mr. 31.
I think, but I think, you got.
He's Mr. 31.
I think
That's
J-Dub
him.
goes up a little bit more this year. I think Chet goes up a little bit more this year.
Caruso.
He's not really a scorer. So
what
I'm not worried about it.
I think I'm going to go less just for the J-Dub breakout, the Chet breakout, taking another leap
I
in
can
their
see
game.
him at like 29, 30 flat. Like, I'll go less.
And they added two players, Hartenstein and Caruso. They're not scorers, but they're going to at least put up like 8 to 10 points per game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go less on
this is the MVP of the league, but I am going less.
Jason Tatum, 26.9. Or, nah, sorry, this is Western Conference. My bad. Luka Doncic, 33.1 points per game.
33 is so nasty, but he could do
I'm
it.
gonna be honest. I'm not taking less on Luka Doncic. I'll be so okay with that. Give me more.
How much did he average last year?
I think he was 34.
I'll go more.
I'm going to go more as
He's
well.
a demon.
I don't think he'll need to, though.
Is he
He
a
got a
better
better
scorer
team.
than James Harden?
You brought in Clay, so maybe
I'll go less. I don't think he'll need to
scoring
score.
averages
I don't think he'll need
go
to score
down.
33 a game.
Is
I'll
he a
go
better
less.
scorer than Harden? Peak Harden.
If Harden kept that mid range in his game, I'll say no. But I'll go Luka.
Really? Wow.
I think with the Mavericks, it's just really
Really?
if you can trust their health or not, because Kyrie Irving is injury prone, and if he does get hurt, then Luka has to carry a big load in scoring.
Really? Better than prime Harden already?
I think so. I
I think as a basketball player, I get it. Of course, the playmaking's
like,
insane.
Luka is real. He doesn't have a real weakness.
He doesn't. There's nothing he doesn't
post-up
do.
game is there. He can get to the rim. He can finish with the best.
figured
James
out
Harden
how to
doesn't.
shoot.
James Harden in his prime, he was very north and south. He was step back three, taking threes, get to the basket or get to the line.
If he kept the
there
mid-range
were
in
three
his
ways
game,
he scored.
He had the mid-range prior to those big years. If he kept that in his game,
Those ways he scored were dominant. They were dominant.
Insane.
I think he's
And nobody could stop him.
James Harden's OD.
But I do think Luka has more in his arsenal.
Luka in the
agree.
playoffs too is
Luke is
insane.
already one of the best scorers in NBA history, but that's why I asked Harden, because I feel like that's kind of a precursor of you're in that upper echelon.
Victor Wembanyama, 24.8 points per game.
Send it to the crib.
That's a lot. I'll go
He has
more.
Chris Paul now. Those points going to go up.
I'll go more.
Floor general.
I think he's at 25.
You guys
this
gonna
year.
say I'm glazing if I say he averages 28 this year?
That'd be a lot for a
be
second-year
tough.
player.
He's making all NBA.
Okay.
I'm going to go more on Wemby. Kevin Durant, 26.8 points per game.
He's Kevin Durant.
How much did he average last year? 26? 27?
29.
29?
He's
Did
Kevin
he average
Durant.
29 last year?
I'm pretty sure he did. Let me look.
I'll go more.
You guys have said less on how many, one player?
I think
That's
one.
probably
I said less on Steph, Jokic, and SGA.
Okay.
I said to get less on SGA.
He averaged 27.1. KD did.
Okay, so it was right there.
Yes.
Yeah, so. Wait, so this one is 29?
This one's 26.8.
Oh, more.
He's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, more.
I'm
So
actually
that's
going to go less on this. It's just a
And the
0.4
KD
difference.
shirt too is crazy.
He's literally wearing a Kevin Durant shirt.
Oh, because I think KD's going to make an impact in other areas. That's
Like
what I
what?
think.
He ain't going to need to score 26. You got Devin Booker right there, so.
No, you do. And that Devin Booker's point total is around the same, 26.5 points per game. So less than Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it's Devin Booker.
I
I'll
think
go
Devin
more.
Booker's going to have a redemption year.
28 point per game year, I can see it. I'll go more.
John Morant, bounce back season for him potentially, 26.6 points per game.
I could see that being at 26. I'll go wild card. I'll say more. He'll average 27 a game. Kind of need to.
I'm going to go less on this. Desmond Bane last year had an uptick in scoring. It's because nobody really played for Memphis. You have Jaren Jackson coming back. Zach Edey's getting implemented as a rookie. And I think he's going to average double digits. I'll go less, but slightly. I think Ja's going to average like 8 assists per game or 9 assists
He
per game.
had a
this
year.
year,
He
though.
averaged 27 and 9.
That's why I feel like I'm going with him having more than that. I see the injuries that they have to start the season. I feel like it's just going to have to be him shouldering a load. So I'll take more.
Kawhi Leonard, 24.4 points per game.
More.
I'm going to go less.
I'll go more. Less than 24 a
Nah,
game?
with PG gone, 24 makes sense. With PG gone, 24 makes sense. I'm going to go more.
In
He
the-
averaged what, 23 last year?
Yeah.
The calendar year to the new year, from January on, he averaged 26.
He needs
He was
to.
shooting like 50, 39, like 88.
No, he was insanely
He
great.
needs to be a borderline MVP candidate for the Clippers to do anything this year.
How many games do they need to play for this to like?
I don't
work
even know.
That's a great question, actually.
Clippers team is fake deep.
Okay.
defensively?
Well, we'll get into it. De'Aaron Fox, 24.2 points per game.
24?
Point two.
That's DeMar's there.
Yeah.
You got Keegan uptick. Bonus is there. Malik Monk is there.
24.2,
It
you
just
said?
seems so low.
I
but
can see
then
a 24.7.
I'll go slightly lesser, not because
I respect
I'll go.
that.
I'll go less. I'll go less.
I think he's going to have more than that.
I think he's going to have more than that, too.
I can see like DeMar's a buck.
He is a bucky, but also an underrated part of his game is his playmaking. He's going to set up De'Aaron Fox in his own right, too.
Yeah, but DeMar's a buck.
He
Or
is.
Fox takes a step back.
No. It's his team.
I don't even think it could just be a like DeMar's a buck. I don't know. In the regular season, bro, he's just a walking bucket.
And the last player, Alperen Şengün, 22.7 points per
Crying
game.
less. 22 point what?
0.7.
That's a big number.
Point
There's
7.
so many players on the Rockets. He is probably the best.
You think he could get that?
he's the best?
Maybe.
I think he could get that. He was close to it last year.
best? I don't know. That March Jalen Green, man. It's clouding my judgment.
I'll go slight. I think it goes more about maybe a little bit. They got a lot of players.
I'm going
Like,
to
a
take
lot of
less.
good
I think
players.
it'll be around like 21, and that's not a bad thing. He just does a lot
Wasn't
of
he
things
at 21
great.
last year?
I thought it was
Yeah.
20. Was it 21? Or was it
20, 21. He was definitely around there. Let me try to check.
21.4.
Did you cook?
Maybe.
Let's see. Alperen Şengün stats. He averaged 21.1.
Almost.
So you're saying averaging
Two more
one point something more points, 1.7
You
more
expect
points.
everybody in Houston to get better.
Joffrey
Hopefully.
Shepard,
Yeah.
some growth.
Can't wait to talk about them.
I'm gonna go with more here. I think Alperen Şengün.
I'll go more.
It's a 23 and 10 kind of year. I
what?
like that for him.
23 and
What?
10.
23 and 10.
How many assists? Throw that in. 6?
5.
Okay.
Oh, Sengun. Yes. Yes.
Who you
yes.
thought I was talking about?
I just wanted to troll you. Yeah.
So you didn't think I was talking about anybody specifically?
I knew you were talking about Sengun.
You know, I think Sengun's gonna have a great year. He's gonna have a breakout year.
I have
even more so than last
I
year.
have a blindly ranking.
Well, before that, letting the people know that you can go on PrizePicks, use code PAS, play $5, and then get $50 if you want to help support the podcast out. NBA season totals are out right now on PrizePicks if you want to jump into that. Now, Red, let's jump into your blind ranking.
Before we jump into our blind ranking, we locked up. Shout out to us for hitting on our two play.
Who'd you guys have?
Well, we did the Kareem Hunt in the first half.
Kareem Hunt was
I think it was 43.5. Friends have more than that. He did that in the first half.
100.
And then you had Travis Kelce receptions.
Yeah, 5.5.
Kelsey was also.
That was easy. That was free.
So I have a blindly ranking. Let me get my order set up so I can.
What do we got here?
I lost in the sloppy Sundays league to
Really?
Drew.
Oh, damn. Did that happen?
Travis Kelce, I needed 3 more points.
He got you so many already.
He had 10 points in the first half.
Yeah.
What did he finish with? Like
13.
Yeah, 13 facts.
I understand. You was aggravated. You wanted like a 20.
And especially when Kalen Saunders stopped that touchdown when they pitched it to him. Ooh, that was the W right there.
Kalen Saunders cooked at the goal line.
That was
he had
a W.
that play, and then he had the interception. It was a W that wasn't, unfortunately.
If Travis
pal.
Kelce just gets in there,
And now you're 1-4, right?
no, I'll be good. I should have beat Drew.
1-4.
Should have.
I had
Why'd you the same record as the bench?
Here, listen to this. I had DJ Moore 25 points on the bench. I had Kyler 30 points on the bench.
Who'd you start over then?
Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., and DK Metcalf.
That was the league you were
All
talking
great
about.
options to
Marvin
start.
over DJ? DJ was playing the Panthers.
Marvin's Marvin. You
Marvin
don't
is
sit
Marvin,
him.
yeah.
Who the Cardinals just played?
Good point.
49ers.
Okay.
Their defense hasn't been that good.
There we
Brian
go.
Thomas Jr. was the must start. DK really folded.
No,
though.
my
Brian
team
Thomas
got
Jr.
shut
started
down.
the week.
Also, Aaron Jones got hurt. Like, I could play the same card. Like, oh, Aaron
play that
Jones.
card.
Yeah,
if
but
you wanted
DK
to.
and Marvin had combined like 5 points.
And Aaron Jones had 5 points.
Yeah, and our defense shut them down.
in the first quarter.
Our defense shut them down. It's crazy.
We did shut down the Vikings. though.
And Cooper
Oh,
Cup's
no.
hurt, too. So,
I was just
like,
saying,
yo,
Aaron
I miss
Jones-
all
running
these
game,
guys.
no, he didn't.
Aaron Jones might have 30 yards in the first quarter.
And then we locked down.
That's
Todd
lost.
Chandler ain't do nothing.
You lost.
I'm gonna bounce back in that league. It's fine.
No, he's talking about the Jets.
We did lose.
Jets going to bounce back too.
We'll talk about that.
Here we go.
I saw
Blindly ranking.
I saw the episode.
What episode?
The episode you guys were talking about the Jets after they lost. Last episode.
Oh, they
The
you
recap.
weren't here for
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Word.
I have a lot of things.
Glad you're
I
tapped
Shit's
in, Riff.
embarrassing.
have a lot of. It
embarrassing.
was.
It's
It
embarrassing.
was definitely eye opening. This is blindly ranking random Western Conference players in the 21st century. I try to keep it 21st century.
So random players.
Hate when
Random. I
it
try
does
to
this
keep it
shit,
21st
man.
century to keep Dehls involved.
What's that supposed to mean? Throw some 70s guys in there,
I
man.
really
I'll be
doubt
here.
you would you would know anybody from the 70s. First name up, Carmelo Anthony in the West.
Okay.
Went
So,
to the WCF.
yeah.
I'm feeling a calm 3.
Maybe 2?
In the West.
Maybe
I got
2?
you. That's why I'm saying his time in Denver was special. I'm feeling
Was it
a good
special?
3. We respect Carmelo Anthony on this podcast.
It's just random NBA players. You could have a lot of bad
Carmelo's
players.
an all-time great
could
scorer.
have Tony Allen.
Amazing rebounder. Decent defender.
Crying at
Let's
that.
respect him.
In the
wanna
Western Conference,
lied.
let's just say
What do you mean?
Decent
let's just say we
kind.
get Paul Gasol.
Okay.
Is he over Melo
I'm going to take Melo.
or behind Melo?
Player for
What do
player.
you think?
I'm going to take Melo.
What do you mean? What
Player for player. I'll
player
take
for
Melo.
player, it's bigs versus wings. Who would you rather have?
But
Respect
we're talking
him.
about Western Conference. We're
take-
talking about Paul
I
Gasol
understand.
and Memphis
And the Lakers.
and the Lakers winning the
Player
championship
for
back
player,
to back.
Melo's better when you have accolades and everything. Sure, but
Carmelo Anthony, number 3.
lock it.
That's good.
Okay, let me put him at 3. Carmelo. Next name up, John Morant.
So weird.
This is
5.
a 5. Yeah.
Okay.
We're here.
All right, 5.
He still has to prove a lot. He's not fine in the West just yet.
That
we put him
was a,
6?
that was a
Nah,
crazy.
let's keep 6 open.
Yeah.
5.
That was a crazy comment. Next name up, Steve Nash.
Okay.
2.
2. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. We're going to get a demon. We're due a demon.
Maybe.
We're
Unless
due
we
a
get
demon.
a
Steve
top
Nash could've been
guy,
the
Steve
demon.
Nash could definitely be
Steve
one.
Nash
be-
could
yeah,
be
he
the
could be
demon.
the demon.
Could be the demon.
I'm cool with 2. I'm
Two?
cool with 2. 21st century. We got Tim Duncan, Kobe, Blake Griffin. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
that's
That's lower than Steve Nash.
I just don't know if we're gonna get one of those demons.
Chris Paul. You
Okay.
can put him 1.
That's lower than Steve Nash. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Lower?
Chris Paul's great.
Yes.
He's not as good as Steve Nash, you're saying?
He's 1,000% as good as Steve.
In
Nash.
the
Probably
West,
better.
no, he's just as good as Steve
I
Nash.
agree.
But Chris Paul,
What was Nola?
what did he do?
Nola.
He
and
never went to the
Rockets.
conference finals
Clippers?
until he went to the Rockets and
I
played with James
understand,
Harden.
but on Nola
Steve-
and the Clippers. Okay, no. I'm very from what I'm saying. Continue.
With Steve Nash, multiple time MVP, and he led the Suns to
There
the
we go.
conference
Mickey Mouse
finals
MVP.
4
Hey,
times.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
One of them wasn't Mickey Mouse.
Just one. My bad.
I can understand the other one, but one of them wasn't Mickey Mouse.
He led the Suns to the conference finals 4 times.
I got him.
as the guy.
Never won.
As
Don't
the
talk
guy.
to him about
Never
Steve
won.
Nash. No, he feels about
And he
Steve
also
Nash.
went to the Suns too, the team that Steve Nash was on. I'm talking about Chris Paul and went to the finals also. Go ahead.
Yeah,
love
Steve
Steve
Nash is
Nash.
more of a Suns legend. I mean,
So
what are we
we're-
talking
I
about?
mean, I'd hope so.
He's more of a
Who
Suns
did
legend
you
than
just
Booker.
name? Who we just placed?
So you
Steve
have
Nash,
Steve
too.
Nash
Steve Nash
at 2.
Okay.
Here we go. Next name
Chris
up,
Paul would be hilarious.
Amari Stoudemire.
With all due respect.
So what do we have
4.
right now? 4, 6, and
What?
1?
I
Over
forgot
John
we had
Morant?
Ja. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
on.
4, 6, and 1. 4,
Yeah,
6,
I'm
and 1.
on. I forgot
Four,
Ja was
four.
5. Facts.
1 and 6. Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
Wait. Oh, so were you guys?
another-
Were you guys winning Stoudemire?
Stoudemire was an MVP candidate with the Suns.
He was.
Disregard the Knicks.
All right. So I mean, this is Western Conference only, to be fair.
That's what I'm just.
How many years was he on the Suns for?
Good amount.
6?
Maybe more. He was there with Steve Nash for a
Because I was
long
going to say it was
For a long
after his
time. He got
rookie
drafted in
contract. I
high
know.
school.
Yeah, facts. That's
He
a
was,
good
he was
point.
with them for a minute.
And he went to the Knicks at 27, 28 years old.
Probably there, like 8-ish
What, he
years.
averaged 27 on the Suns at
he was a
first season.
25 point per game scorer over there.
I thought that his
I'm
MVP
cool.
season.
27.
I'm cool with 4, but just leaving
cool
1
for
and 6 open, it just never
And
sits
he
right.
battled with the best of the best in the West. I mean,
He
Tim
did.
Duncan, he gave him the business. Come on, Amari Stoudemire.
Or do we put him 6 to be safe?
I mean, John Moran, what has he done, really?
John Moran isn't better.
He's not, but
He's
he's still a great player, and you can kind of justify it.
Well,
He
he's a
is,
great
but then
player,
whoever
but
we put at
what
4
has he
has to
done?
be better than Amari and Ja.
It's possible. I'm cool to take a chance, but if you guys don't want to gamble, we can put Stat at 4.
No, Stoudemire's at
I
4.
put him at 4.
Alrighty.
I feel like we're gonna be fucked either way.
Next name up,
Steve Nash should have been 1.
Darren Williams.
He's better than Ja too.
He is, but
Yeah, he goes 6.
Alright.
I don't know if I think him and Stoudemire are close.
Yeah.
He's
Him and
better
Ja,
than,
you're saying?
He's what?
Yeah.
Okay, so 6.
Yeah, put him 6.
Ja's the one who should have been 6.
I
probably should've.
agree.
I
Yeah.
think Ja's better than Darren Williams.
But I'm saying I'm not
that's
mad
just
at
a me
that.
thing.
I'm not mad at that.
Here we go.
Could live with it.
So at 6, you have Darren Williams.
If he hits us like Elton Brand, I'm beating him
At,
up.
That's probably crazy.
what team he played for in the West?
You got it. You got it. You got it. You have.
Clippers.
Fuck yeah.
I was about to say, if you didn't say the West, I was going to say fuck the Sixers. But
No,
did
no.
it.
He
He
did play
did.
for the
I
Sixers.
know, I know.
Here we go.
That was the first
So at
name.
6, Darren Williams. 5, John Morant. At 4, Amari Stoudemire. Shout out to him. At 3, Carmelo Anthony. At 2, Steve Nash.
We shift. I'm ready.
And at number 1, a guy
Bryant.
you actually said when you were talking, Pau Gasol.
Oh.
It's not terrible. Nash should have been 1.
Nash should have been 1. Damn, we were close.
He should have been
We
one.
were close, though.
Melo and Pau Gasol, that can interchange.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
Nash
really a big
should
deal
have
to me.
definitely been
Because
one.
Pau Gasol
Nash
is a
was,
multiple
in
time
fact, Dehls.
champion.
The demon.
Nash the demon.
Nash was the demon, Dehls.
Why was Nash the demon?
Steve
Multiple time
fucking
I
MVP.
just hate that he was the demon. Like Steve Nash is amazing. I'm
He's an
not
all-time
saying
great.
he isn't.
He's
I'm
one of the
just
best
saying
point guards ever.
He
Top
is
5.
top 5, maybe 6. I
he's
agree.
not 6.
I said maybe.
There is
Why
no
do you say
maybe.
maybe 6? Who would
I
be
hate
over
when
him?
people do that.
Paul,
Look, that's fine.
Oscar,
my
John
God.
Stockton.
He's better than John Stockton. He's not even
Maybe,
close.
could be.
No,
Who
it's not
knows?
No, he clears.
Of course, Steph Curry, Magic, Isaiah.
He clears.
Isaiah?
Clears.
Clears Isaiah?
No, okay.
Come on. Jesus
He clears
Christ.
John Stockton.
Okay,
He clears
I
John
can,
Stockton.
I can live with
The
that.
thing about Riv is he doesn't, like, when we do these, he usually doesn't give us, like, the clear number 1
Yo,
demon
Nash
demons.
clears Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
100%.
I'm trying to respect Brody.
Fuck him.
Respect
Nash
him.
no, respect
Russell
Nash.
Westbrook.
Clears?
I'll be honest, Russell Westbrook's crazy.
And back to this Chris Paul conversation, you don't even respect the finals run he went on with the Suns.
Facts, we don't.
I'm talking about it now in this conversation.
Facts.
I mean,
we don't.
Steve Nash went to 4 conference finals and he really ran into
was
the
a tough
prom
West.
Lakers, the prom
That was the
Spurs.
best West ever,
I mean,
probably.
come
No,
on.
I know, it was.
That was-
It was a
Sometimes-
gauntlet. He
sometimes
led
let
the Suns to
things
multiple
marinate.
60
You know
win
what I mean?
seasons.
Sometimes in the moment, whoa.
The brush drop.
It's for his waves.
There we go. Yeah, sometimes in the moment it doesn't feel as special, and then you sit back a couple of years later,
That's
you're
what
like,
I'm
no,
saying.
that was special.
Hey, you went to the finals.
Yeah, hey,
Well
you're
done.
up.
Should they
You're
have lost in the
up.
first round if the Lakers
Should
were
they
healthy?
move me?
Oh, yeah.
Should they move me? Should doesn't move me.
Undoubtedly, they lose in the first round.
Steve Nash has one of the weirdest careers ever because the arc of his career, it started out like so-so, and
the
then
Mavs?
it just
Facts.
went.
Yeah, Chris Paul was always, I'm a demon.
He was always
I'm
behind
him.
Kidd, Jason Kidd. He was always behind Jason
Jason
Kidd.
Kidd's another one, too. It's like
In the West, though,
Steve Nash, Jason Kidd.
In the West,
Coin
Nash
flip.
clears in the West.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Talking
Jason
all time.
Kidd with the Nets did his thing.
For sure.
But all time, and Jason Kidd's not a multiple-time MVP of
You're
the
right.
league.
He's just an NBA
Kid is
champion.
up there though. Kid's
He
top
is.
5 for me.
He is up there.
He's a champion.
He is a champion.
He's
better than-
finals
he's better than
And he
twice.
went to the finals in the
Russell
East.
Westbrook?
Yes,
No, he did.
for me he is. I'll put Kid over him.
Westbrook's like not even top 10 to you.
No, he's like 7 or 8.
Oh.
I just think Westbrook is
Before
such
you
a
tell me
weird
Drew
player.
Holiday
Yo,
was
Luka Doncic or Steve Nash?
Luka.
All right, so I
probably
already
better
got
than most.
5.
Luka's probably better than most.
I already got 5,
Luka
is what
ain't
I'm
a
saying.
real point guard though. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't put him in there.
What do you mean?
Not yet.
I'm going to disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I wouldn't
Luka's
put
a
him in
better
there yet.
player, but like
Yeah.
legacy-wise, it's still Steve Nash. Like in an all-time ranking, it'll still
Yeah,
be
that's what I'm
Steve
saying. He's
Nash.
not even there yet.
Yeah, but Tom, we're just talking
Shit,
Tom.
how
I
many
mean-
All NBAs does Nash have?
I mean, shit,
First
real,
teams.
real
Luka-
shit.
if
Luka
might
probably
clear that, I'm
2.
not gonna
Luka's
lie.
third ever.
Whoa. Luka's better than Magic.
All right, I can hear it.
It's
What-
Steph,
what-
Magic, and
Yeah.
He's
then
better
Luka.
than Magic, player for player.
Jesus
Give
Christ.
him some time.
But when
Magic
I
a
asked that for-
pioneer.
when I asked
Magic's
that
a
for Steve
pioneer.
Nash, we couldn't do
Magic
that.
saved the league.
I
Brothers
agree.
mid.
We just
What does that have to do with basketball, though?
Luka.
well, impact legacy. Without Magic, he's a 5-time.
We're talking about just the game.
He's a
though, strictly the
5-time
game.
champion.
So
he's
wait,
a
let me get this. You
multiple-time
just don't like
MVP.
Steve Nash.
I didn't say all that. I
Because
didn't
you
say all
said
that.
Luka is over
I
him.
didn't
It's
say
just
all
about
that.
the game, but we can't wait.
I didn't say all that.
Oh, but Magic now.
But Magic's
so
still the best passer of all time,
cool.
and he played the point guard
Nash is
position.
probably number 2 passer ever.
LeBron James,
Nash
Jokic
is a
up there,
better
too.
passer.
Luka Doncic.
Nash is a better passer. Nash is a better passer.
And Luka.
Yes.
Luka is one of the best passers I've ever seen in my life.
Steve Nash is one of the best
He is.
passers
He
I've
is.
ever
I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying Luka.
And Steve Nash took care of the ball much better. Steve Nash was aggressive with his passing, and he didn't turn the ball over
okay,
either.
that's fair. In terms of turnovers, I agree.
He's also like 6'2",
No, for sure.
making
no,
all these
Nash
fucking
was a
passes.
demon.
It's ridiculous.
And he was efficient as hell on offense
He was
too.
efficient.
Steve Nash is one of the greatest offensive peaks in NBA history.
He's one of the
what he
greatest
did-
offensive
it's-
players.
It's
I'm
not
with you.
appreciated enough what he did and the advantages he created.
I got Steve Nash at like 6. Is that crazy? No.
I think he should be like 4, in my opinion. Like I think he is so far and above John Stockton.
Like
it's not
Isaiah
even
Thomas?
insane. No, that's fair. I was trolling by Isaiah Thomas.
Oscar?
He's just like a
no,
pioneer.
listen, from a legacy
Those heads
perspective,
don't move.
oh, those players are all better. Even John Stockton, from a legacy perspective,
Uh-huh.
it's a debate because of the all-time assists, but he was never the guy on his team, so we never saw what he could do if he had his own
shit's
team.
don't move
Steve
me.
Nash did do that.
pick and roll assists. He like really Sabonis 2.0 for me.
Who are you talking, Nash?
No, that's a Stockton dude. But listen,
Oh.
it's neither here nor there.
But he executed at the highest of all highs.
He got it. Like Stockton,
Also, maybe stats could be a little bit
They juiced his
Inflated.
assists up.
Nash was a better scorer
easy.
Yeah.
by far.
No, but John Stockton also did have the ratty too.
Nah,
Not
Nash,
Nash,
is,
though.
yeah, Nash shit is just
Not Nash.
Nash when he wanted to, he can give you 23.
You know, player for
24.
player, Steve Nash is better than Stockton. Player
Not
for player,
against
he's
it.
better than him.
Not against it.
What's that?
Now we got some breaking news today that the Jets fired Robert Saleh out of nowhere. And wow, I saw it and I was like, okay, this was not the news I was expecting. I was expecting a Devontae Adams trade bomb, and I think that's still going to come. I think he will be on the Jets eventually. When thinking about this trade, I sat with him for a while, just trying to gather up as much information as possible because there's so many different sources when it came to this trade. Oh, they escorted Saleh out the building. Oh no, they actually didn't. According to Connor Hughes, there's just multiple conflicting reports on what happened, who was involved, and ultimately this is what I came to. A house divided cannot stand. The Jets right now
Love a nice bar to start off.
are a mess. There is a division within the Jets organization, and I think the key word that we always come back to is accountability. After the Broncos loss, we had a ton of penalties due to the cadence and the players not being on the same page with Aaron Rodgers and when he wants to snap the ball. Robert Saleh, in his press conference, said basically downplayed the cadence and it's not really needed. Aaron Rodgers said, well, we just have to hold players accountable. And I thought it was rich coming from Aaron Rodgers because the person who needs to be held accountable the most on the Jets is not being held accountable, and that's Nathaniel Hackett. And he's not being held accountable because he's Aaron Rodgers' buddy. Robert Saleh got fired after the Jets right now are 5th in defensive EPA per play. They're 22nd in offensive EPA per play. The defense has not been the problem. That doesn't remove Saleh from blame because since he's been the Jets head coach, they have been outscored the most of any team in the first half. And They have the biggest penalty margin against their opponents since he's been the head coach. This team continues to be undisciplined. This team continues to get off to slow starts. All of that is not entirely on him. When you are a head coach, although he is a defensive coach first, we look at the defensive results. But he very well is responsible for the offensive results as well of the team because he oversees the entire team and the game plan that goes into it week to week. The conflicting reports that we're getting on the Jets, Woody Johnson is saying, this was entirely my decision. I talked to Aaron Rodgers on the phone yesterday. We didn't talk about Robert Saleh, though. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And either a couple things happened. Aaron Rodgers co-signed the decision for Robert Saleh to get fired, which is an issue because we have our quarterback controlling the decisions that our owner and front office makes, or Aaron Rodgers didn't want it to happen and Woody Johnson fired him anyway, and this was an impulsive decision. I didn't feel like a panic move was necessary in this state of the season where just 1 week away from facing the Buffalo Bills for first place in the AFC East, but this was a very impulsive decision, and it showcased the organizational incompetence of the New York Jets as we stand right now. This is a very talented roster. What Woody Johnson said is 100% correct. This is the most talented roster the Jets have had in 25 years, arguably. Yep. You can argue it. But at the top, there's no structure. And it all falls on Aaron Rodgers because in Green Bay, he left that structure. Matt LaFleur had success with Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur even had success with Malik Willis. It was an offensive infrastructure that Aaron Rodgers didn't buy all the way into. And based off how his last season in Green Bay went, not really being involved in an offseason program, not vibing with the young receivers, the Packers roster with Aaron Rodgers' final year and Jordan Love's first year are pretty similar. There were some additions that were rookies. And Jordan Love ended up taking that team to the playoffs. And there was a different brand new energy in the building. The only saving grace for the Jets right now, and the only thing they could cling on to, is we're hoping Aaron Rodgers turns back into Aaron Rodgers of old. But the fact that Robert Saleh was on the verge of demoting Nathaniel Hackett and then 5 minutes later he gets fired, it's a serious issue because everybody knows the biggest problem with the Jets right now is their offense and Nathaniel Hackett. All the players have been frustrated with him. All the players have been frustrated with the lack of accountability on offense. And this move, I think, to all the players signals, okay, we're not fixing the actual problem with the team. Is Robert Saleh a good NFL head coach? I don't think so. But did he deserve to get fired in this very moment? I also don't think that's the case. Jeff Ulbrich now has his hands cut out for him. He's the interim head coach, and he has to find a way to reignite this team and bring this team a spark because there are two scenarios that we're looking at and staring at with the Jets. Either they beat the Bills and they're first in the AFC East and it starts some momentum for them to build up to then go on a run, or they lose and this season is going to be a lost season. There's two roads that we're heading down right now, and I don't know how it's going to end, but how it looks like right now, the optics of it, it looks terrible for the Jets organizationally wise.
I don't feel better or worse after Robert Saleh got fired. I think that kind of just shows where Robert Saleh has been as a head coach. We've always given him the benefit of the doubt because the defense has been sensational these last 2 years, and he deserves credit for that, right? What he's been able to bring over from San Francisco, Ulbrich has a huge part in that. He's the one actually calling these defensive plays, but of course they're the ones doing game plans and schemes and everything like that. So we've always given Saleh his respect because he has done a tremendous job. But when you're the head coach, I can't just look at what you do on one side of the ball, regardless of what you do as your specialty, right? Maybe that first year you're as a head coach, I could look into that. Second year, I'm just going to still look into it, but the overall team still matters. And more than anything, no matter what you actually believe or not, Robert Saleh went out there and stamped it and said, no matter what happens with Aaron Rodgers, I want Nathaniel Hackett as my offensive coordinator. We could say it's bullshit. I think it's still a little bit bullshit, but he still went out there to the media and put his mark saying, this is the guy I want to run plays. This is the guy I want to run my offense, regardless of what happens at quarterback. So he made this bet with Nathaniel Hackett. We all knew at the time it was a very questionable move. Hackett, when he was in Green Bay, going over to Denver, it was a bit like, I don't know, but you get Russ. You saw that was another failure. He gets another job the year after having a complete failure in Denver. There was really no logical explanation to give him the job other than maybe we have a better chance of getting Aaron Rodgers. Of course, they end up getting him, so you think everything is going to be, sunshine and roses. But we could see now this offense is outdated. Right? Like, this offense is terrible. This offense is broken, and it's not because of the players on the field. Do they need a better wide receiver too? Sure. Has the offensive line not been great these last couple of weeks? Sure. Has Brees regressed a little bit? Sure. But I see Brian Dable going out there with Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton and Tyrone Tracy at running back and Daniel Jones at quarterback and scored 29 points on the Seattle Seahawks. I saw him do it 2 years ago in 2022 with a very similar cast of misfit toys at wide receiver. Of course, they had Saquon at the time, but you see other positions around the league where teams are lacking talent, but coaching is able to uplift them. I'll give Saleh credit, what he's able to do in terms of player development. Like, the Jets, I think, in my opinion, are the best team at developing linebackers, right? We have Quincy Williams, who we talk off the street. Sherwood this year has been a top 5 linebacker in the lead in CJ Mosley's place. He's been able to develop some edge rushers. Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald's having a great year. He's done a great job at developing these guys. But at some point, you got to look at the record. He has a bottom 5 winning percentage among all head coaches in NFL history. You look at the penalties, like you noted. You look at the lack of first quarter and first half scoring. And I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. That loss against the Broncos was the worst loss in the Robert Saleh era. It was not because of the opponent. Of course, that had like 30% to do with it. The Broncos going into that week, not looked at as a real serious threat if you're the New York Jets. But the bigger issue was you had 10 days to prepare for this team. You had 10 days on defense and on offense to put things together to go out there and smoke the Broncos, right? You were 7, 8, 9 point favorites in that game. You have the talent advantage on both sides of the ball, although Denver's defense is sensational. So mostly offensively, the talent gap is pretty large. And the fact you go out there and lay an egg and you score 9 points, there's a reason why I call it the most embarrassing loss. And I'm not shocked he got fired, right? I don't know if this changes a whole bunch with the New York Jets. I still look at them right now as a team that could go into next week in Buffalo and you win. You're like, holy shit. We got, Pittsburgh the next week, New England. Like, there's a couple winnable games. Maybe you could be sitting at, you're by at like 5-4 and potentially have a shot the second half. But you could also lose these next couple of games, regardless of head coach, whether it was Saleh, whether it was Olbrich, and say, shit, this looks like a lost season. I think what Woody really was trying to do here was, I'm not going to wait until we're 2-5 or 2-6 to fire Robert Saleh, and now we're fighting a complete uphill battle. And I don't blame him for that, because what Robert Saleh has shown me through 3 years is he's not an elite head coach. We rank head coaches in the NFL. He's a bottom, 5 to 7 head coach. Great defensive mind. He'll be one of the best defensive coordinators in football. But as a head coach, he's a bottom 5 to 7 dude in the league. So I can't get upset after over moving that guy. What I am upset at is you got to make changes on the offensive staff. Nathaniel Hackett, Keith Carter. Rob Downing is your next play caller in line. He has not been a good play caller throughout his history. So offensive changes have to come. But all in all, I can't be mad at moving off a bottom 5 head coach in the league who, up to this point, 3-4 years into his Jets career, has not shown to be able to outcoach anybody in the NFL.
Well, the Jets' Super Bowl chances were already at risk after falling to 2-3, losing to the Denver Broncos, and of course, playing a respectable game against Minnesota, but ultimately falling short. I had a feeling, an inclination that at some point Robert Saleh would get fired, whether it was at the end of the season or at some point during the season. After this performance versus Minnesota, I definitely was not anticipating him to get fired, especially because the chance to win that game was right there. It was in the hands of one person and one person only. And it's Aaron Rodgers, the guy that the Jets have put blind faith into, which is understandable. He's the best quarterback that your franchise has ever had, regardless of age. But you've made a lot of decisions off of 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Because, like what he said, this is the most talented team that we've had, arguably in our franchise's history. We have to capitalize on this opportunity. I blame Saleh for not acting faster to fire Nathaniel Hackett. But again, you mentioned it. The idea pops into his head. And then a few days later now, Robert Saleh is no longer the head coach of the New York Jets.
It was minutes later.
The reason why the Jets were so aggressive this season was because Aaron Rodgers' window to playing high level to elite level football is closing because he is 40 years old. Aaron Rodgers this season is 21st in EPA per play, 27th in success rate, 28th in completion percentage, 22nd in expected completion percentage, and 29th in completion percentage over expected. The offense is 19th in offense success rate, 27th in rush EPA, 21st in rush success rate. The offense as a whole has been terrible. Your offensive line has been relatively solid in terms of pass block win rate, but in run block win rate, you guys are one of the worst in the league. That also pairs with Breece Hall not looking as productive or not looking as elusive as we've seen in the past. And like Riv has been very vocal about, he simply hasn't been that great this season, and that's true. But Aaron Rodgers has not played high-level football. He's barely played good football, and that's the God's honest truth. You've played some pretty tough competition. You played the Niners. The Broncos defense is amazing. It's elite. And this past weekend, you played against Minnesota. Their defense is really one of those that it's scheme, and that's what really gives quarterbacks fits. But the decision-making from Aaron Rodgers in that game was pretty horrible. That throw to over the middle of the field to Allen Lazard that got overthrown, that was interception, was pretty bad. And then we spoke about it on the recap, where I hated the decision on third down, especially the ball placement on a back shoulder, whether it was a fade to Mike Will, regardless. But that throw was abysmal that Stephon Gilmore ended up making the game-sealing INT on. I get that you have to trust Aaron Rodgers. He has been the main reason, and Nathaniel Hackett, for the woes of the New York Jets. That's as simple as it can be. But we can't go and say it's on Aaron, it's on Hackett, because that is the beginning and the end of the New York Jets. Without Rodgers, you don't have a chance to win. But right now, he's not giving you the best chance to win, and that's extremely unfortunate. Through 5 games, you've scored the exact same amount of points with Zach Wilson as you have with Aaron Rodgers this season, last year to this year. That's sad. That's embarrassing, especially when it was Zach Wilson. Now we have an improvement in Mike White. Now we have Aaron Rodgers. It can't get worse than Zach Wilson, but we're seeing that the Jets offense, regardless right now, it simply can't meet up to the task of being a high level to efficient offense. So right now I do feel for Robert Saleh. Do I think he was a great head coach? Absolutely not. Do I think what his specialty is, he's amazing at? No doubt. Nobody denies that he's an amazing defensive mind, but he's not a head coach. And this decision, making it this abruptly in the middle of the season, the Jets already had minimal chance of winning a Super Bowl. There's been no team to go to the Super Bowl with an interim head coach. It's over.
When I heard the news, it was crazy. That's not what I expected waking up on this nice, beautiful Tuesday morning. I didn't think Saleh would last longer than Doug Peterson, who's probably had the worst job this year. I didn't even think Saleh would last. Nick Sirianni would last longer than Saleh. I thought Saleh would make it to the end of the year because I don't think he's the guy you circle on the bulletin board and say he's the reason we're losing games. Nah, I think he's had his woes, he's had his downfalls. But you mentioned it. I thought that Vikings game, fourth quarter down to the wire, it was on Aaron Rodgers to make a play. It was on Aaron Rodgers to lead them down. I think he just didn't do it, unfortunately. This Vikings defense is really good. They had an opportunity to win that game. They did not win that game. I think you have to look at Breece Hall, another guy who was supposed to be. This offense already came in a little bit lacking in talent. And the two guys that were leading the ship were going to be Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Now, Garrett Wilson has faced some stout competition at cornerback. He's been all right. And I saw Joel's breakdown on Instagram. Aaron Rodgers is just missing guys. This isn't like dudes are getting open. He's just not. Well, Garrett specifically is getting open. Aaron Rodgers is just not hitting him. Breece Hall just hasn't been good this year. I think not firing the OC is kind of weird to me. I don't know. This is just you're 2-3. You're not in the mud. You've essentially lost to all great teams outside of Denver. You got your ass whipped by the Niners, where they were the healthiest they've been all year, week 1. You lost to a Vikings team that was red hot coming in London in a neutral zone, and you lost a pretty close ass game. So you weren't in falling mode. I just think you had to bounce back against Buffalo, which you can. Another team who struggled their last 2 games. So I think him getting fired was kind of a shock in the sense of, no, you're not in panic mode, but I don't think you're even close to panic mode either because of the moments you lost. So I think for me, it felt like he was a scapegoat because you guys did lose. You had the most embarrassing loss 2 weeks ago when you played Denver and they shut you guys down and you guys lost that game. Then you go out there, to London, and you lose that game. So it's kind of like, all right, let's blame Saleh. But I think like Hackett's still there. Aaron Rodgers is still might struggle. Breece Hall is still going to struggle. Like, the people who really should be held accountable are still there. And unfortunately, you can't fire those guys. You can't fire Breece. You can't fire Aaron Rodgers. But I just feel like Saleh getting fired this early was just kind of a weird feeling. I thought if you was going to fire him, fire the OC, fire the DC, like fire everybody. You know, clean house at that point. But like this early into a season, there's not many people around that you can just bring in, or like they went training camps together. They've done practice in preseason, like solid. They're already intertwined with each other. So now you have to kind of keep this same staff. I don't know if firing Saleh is going to change this offense or make this offense look better. It's really, in my opinion, as simple as it comes down to Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson getting to get it together. If they get Devontae Adams, that makes this offense look a whole lot better than what it's been, because it's been ass. But Devontae Adams always uplifts an offense when he can get in there. So you get him, that makes it look a lot better. But I don't know if, you can fix those, those scheme situations or those schematic problems. Because Aaron Rodgers, he hasn't looked his best, and it's understandable. He was bad that last year in Green Bay. Well, he wasn't good that last year in Green Bay. Got hurt, missed a year. He's 40. Like what are you expecting out of a 40-year-old? You know what I'm saying? So it's just right now with the Jets, seems like they're in this bubble, and they're trying to get out this bubble, but they're making the wrong decisions in this bubble. And I think firing Saleh, it's cool at first, but I don't know if this is going to be the end all be all. Because even there was reports coming out that the players didn't know. Nobody knew. This was just straight top to Woody just was like, nah, he's done. Like, why would you not let the guys on defense at least know? The guys who have been following Saleh, who have been holding his team on their back for the last 3 seasons, like, at least give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, listen, man, we're letting Saleh go. Like, I feel like at least those guys, if they did, then I'm sorry for not knowing that. But from what I've seen and what I've read, there was no information withheld, nothing. So I don't know. This is just a weird situation. This could be, like Joel mentioned, this could be good or bad. Like, you can go into that game at home against Buffalo and you can lay an egg, or you can go into that game and whip Buffalo's ass. They don't look the best right now either. But you have to respond either way. So I'm really excited to see how this goes.
Can I say this to you? And I think you mentioned this on one of your clips that you recorded this morning. If he was already on thin ice, why did you come into the season with Saleh as your head coach? I thought you said that and it was perfect. Why is it that you wait till a quarter of the way into the season where you see that you're a middling team, you're struggling against good teams, to make this type of decision? If he was already in harm's way of getting fired, why would you make such an insane decision middle of or quarter way through the season, when that's a type of decision that should be handled months and months in advance so your team can prepare with the new regime?
Why didn't he get fired after Denver?
That's a fact. Well, again, they only gave up 10 points.
He should have got fired.
I don't care that Saleh got fired. I just care about when it happened.
Timing.
Like what you're saying. It should have happened in the offseason. And the reports are that the Jets were scared that there were no candidates out there that were as good as Saleh. We had Bill Belichick. We had Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel was right there.
I think Ben Johnson, there was a good chance maybe we could have lured him from
that
Detroit.
one I don't know, but it's because Rodgers. So fair.
Woody would have just gave him a blank check too, probably.
Yeah.
For real,
Mike Vrabel was sitting there.
There are options there, but it was also reported that Aaron Rodgers wanted Robert Saleh. And we all know he wants Nathaniel Hackett. The thing with the reporting that's going on right now is just there are so many conflicting things. Jordan Schultz reported that Robert Saleh was escorted by security out the building. Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets for SNY, reported that that didn't happen. But we do know that he didn't address any of the players on his way out. He just left the building. And he was in his office, normal work day, and then he was notified that he was going to get fired. He went into a meeting with the Johnson brothers and then was notified that he was going to get fired. My thing is, why even make him work Monday and then Tuesday morning if you already know you're going to fire him?
Fire him on the plane right back from London.
Fire him before London. Fuck that.
If Aaron Rodgers truly wasn't behind this and Woody Johnson just made an impulsive decision, that's the worst part of it all. I think if Aaron Rodgers made and co-signed this decision, I actually feel a little bit better about it. But if Woody Johnson was just like, you know what? I don't even care if Aaron Rodgers still wants him. I'm just going to make this decision anyway. I think it just shows how impulsive he is. And there are some allegations on his name that I won't get into, but I think that they're fair. I think there's some validity
Woody Johnson?
to it. Yes, there's some allegations that because Robert Saleh wore the Lebanon badge.
I did see that.
Yes, but the NFL encourages coaches to wear their culture and stuff. So
there's real football reasons why Robert Saleh should have got fired. I don't think. I mean, I don't know.
But I do know that Woody Johnson's a billionaire, and they can be a little bit racist. This was also, I wouldn't put it past them.
This was also not Woody's hire, right? This was Christopher Johnson's regime when Robert Saleh originally got hired. So Woody didn't have of course he was still advising or looking over the team, but he was correspondent or whatever to the UK under the Trump administration. So he wasn't the one actually pulling the strings when they hired Robert Saleh, so there probably isn't as much of a connection if this was the head coach. So probably a bit easier to pull the strings there. Honestly, man, the team is still great. The team roster-wise, I still has a lot of talent. This defense is still really good. I just really worry about this offense just being Aaron Rodgers, do or die on him, right? This was a team that should be relying on the run game, should be relying on the defense, then off-play action and some plays here and there. Aaron Rodgers can make things, can make some magic happen. But right now, it's been a lot of Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball 40 times. We can't really run the ball, so Breece is going to get 10 carries, and we got to hope we could score 20 points. And that's just not the offense that's going to win you games.
Yeah, right now, the offensive line, they're giving Breece Hall 0.5 yards before contact. So think about it. That's not even a yard. Once you get the ball.
What's weird is for Braylon Allen, those numbers are so much better.
Yeah, with the offensive line blocks better for Braylon Allen. He's getting more yards before contact.
They try
for Breece Hall, that's just not happening.
He's just better.
I do also, no,
but that doesn't have anything to do
with that.
I think it's a schematic thing. I think the problem with the Jets,
offensive schematics, or I could say defense, when they see Breece Hall on the field, obviously the boxes are a little bit more.
I think it's both. What I think it is the fact that the Jets, they will, on the first play of a drive, they will go into 12 personnel, and the Vikings did this. They'll load up the box. They have 9 players in the box ready for the run. It doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. It doesn't matter how good your tight ends are. If you don't have a numbers advantage, you're not going to be able to run the ball. And the Vikings stack the hell out of the box, and Breece Hall just has no lane to run the football, and our tight ends can't block right now, so we can't set the edge. The only way this Jets offense can work, because it doesn't matter if it's Hackett or if it's Todd Downing. I think both of them are terrible. I think Hackett's a different level of terrible, but Todd Downing in Tennessee was pretty garbage too. So I don't have faith in any of those offensive coordinators. This Jets team is just going to have to win off of talent. And that's why if you get Devontae Adams, you have a player that Aaron Rodgers has a connection with. And now you kind of have to respect them a little bit more, because instead of Garrett Wilson and Lazard or Mike Williams, you have Garrett and Devontae. So naturally, you have to play deep, and you have to put 2 deep high safeties to cover both of them, and you can't stack the box in the same way. So the only way this Jets offense is going to get better is by another injection of talent, and that could be Devontae Adams, but the season's not over yet. Like I said, this can go one of 2 ways. This either sparks the Jets and they look a lot better, and if it does, then we're not having these conversations a couple weeks from now, or they still look terrible and the sky's falling and they're not going to make the playoffs.
Another thing to say, and maybe this is me throwing salt in an open wound, that pick 10 looks more and more like you should have went Brock Bowers, because now you maybe not even have to worry about trading for Devontae Adams. And if you do, now it's a super luxury where we also have Brock Bowers, and now we have the ability to trade for Devontae Adams. You knew you needed another skill position player on the weapon side in terms of receiver, tight end. You definitely had Conklin, who had himself his best year yet with last year's regime. But regardless, you needed another real weapon next to Garrett Wilson. You didn't do that this offseason. Instead, you paid for an injury-prone player in Mike Williams, who obviously isn't that same level of wide receiver. And now it's Devontae Adams, save me, or we're done and we have no chance of playing winning football. That's kind of where the Jets, you talk about organizational failures. It doesn't just start from this week on. We've seen multiple moves made by them that stem from the offseason that kind of got us to this point. It's just now all coming into fruition.
I mean, look at Geno, look at Sam Darnold. They're playing well. And Zach Wilson's going to be next. He was never the problem, man.
Listen, I don't think it's going to be with the Broncos.
Is Geno playing well? Oh, excuse me, not Geno. Sam Darnold?
Last game he didn't play well. He's been playing all right. Yeah. He's been playing well.
That's 6 quarters, not great,
Yeah, his last game wasn't good, but he's been playing well. Sam has been playing well, and I've always said that if you give him a good situation, he'll play good football. That's what he'll do, because he has the talent. He just needs a coordinator that could put the guardrails on him. But that's the difference between Kevin O'Connell and what the Jets have going on. The Jets have an all-time great quarterback play. They have an all-time great quarterback, and they're getting mediocre play around him because they don't have a good scheme, where Kevin O'Connell is getting great quarterback play out of a bridge quarterback because they have a great infrastructure around him.
But part of the reason
that matters.
That's Aaron Rodgers' fault. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want motion. Aaron Rodgers wants to, sit in shotgun. He wants to go 5 wide. He wants to read the defense and then make adjustments off of that, which is like, it's cool. Like, you're 40 years old. You've seen every coverage in the book. You know what routes are going to work versus what coverages. But at some point, it's just going to be difficult to do that for 4 quarters, for 17 games, going into the playoffs. Like, at some point, you need to find ways to get guys open easy. Not every single play has to be, you're just going to beat your guy one-on-one. Like, no other serious team in the NFL is doing that offensively. All these other teams are using motion. They're getting guys open looks. They're scheming guys open, not just saying, all right, Garrett, go win on this hitch, go win on this slant, go win on this goal ball. Like, if you're constantly asking Garrett to do that and Mike Will and Lazard, you're going to have inconsistent play. And that's on Rodgers for being just stuck in his ways, saying, this is how I want to run the offense. I don't want to have any sort of innovation. Not that Nathaniel Hackett could really even create it if he was given the freedom to do so.
Now, the AFC East has 2 teams that are kind of going through the mud right now. The Patriots, Gerard Mayo, this past week, benched Ramondre Stevenson for Antonio Gibson. And then Ramondre Stevenson had a great game, and he's probably not going to be benched moving forward, but he recently made another benching move, and that was benching Jacoby Brissett.
This is worse.
Starting Drake Maye against the Houston Texans, one of the league's elite defenses.
So dumb.
And now Drake Maye's first start is going to be against one of the best defenses in football. And it kind of brings me to 2 things. It's like, number one, if the whole goal was to sit Drake Maye and protect him from a bad offensive line and getting hit multiple times, then what's the reason for starting him against New England? There were more games that you could have picked from to start Drake Maye against easier defenses.
That's the
Jacksonville. One more week, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, whose defense has been terrible.
I don't know what the Patriots are doing.
The Houston look, I mean, listen, there's so many good defenses. There's so many good defensive coordinators. It's hard to, at any point in the schedule, find like a 2 or 3 week stretch where you're going up against just straight bums. But I would have waited at least 1 more week to play Jacksonville. The thing about New England is they don't have a bye till week 14, right? So if you were going to start Drake Maye, it's you either going to play him early on in the season or you probably wait till after the bye and play him weeks 15 through 18 or whatever. But at some point you had to play him, right? Like, you don't spend a top 3 draft pick and sit him for the entire season. Like, I get it. I am for sitting quarterbacks, right? Like, I am for, don't put him out there day one, don't throw them into the fire. But you also took a guy top 3. You need to see what you have with Drake Maye, right? Like, if he goes out there, you start in week 7, and all of a sudden he shits the bed for 10 straight weeks, and he can't do anything regardless of the protection and the receivers and everything. Like, there's going to be another conversation to have. If you wait till week 15 or 16 and he has 2 weeks and you don't have as large of a sample size, then you might have some other questions. Regardless, Drake Maye is going to have obviously a couple years, 2-3 years at a minimum. I think he's going to work in this New England system, but at some point you have to play him, right? So I'm not mad at, even with the protection issues they have and even with the receiver issues they have or lack thereof, I'm excited to see what Drake Maye looks like, right? Because he was, in my opinion, although Jane Daniels was playing great, he was my second favorite quarterback in this draft class. I thought at UNC, he was basically everything you could have asked for in a franchise quarterback. He's athletic, he's big, he can make every throw, great arm. I think IQ-wise, in terms of things above the shoulders, he has that pretty much all on lock. The situation he's in, though, is pretty shitty, right? Like, this New England situation is not ideal. So regardless of the opponent he's going to go up against, he's going to have struggles because, similar to the Jets, I don't know how many coaching staffs this New England coaching staff and their offensive staff is going to be able to outcoach and outscheme the opposing defensive coordinator and defensive staff. I'm excited to see what Jalen Poole could look like. Separation-wise, he's been really solid this year. Hunter Henry's like a reliable-ish tight end. Stevenson, outside of the fumbling issues, is a decent running back. The offensive line's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But I think you put Drake Maye out there, see what you got. Would have waited 1 more week, but you see Jaden Daniels go out there and dog right away. You see Caleb Williams, when he gets some easier opponents, he looks really good. Bo Nix has a great game this past week against the Raiders as well. So when these rookie quarterbacks start to do well, I think internally you feel a little bit of pressure as well to see what your guy has. So he's been the most coddled up to this point. He hasn't started. All these other first-round picks are out there starting. So I think New England just wanted to see what they had. And you feel, if you're a New England fan, like you have a little bit of hope because Jacoby Brissett, man, oh man, was he bad this year.
He was bad, but he didn't have a chance. He's getting killed almost every single time. As soon as he says hike, he's being met by some kind of defender.
Did Drake Maye give them a better chance to win?
I think so.
I guess because of the athleticism, his ability to move outside of the pocket is going to be beneficial to their offense. That being said, I don't want to see him put into harm's way in terms of making bad decisions.
Would you have sat him for the whole year?
Am I crazy to say yes? At least until after the bye week, you can give me 15, 16, 17, 18. That's a 4-game sample size. Not that you decide if we have a quarterback or not of the future, but 4 games, he still gets to play NFL level football, but you still keep him safe for a good portion of the year. You don't create bad habits. Week 6 on, you look at how bad this offensive line is, and you see how bad other quarterbacks have played with bad offensive line situations. Look at Trevor Lawrence, who came in and was the most polished prospect that we've seen since Andrew Luck. And now, because of a bad offensive line, now he starts getting a little... tedious is not the word I'm looking for. Just a little bit nervous, a little shaky in the pocket. Now he's bailing outside of the pocket quicker and making poor decisions that he should not be making, not trusting the plays and allowing them to develop because he's worried that he's going to get hit. That's my concern for Drake Maye and the New England Patriots moving forward for this season.
They also never fixed their offensive line. I think New England will eventually.
But I agree that they will. And I know that they are also injured, with Andrews being banged up and probably and is out for the rest of the year. Not probably, he is out for the rest of the season. You needed to have Jacoby out there to show him the ropes. You have a starting level quarterback in there in Jacoby, who was supposed to be the passing of the torch to Drake Maye. But that wasn't supposed to be after 5 weeks into the season, where we're seeing Jacoby hurt and bruised and battered every single time he's on that field. He just manages to keep getting up because he's a warrior and he's a professional. Drake Maye, I hope he plays well. I am a fan of his. Dehls, I'm with you. I think that he's going to be a great talent in this league. But with the supporting cast around him right now, I'm not sure that we're going to see the Drake Maye that the Patriots thought that they would be seeing at some point in his career. How I would have liked it would be his sophomore year. If Mahomes can sit an entire year, then Drake Maye can sit an entire year. I don't care if you were the 3rd overall pick.
Wasn't that for Alex Smith, if I'm not mistaken?
The Chiefs are winning.
So look at San Fran. Fair enough. That's a great point. But I understand your coach's job, especially in year 1 of Riv. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Gerard Mayo's trying to make his impact felt year 1. This year, trying to set a standard for the team, and you want to do what's best so that you guys can win football games. There has to be a sense of realization that we're not one of those teams. We're not one of those teams that can compete for the division, compete for the wild card. The defense hasn't been playing that high level of football recently, but even more so, the offensive line and the offense has been horrendous. A little bit of realization there so you can protect your future. That's kind of where I'm at.
But I also don't think you learn anything from playing 4 weeks of football. I think the bye is cool, but to play in week 15, 16, 17, and 18 or whatever it was, who are you playing at the end of the year? Are there teams that are going to be sitting their players? Are they getting ready for the playoffs? There isn't going to be much, respect to Jacoby Brissett. But I think Drake Maye is a top 3 pick. I don't think he needs 15 weeks to learn anything from Jacoby Brissett. I think I drafted you because I think you're going to be one of these guys in the league. I think Jacoby Brissett is a fine player. But at the same time, I'm a guy who I like to see what you are. I like to throw you I'd like to throw you out there, throw you into the fire, see what you are. I want you to get these learning curves out now. I want to see how you look in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, when defenses figure you out, how do you look? I feel like week 5, now, week 5 or 6, whatever it is now, I think this is a comfortable amount of time where he'll get 10 plus games to really understand and process the game and go through his ups and downs and figure out what's going on. And I understand the offensive line is dog shit. I understand the weapon room is probably dog shit. I get the team is not as what you want it to be for Drake Maye to start, but there's not going to be a situation where every quarterback comes in and the situation is all peaches and roses. We drafted you top 3 for a reason, because we believe you can be an elevator, an uplifter, a guy that can, uplift talent or, just do great things. So if we bring you in, if I'm starting you here now, I'm not telling you to go out there and win games. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm telling you to show me why you were a top 3 pick. I'm telling you to show me why you should be considered one of these best rookies in here. And I think he has an opportunity to do that. And I get it. You're putting him in harm's way. But realistically, you have to play your top 3 pick eventually throughout the season. I get holding him out for a little bit of time, but I understand for Jordan Love, he had to wait because Aaron Rodgers is one of them dudes. I even understand waiting a year for Alex Smith. Alex Smith was a really good quarterback. I don't see a point in waiting 14 weeks behind Jacoby Brissett. Like, with all due respect, I feel like you've learned what you needed to learn within these 5 weeks. I feel like at this point, you want to still maintain competitiveness. You're the New England Patriots. You have dominated this century. You want to sit here and go out there and be competitive. I think right now, Jacoby Brissett is not giving you that same type of competitiveness. Show me what you can do, Drake Maye. And I think at this point, it's okay to go see what he can do. Like, at this point, the situation isn't great. Trevor Lawrence was also deemed a really dog shit coach the next year. So it wasn't, not the next year, the first year. Yeah, like Urban Myers was also shit. I don't think Jared Mayo is shit. You know, I think he's fine. Like, he's cool. You know, in Jacksonville, honestly, I think that was more Trevor Lawrence coming in and the situation never fully getting better or fully evolving to what it was. I think New England is a franchise that we kind of respect and we understand they'll continue to get better. So I think for this, I'm okay with Drake Maye starting. I understand even waiting a week to play the Jacksonville Jaguars and not throwing them out there into the fire against Houston. I get that part too. Like, you could have waited till you play Jacksonville, get a little stat game. But fuck it, why not throw him out there against Houston, against CJ Stroud and that defense?
And say, hurt, and now what are we doing?
I mean, if he can get hurt week 18.
Yeah, he can get hurt
fair,
week 17. Like, it's always going to be that fear in football, but
you're right.
You're a top 3 pick. That's a top 2 pick over there. Show me what you could do. Show me. Yeah, you're right. Well, no, CJ's not. He wasn't.
I thought you were talking about him.
No, I was saying he's playing CJ this week.
Got you.
So that's a top 2 pick. Show me what the fuck you can do. Show me if you can go out there and do these things. Like, and I get it. You know, Jaden Daniels is hooping. Bo Nix is playing well. Caleb is starting to figure it out. So I get it. You get that sense of urgency. You get that sense of like. You get excited. Like, wait, Drake Maye could probably be better than all these guys. So you want to see what he can do. But, you know,
fair points.
It's a wait and see. But I'm excited to see him play because I'll be honest, I'm tired of seeing Jacoby Brissett.
I wasn't watching any New England games before. Now I'm gonna turn it on.
And they had a chance to win against Miami. I mean, it was right there.
They did. Like, I was watching that game because I wanted Miami to win.
Realistically,
but I'm like,
though, if you can't beat Miami, at what point now? What teams can we beat?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're still gonna be a terrible team.
We all picked New England.
I just think it depends. It depends on how much better Drake Maye is than Jacoby Brissett.
I agree with you. Fair.
He could be really good, or he could have his growing pains, which is probably more likely. The next 5 weeks are against the Texans. Then he has the Jaguars.
Yep.
Then it's the Jets. Then it's the Titans. Then it's the Bears.
They're probably looking in training camp like, this dude can definitely give us better than what we've been seeing from Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah,
like,
you have more explosive plays now that you can have. You have a quarterback that can now evade pressure, scramble, get first down. So it just opens up the offense a little bit more.
In theory, of course.
We'll see. I mean, Bo Nix is no different than him. I mean, first couple of weeks he faced the Steelers defense and then the Jets defense and the Seahawks defense.
Come on.
Yeah, so he faced some great defenses in the first couple of weeks. So, I don't think it's no different for Drake Maye.
Called the bust.
I mean, there's so many, like, the thing is we're naming all these teams, like, there's not a ton of just bad defenses that are going to go up there and you could just lay an egg on. Like,
I need 250 from Jackson.
Like, we were just talking about Washington the last couple of weeks. Washington's looking decent. It's like, you're really going to go up against, like, the Colts and the Jaguars, like, back-to-back weeks, and Philly. Like, there's just not going to be a real stretch. Respectfully, defense sucks. There's just not going to be a stretch where you're going to have playing bottom 5 defense after bottom 5 defense. At some point, you're gonna play these top dudes.
We locked the Saints up, bro. Never forget that.
You did.
Now, the NBA Western Conference, we did an Eastern Conference preview, and now we're doing a West, and we have all these teams' win totals. Number 1 is the OKC Thunder at 56.5 wins.
Ooh. Yeah, we're talking about the best team in the Western Conference.
Arguably the best team in the league.
Arguably the best team in the league. That is the God's honest truth.
They can win 60 games.
They don't move me.
You want to talk about... And this is where you don't lose me, Dehls, because we give the Celtics praise religiously. We say you guys have everything.
Scared of Shea dropping 31 every night.
SG is better than Tatum.
No, he's not.
No, he's actually comfortably better
How
than
would
Tatum.
Lou Dort guard Tatum?
Fuck that.
You're not
What
talking
would
about
Alex
that.
Caruso
But
do to
Alex
Jaylen Brown?
motherfucking...
Have you seen Tatum's 3-point shot in Abu Dhabi?
I heard he's playing like shit over there.
No, he was shooting above 40% from 3.
I don't think Caruso's a better defender than Lou Dort guarding Tatum.
I agree because of the physicality.
Yes.
Lou Dort's really can get up
I mean,
there
if Lou
with
Dort
the
stops
tall
Tatum from
dude.
going to the basket, what does he do?
I mean, he's shooting 40% from 3, so.
And Abu Dhabi, stop. Stop.
Have you seen the jump shot?
Let me see.
I have.
I'm going.
Doesn't
a
have
little
the
bit
hits
better.
no more.
Let me go
That's
stat
huge.
Yeah, it is.
Now,
He was 6 for 14.
not a lot that we
3?
should...
No, from the field.
Oh, what was he from 3?
3%.
I feel like with OKC,
And I'm trying to...
Right there.
what's happening right now is inevitable.
40%.
We all knew that OKC at some point was going to stack the deck and be this powerhouse team in the Western Conference, given the contracts and their young players that they have and the cap space that they have, and they're doing it right now. I mean, when you make the additions of getting Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein already to a team that was number 1 in the Western Conference, I mean, how much better can you get from that? They filled all their needs.
Training wheels are off for this team. It's championship or bust. You know, you're at a point now. You have an MVP candidate. You have one of the best number 2s in the NBA, and Jalen Williams. Chet has been. It's not. Wait, what? What's cap?
Championship or bust?
Nah, they're championship or bust.
You just signed Hartenstein. You just got Alex Caruso. You have an MVP candidate. What are we waiting for?
They're championship or bust.
They just made the playoffs one time last year.
At this point, yes, you got a taste of it. Now you made power moves.
They got a taste of the second
round. What does championship or bust mean? That if they don't win the championship, it's a failed season?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that is going to stay together for a while.
I understand.
No,
but it could be a failed season until they
have the highest win total in the NBA or just the West? Regardless, the highest win total in the West.
That's fact.
They won one playoff series
second
last
win.
year.
It's okay.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Though.
It does.
It does not matter to me.
They won one playoff series last year, and the team was hurt.
we can
and they lost to Dallas.
Multiple things are true. They are a young team that have a lot going for them for the future. The truth of the matter is,
when has a team this young ever been dubbed championship or bust?
The Boston Celtics.
They went to a finals before that.
They went to the conference finals.
Yeah,
but when Tatum was a rookie,
didn't even get there yet.
But they were around the way. Yes,
they were going to championship.
They were just
series.
the 1 seed.
Boston.
I'm saying you guys were in
Tatum,
conference. You guys were in
SGA is
conference
26,
yeah.
right?
That was his second playoff series.
J-Dub is what, 24?
23?
23?
No, I was going to say he was a second.
That
third
was
year.
SGA's second playoff run. First as the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was Chet's first year.
So what's your expectation for the OKC Thunder?
I expect them to make a conference finals or a championship.
Okay, yeah, me too.
I don't think if they don't make the championship, they lose in a fight in the Western Conference Finals. I wouldn't say it's a
If
failure.
they go to the finals and lose, I wouldn't call it a failure either because you could still have the Celtics.
The expectation,
go to the championship or bust.
for me for this team is win the finals. Like that's the expectation.
I agree with this also.
Okay, all right. I don't agree. I think if they make the West and they lose to Dallas,
what
I'm
other
fine.
team in the West do you look at and say like Dallas is definitely better than them?
No, I'm saying if they go to the West Finals and they lose to Dallas, I'm not saying you failed.
But you just lost.
If they lose to Denver, I'm not saying you
lost
failed.
in 6 games to Dallas
in the second round.
I'm hearing you, Riv. Can you hear me?
I don't.
You went 6 games. You got Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. Your big questions were, Lou Dortz can't hit threes. He's an amazing defender, but he's really not a great spacer. Alex Caruso does both. You had no real big after Chet Holmgren.
Sure.
What do? You go and you spend $30 million a year on Isaiah Hartenstein, who's just all NBA defense, who also is a pretty great connector on the offensive side of the ball. You have depth at the big. You have depth at the perimeter. You're a great spacing team. You have one of the best guards in basketball. You have one of the best players in basketball. You have an MVP candidate. You have a great complementary piece to him in J-Dub. What don't you have?
Well,
that's a great moment for that.
John,
well, first of all, Dallas just went to the finals and got better. Also,
they're an amazing team.
So
I agree.
I don't think they're just a walk away to win. And you still have matchup problems. Like Denver is still going to hang.
But who's
around.
your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
It's OKC.
I haven't figured it out yet. I'll be honest. It's either Dallas or
We
OKC.
have to watch them play.
No, it's either Dallas or OKC.
But right now, where we stand,
I mean,
they were just the 1 seed, and you just got Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, two All-NBA defenders. In one offseason. And they were a top 4 offense, top 4 defense.
What's the floor for me for this team is the conference finals. If you go out in the second round, that's
a failure.
That's a failure.
No, if you go out in the second round, 1,000%
Yes,
failure.
that's
So Rick, if the floor is the conference finals, it's championship or bust.
I don't agree. I can't agree with that.
You're expected to be one of the last 4 teams.
Chet is in his second year. J-Dub is in his third year.
I understand that.
Chet is in his
second. He's in his second year.
Chet just played last year.
But Isaiah Hartenstein, now you added some veteranship.
Okay, so
Caruso, veteranship.
I will agree
They
with
have
you.
to make the finals.
No. When has a team this young been dubbed championship or bust?
Celtics.
Listen. When has a team this young been dubbed championship or bust with little to no playoff experience? Answer that. I'll let you answer. Because even Boston had you've been to a conference,
multiple conference.
So take the next hump. The next hump for OKC is a finals or the NBA finals. That's what I expect. But if they lose, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh shit, they fucking failed. No, now the year after that it's championship or bust.
It gets to a point, and Joel, I'm sorry, I don't know if you want to say something, but it gets to a point.
He agrees with me, right, Joel?
I'm just listening to you guys.
It gets to a point when you have this much talent that it trumps whatever age you are.
I don't agree.
Because when
You
you're
gotta see
like
him
that,
play
you're like
first.
that. We know they're going to be amazing. I don't need to see it. I know they're going to be
don't.
amazing. They were just the 1 seed.
And they lost in the second round, and we all thought they would win.
And they kind of blew it. They
Okay.
kind of blew it. Agreed. We all thought they were winning.
Like, that
and
was
outside of
Luka's
maybe
worst
you,
series.
and we were disappointed.
And they still lost.
Were
That
you
was
not
Luka's
disappointed?
worst series, and they lost.
They disappointed us.
Think about that.
that's
No.
bad.
So my point is, that was Luka's worst series. He was injured. They lost. Now think coming into this year, and Luka is healthy again, and they play again. What? We're gonna say they failed because they lost to Dallas?
I'm saying last year when Luka has that poor of a performance, you should win that series.
I think schematically OKC just wasn't ready for Dallas.
I can see both of your point of views. I understand what you're saying with the talent aspect of it. My thing is that let's say they make the conference finals and they don't make the NBA finals. They lose in the conference finals. Is there any roster shakeup that happens?
No. They could probably... I don't know if there's a power move to be
the
made,
top,
but they
like,
have so many
5
picks.
guys are
They have
staying,
so many picks. They could go and mix match and do whatever they want to try and retool. But I think you keep this foundation for years because it's a super young team. But I'm not going to, just because they're young, take away the expectation that this is a championship level roster.
I think the expectation is, I agree with
these
the
players
expectation.
are all great. We have seen with the second apron, yeah, they're young, but you're going to have 3 potential supermax type dudes.
For
you're
sure.
not being able to keep Caruso, Hardenstein, all
point.
these dudes
With
too. So
picks,
No,
though.
hey,
They do
you,
it, yeah.
You do it. Y'all do it.
say it again.
Boston did it. Why can't they?
It's a good point.
Yeah,
you guys are able to keep
will-
7
will
guys.
ownership.
Will ownership
They're kinda
also
cheap.
be willing to pay $1 billion tax?
OKC is kind of cheap, but they've never had a team. Let me not say that. This team is crazy.
Correct.
Like, this team is crazy. This team is crazy. It might be a little different. I think we all agree on the ceiling. I think the disconnect here is the after effect. Like, I don't think it'd be a bust if they don't reach that full ultimate ceiling.
Yeah, I mean,
of a
no one's getting
championship.
fired. You're not moving off J-Dub.
I don't-
Nothing
I
like
don't
that.
think
You
that.
just got to
like,
come back next season, go harder,
this-
but realize we
for sure.
did not
Because
reach our
here's the
goal.
thing. Here's how I view it. The Boston Celtics, I think championship or bust for you guys, it happened very early because you made the conference finals without Kyrie Irving. And then you not only got Kyrie, but you got Gordon Hayward back the very next year. So you had all-stars with those rising stars that were already on your roster. When you failed, they shook up the roster. Kyrie was gone. You brought in Kemba Walker. When Kemba Walker and that group went to the conference finals and they failed, they shook up the roster once again. And you, like, to this point,
You go and you add Derek White.
You added Malcolm
got
Brogdon.
smoked.
You added Malcolm
Y'all
Brogdon.
lost
You
in 5
added
games.
Derek White. You added
What?
Kristaps Porzingis.
After, when they shook up the roster, y'all lost in 5
But they were
games.
also banged up. No
You're
JB.
saying against the Nets with no
Yeah,
J-Dub?
No.
I'm talking about
He's talking
against
about
the
Kyrie and
conference
Gordon.
finals.
When y'all
Oh,
lost in
yeah.
the second,
To
y'all
the
lost in the
Bucks.
second round. Y'all
Yeah.
got smoked.
Yeah, they did get smoked.
Like, that's
when
so
y'all
that's
lost
why
to
it
the
was a
Heat
shakeup.
in the bubble in the conference finals.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
They
Because they beat the Raptors in the
didn't get.
second
I was
round.
gonna say I don't remember
No,
the
that
Celtics getting smoked in the
smoked
ECF.
6.
No.
They got. You're right.
No,
they
I'm
got
talking about,
smoked
yeah.
to the Bucks.
No,
Yeah,
Gordon
Kyrie
Hayward and
was
Kyrie,
here.
they shook it off
Yes.
because they got smoked out by Milwaukee.
Yes.
Kyrie couldn't hit a damn
In the
shot.
bubble, they beat Toronto, but they lost to Miami.
Tatum also wasn't that great year too.
And I'm
He's
saying
here
that
too.
because with
Agreed.
OKC, unless something drastic happens to where they fall short of expectations in a big way, I think this is going to be the same roster going into next year.
I agree.
Because there are so many players that are young on the team. Like Kason Wallace is very young. SGA is still young. Even though he's the
sure.
same age as Jason Tatum pretty much.
J-Dub,
but really
Chet.
talking about J-Dub, Chet, they just have so many young pieces right now. Aaron Wiggins,
sure.
Isaiah Joel off the bench. That I think they're going to let this play out unless something drastic happens and they fail miserably. But that's why I don't think it's championship or bust, because championship or bust to me means if you don't win a championship, major changes are happening.
I say
And I
WCF
was going to
bust.
say that's a disconnect for me there, because I'm not
sure.
saying if you lose you blow everything up or you try and you try and make different moves to make this team better. It's we have a goal to win a championship. If we don't reach that goal, we failed. It's a bust. That's you take it at face value.
I wouldn't agree to that, but I understand. I do think this is ceiling is championship for sure.
I just don't think OKC's by far and away the best team in the West.
No, but they're in that.
I think
they're
they
there.
are.
They're in the conversation.
They're in the conversation,
It's
but
like they're
to
at
me-
1 or 2.
to
They're
me,
at
they
one or
lead
two.
the
great teams in the
conversation.
West.
Yeah, but you want to talk
can't say
about
that.
what team in the West outside of OKC has everything.
The team just beat them, got better.
the Dallas Mavericks just added Klay Thompson.
They have everything.
What don't
Lost
they
Derrick
have?
Jones Jr.
They don't have
perimeter
POA
defense?
That's probably it.
That seems important against the
That's-
Thunder.
that is
You
important.
lose Derrick
But they
Jones,
play
that's
a lot
a
of zone
blow.
help type thing. So
I know. I don't know if Dallas
They
is
added
number 2
Klay
here, so
Thompson,
we don't
though.
get.
And they
Getting
added
Klay
Najee
was
Marshall.
huge.
Najee Marshall's been one of the best SGA defenders in the league.
I understand this, but OKC added Caruso and Hartenstein. There's levels
I don't
to
think
this.
Derek
Caruso
Lively's
helps.
getting better.
Caruso doesn't help in that matchup against Dallas.
Yes, he does.
I don't think
The
so.
spacing aspect.
Okay, I mean, not at a shit ton. Caruso's not going to take a shit ton.
I'm
of
not
threes
saying
in
that, but
matchup.
still, if you pass him the ball, how many open shots did Casey Wallace miss?
Could
How
also
many
guard
open shots
Kyrie.
did Lou Dortz miss?
Kyrie was-
And you put him
yeah.
on Kyrie, he's definitely gonna not stop Kyrie,
I
but
don't
limit.
think, I don't think Caruso would be the game changer and why they lost or won.
No,
that
but
series.
Isaiah Hartenstein also is a game changer there.
That's the one where
That's
it's
kind of
like,
how
yeah.
I see it. Because you look how Chet kind of got bullied to a degree by Derek and
that's the
Daniel
one, for
Gafford.
sure.
Isaiah goes in there.
But then Clay, now he's in there. That makes
Agreed.
that team even much better because PJ was hitting that insane clip. Now you add Clay in the mix.
But it's like if you have Clay there and J-Dub, that's kind of his assignment. You have Caruso on either Kyrie, probably not Luka, Lou Dortz. You'll definitely see a lineup of Caruso and Dortz at the
I
same
mean, you're
time.
always going to send two at like
Caruso in the
Luka and
playoffs
Kyrie.
has shot 30% from 3.
So in his 2 years,
So, yeah, how many games?
3 playoff series with Chicago, he shot his best, 38.9%. His shot improved.
he's been a much better 3-point shooter in Chicago.
The 2020-2021 Lakers season when he was on that team, he shot 40% from 3 in the regular season, but then in the playoffs, he shot 29.4%.
What's the attempts? I'm an attempt guy.
2.8.
Not moved.
He's a better shooter now than he was with the Lakers.
Way
so,
better. He
yeah,
just
so.
had his career best year
Yeah, 40%.
shooting the basketball.
Lights aren't bright. Sometimes you
Chicago?
play better when the lights aren't
But
bright.
Caruso, I feel like he's been in those moments. He's a
And
champion.
he shot terrible
To be
in
fair,
those moments.
I don't think Oklahoma
But that was the
City's really
2021
bright lights.
season. You're
The
saying
year
LA's
before,
bright
when
lights.
y'all
In the
won a
playoffs,
championship,
it'll
it
be
was
bright. Yeah,
below
even still.
30%.
It's not
Well, in the
LA
Lakers, he
bright.
shot 29%.
But LA lights aren't OKC lights.
Oh, brother, them lights was bright.
It's going to be the same. No, listen, I just think
you're playing with LeBron James.
I think they'll win 60
we'll
games.
talk about it more when we talk about the Mavericks preview. But
they next?
this next team, the Minnesota Timberwolves,
wow.
they're the second team in
That's
the West.
shocking.
This is according to FanDuel and their win projections at 52.5 wins.
This is post trade too. I'm
This
assuming you
is
got
post trade, yes, and I
Wait,
think
they're 52. OKC was 56.
56.5.
Damn.
I think
So they
OKC
think
gets
it's a
to
gap.
60.
They're saying they're the best.
Yes, and I agree with that. I think they probably will be the best regular season team in the West. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 52.5 wins. I like that Vegas respected them because they lost Cat, but I do think the Timberwolves got better. Like
In a
Julius
way.
Randle is an all-NBA performer, and now you have Dante coming off the bench. If Dillingham can just make a little bit of a contribution, Rob Dillingham.
Don't do
I
that.
didn't hear him.
Don't
I
do
didn't
that.
hear
You're
him.
getting messy.
We're talking
I
about
didn't hear him.
Minnesota, who off the
Rob
bench.
said.
Who?
Minnesota has Nas Reed,
There we
Dante
go.
DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker.
one of the
Don't
deepest
you
teams in the
dare
league.
say Joe Ingles.
Joe Ingles is a good role player.
He's
If
the
Joe-
10th man.
Bro,
He's the
you
10th
can
Look
man.
at my notes. I have all the bench players except Joe
Yeah,
Ingles.
if Joe Ingles is a 9 player off your
he's-
bench,
he's
that's
not
not,
the ninth.
good.
How
How
many
many
minutes does he get in the playoffs?
How many
Joe
did he get in the
Ingles?
regular season?
Maybe
Like
like
10 to
6?
12?
Yeah, around there, but that's fine. I mean,
He's the best 10th man in the league. Here we go.
Who has a better top 8 than the Timberwolves? When you talk about Nas Reed, Dante,
OKC.
and Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Okay.
But this is what we're talking about. Like
Agreed.
Minnesota
No, they're top-
has
they're top
arguably the
9.
best depth in the league, and
I'm with you.
even with Minnesota, I mean, even with OKC. Sorry, OKC's off the bench. Who is it?
Kaysen.
Aaron Wiggins, Kaysen, and then who else?
It's probably going to be. We got Jalen
Caruso.
Williams. Caruso's off the bench too.
Minnesota.
Unless they start the two bigs. I really don't know what they're going to do.
Minnesota-
I was going to say
bench is
Isaiah
better.
and Chet. I think Isaiah probably would be 6 off
Minnesota's
the
bench is better than
Well,
OKC's.
You have Isaiah. We're counting Hartenstein off the bench too.
We don't even know. That's-
Caruso.
So let's just first solidify what is
go.
OKC starting line.
Let's go matchup for matchup to make it fun. So let's say Hartenstein comes with the bench to match up a big with a
Hartenstein and Nas Reed.
It's even.
It's
It
it's
is
even.
even.
It's even.
It's
Okay,
even.
You
It's
wanted to say
even.
Nas
You
Reed
were
bad.
gonna-
You wanted
it's
to say
even.
it bad.
Respect-
I think it's Nas Reed.
I
I
don't
think
hate
for
it.
It's Nas Reed.
I don't hate
contract
it.
purposes,
Yeah, no,
Nas
Nas
Reed
is
is
He
much
just won
more
6 man of the
valuable.
year.
I don't hate it.
But Hartenstein value on the defensive end is OD.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
OD.
And then it's Dante and who? Aaron
Dante
Wiggins
versus Case and Wallace probably.
I think it's Dante.
Dante's better right now.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
And Alexander
I mean, Kaysen-
Walker.
Versus Aaron Wiggins, I think that's even. I
Isaiah
think Wiggins
Joe?
is really good.
Isaiah
really
Joe's
He's
like
better
that.
than Rob Dillingham. Facts.
Easy.
Right now. Right now.
Isaiah Joe's like
I
that
think
last
it's
season.
relatively evil. I mean, even.
Even,
Wow.
yeah.
And that's
Evil.
what I'm
It
that's
is
what I'm
evil.
talking
It's
about.
gonna get evil.
It is.
Okay,
When they
is
match
gonna
up.
get evil.
With Minnesota, I know the starting lineup is a bit clunky because of the spacing issues with Julius Randle. He's not a great 3-point shooter, although last year he did shoot 50% from the corner, and maybe he could keep that up. But I think the different dimension that he adds for Minnesota is that now there's somebody else that can dribble, drive on the offense.
Yep.
Cat wasn't able to do that. Julius Randle will be able to collapse the defense, therefore creating space and kicking it out to open shooters. When we look at a potential bench lineup, because the starters don't play all the minutes, once Anthony Edwards now moves to the bench, and let's say you're in the start of the second quarter, you can have a lineup out there of Dante, Dillingham or Conley, Alexander Walker, McDaniels, Naz Reid, or Julius Randle. Like, Julius Randle can play with the most space he's ever played with in his career, and he can spearhead that second unit. And they can still have good offense even when Edwards is on the bench. And that's what I think makes Minnesota even better now. And I think between the defensive personnel they had last year and this year, I think this year, in certain matchups, they're better defensively. If they run into Jokic, you don't have that body that you can put on Jokic like they did with Cat. But I think they match up better with OKC now because Julius Randle can guard better in space. So I think with certain matchups, their defense becomes better, but ultimately their defense will remain the same. It's going to be one of the best defenses in the league. And I think you got better offensively. Like Minnesota, I like that Vegas is putting respect on them because I think this could be potentially the number one seed in the West. I think they can compete for the number one seed in the West.
What?
I think everyone's going to be fighting for two.
I think they can compete for number one seed in the West.
OKC probably wipes number one seed.
Yeah,
like,
no,
they'll be the healthiest
it's everyone
probably.
fighting for two, and that's
wiping
okay.
number one seed is championship or bust.
like,
That's
bro,
all I'm
that's
saying. You win
really
60
a
games in the
fact.
fucking West. I don't want to see
That's
some.
not-
oh,
no, that's not
you
the
get
same
to the
thing.
Western
If they win
Conference
60
Finals,
games
losing
and they
five.
lose in the WCF,
I would know. Who are they losing to?
One of these teams.
let's say they lose to Minnesota.
That's not a failure to me.
They lose to Minnesota.
In embarrassing fashion, yes. But if it's a close 6-7 games, no. Regular season seeding does not matter too much. We've seen
you
Utah
win 60
gain the number one seed
games?
multiple times. We've seen the Atlanta Hawks in the East win 60
they're
fucking
not
games.
the Atlanta
No,
Hawks.
I'm not
You know
saying
they're
that.
not.
No, I'm not saying they are. But you guys are just saying if they win this certain amount of games in a regular season,
No,
it means
that's
nothing
not
to
what
me.
we're
It's the opposite.
saying.
That's what
It's
you
the-
just said.
It's the opposite.
Well, that's a
It's
part
the
of
opposite.
why.
That's
It's a
regular
part
season.
of
I
why.
don't think it's a
wins
clearing
don't-
in the West. I don't think the
so
Thunder
either.
are going to win 62 games. The next
OKC was
52.
just a number one seed last year.
I'm with you.
And they lost in the second round.
And we just went over that. We were disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed.
So, Riv, let me
You're
ask you this.
lying.
I wasn't
You're
disappointed.
lying.
I was disappointed in J-Dub. That was probably it.
And he's not a huge part of OKC
They
and their
all are.
success.
So, Riv,
They
let me
are.
ask you something. If the OKC Thunder get the number one seed again this year, and it's by a sizable amount, and they don't reach the NBA Finals, that's not a failure to you?
No.
That's a lie. It's a
No.
lie.
No.
It's a lie.
No.
You are the one seed for the second year in a row. You were just the one seed by, let's say, you guys were the one seed by like double
They
digit
were
games. So let's not
comfortably
go that
better
far.
than every
And
team
I
in
agree.
the fucking
and I
East,
just
Drew.
said let's not
That
go
doesn't
that
even make
far.
sense.
And I just
You can't compare
can
them.
You listen?
That's a stupid-ass
No, you're
comparison.
being dumb and not
That doesn't
listening.
make sense.
Use these
What do
things
you-
that God gave you and listen.
That doesn't make sense.
If you win and you're the first seed and you're the first seed by 6-7 games, I'm not saying the 14-15 that you guys.
I got
if
you,
you were
I
to
got
wait
you.
and
How many
listen,
games? How many games did Dallas win last year?
They were the
Look up
fifth
the
seed,
seeding
right? Fourth
last year
They were the
right
fifth
now.
seed.
Look up the seeding last
Was
year
it
right now.
52?
And how many did OKC win last year?
Is it 58?
So that was a 6-game difference again.
Okay.
But this
I
last
just said
year,
They both
second
got
year
better.
in a
They both
row.
got
no,
better.
but last year's and this year.
Agreed.
No, all I'm saying is this. Last year, I don't even know. Let's first find out if that's
Okay.
a fact before we even.
But they had
go.
a
Okay,
know,
OKC
got
was
5
57 and 25. Dallas was 50 and 32.
So they had a 7 games
Yes.
lead last year. This is same, not same, but same.
I understand what you're
last year, OKC had 7 games above the 5th seed.
Yes.
They were a better team in the regular season. We
Yes.
all can agree. They were also the healthier team in the regular season. Y'all
were.
forget that in the
No,
regular
I'm
season.
not forgetting
The
that.
healthier team, usually, we saw 2 years before, Sacramento, one of the healthiest teams in the league.
sure.
They were a, 2 seed, 3 seed, or what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So OKC had 7 games above Dallas. Playoff time.
Yes.
Matchups. Schematically. 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
When the fuck did OKC lose? They lost in the second round. So that's 7 games above them in the regular season. That shit doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I say this.
Are we talking about last
listen,
year or
listen,
this
listen,
year?
no, listen.
Do they have?
No,
Did they
no,
have
listen,
Caruso
listen,
and Harden
I said-
last year?
look, I
Did
said
they
this.
have
Look,
Harden
I
and
said
Caruso
that
last year?
I don't know what you're talking
OKC
about last
got
year
better. OKC got better
No
this year.
shit.
Dallas also got better this year. So I don't give a fuck how many
Did they
games
get
OKC.
better? Did they?
Why did
They don't have perimeter defense.
But they got better at shooting, right? Why did they lose the finals, Drew? Why?
They
Why?
were simply
couldn't hit
inferior.
what?
They
Because they
had
couldn't hit
nothing.
what?
No,
they couldn't
they
hit
were
what
inferior.
shots.
Dennis was locking up.
They were
But
inferior.
But
was
what
locking
percentage did PJ Washington shoot?
Okay.
Derek Jones
What did he
didn't
shoot in the Western
My
Conference
point.
Finals?
They couldn't. They still. But Luka just dominated them,
Hey,
right?
what Clay shoot in that playing game?
What playing game?
Yeah, over fucking
Clay was
10.
ass in a 1-game series.
Yeah, but now
What
Clay's.
are we talking about?
He's gonna have a lot of
I know,
spacing.
I'm
The
trolling-
reason-
I'm trolling.
the reason
We act
why-
like we don't know basketball
The
right
reason
now.
why they
You're
lost to
chatting
Boston
as
is
if they're not. OKC is not drastically better this season.
And so is Dallas.
Drastically is a blatant
They
lie.
were just a fucking 5th seed. And, yo, bro. Oh
Is
my
Klay
God.
Thompson not a massive upgrade over Derrick Jones Jr.?
He doesn't even know.
He's a better
upgrade.
shooter
He's
for
an
sure.
upgrade.
No, I think it's a
He's a
massive
better
upgrade.
player. It's not even
Defensively,
close.
defensively,
Derrick Jones
Defensively,
is
they were
not
the best.
close.
Yeah, but
Defensively,
Najee
they're
Marshall
best
and
Klay
players.
Derrick
Thompson's a
Jones
bad
Jr. is
defender.
close.
I'm gonna tell you.
No,
This
he's
is gonna
not.
show me exactly
He's
if y'all
not.
watch. Klay
Just said
Thompson's a
he's
bad
not.
defender.
I just
He's
said
still a
no.
good
Better
defender.
defender.
By how much?
Is.
I mean, he was their best perimeter defender
He's a-
last year.
bro,
If
it's
Klay
Klay-
Thompson is your best perimeter
He's
defender,
a better 3-point shooter
Yes,
by
by a lot,
far.
by a lot,
And he's still
by
a
a
good
lot.
defender. That is a fucking upgrade from even PJ Washington, who was getting significant
He's
minutes.
gonna get
for them.
more minutes again.
Najee Marshall
He's gonna
is
get
a
more
better
minutes again.
defender than both. Not both. Excuse me. He's a better defender than PJ Washington.
It's close to Derrick Jones Jr. though.
Yeah, for sure. You mean to tell me Klay Thompson, who's a much better
He is.
three-point shooter than
is.
Derrick Jones Jr., who they leave wide open? Klay Thompson never has gotten wide open shots a day in his life. And he's
That's
still
a lie.
good defender.
Never is a lie.
Shit, they were leaving him wide open in that
No,
series.
they weren't. They
0-10.
weren't. They've never.
0 for
and this is-
10?
This is I know you guys don't watch basketball. They never, ever leave Klay Thompson wide open. No matter how many shots he misses, he could go 0 for 30. Klay Thompson is still getting that. He's still getting this.
Klay Thompson,
So
yes.
he's a massive upgrade over Derrick Jones Jr. And we are sitting here acting like Dallas didn't get drastically better, which is the team who beat. Not only did they beat OKC, they washed Minnesota. Washed them. Like they beat them in 5 games.
with
The
you.
team
And Luka
who
was
beat
unhealthy.
Denver.
Am I here talking about Minnesota?
What? Why are we?
Am I here talking about Minnesota at all?
We should talk about Minnesota because that was a preview. we were doing.
Facts.
So
I do
Minnesota.
think Minnesota wins over 52
Yes,
games. By the
I
way.
think Minnesota, we kind of previewed
ridiculous.
them. I think they're going to get much better. Now, this is an interesting conversation. I know Denver's next on this projection thing, but we're on this subject of the Dallas Mavericks. Their projection is 49.5. And I do think the Mavericks are getting underrated. I think they're getting
Do you
drastically
think they're going
underrated.
to win less than 49 games?
That's just so fucking funny to hear.
Oh,
It's
because
just
FanDuel
funny to hear,
knows ball.
especially after this guy just fucking screamed and yelled at me.
No, he was
to
yelling.
hear them have less wins.
I do think they're drastically
projected
better,
total.
though.
Drastically
49 and a
better.
half. I mean,
is-
that's.
I think they're underrated. I
Time
think
out.
this win total is disrespectful to the Mavericks.
I
I'll
think
be
so
honest.
too. I think they
it's
will win more.
FanDuel.
I just thought it was funny. I'm just
I
hearing
understand what you're saying.
irony in
Yeah,
it.
It's just when I'm
50
looking
wins
at the
is-
Mavericks, this is how I look at it. Luka Doncic was by far and away the best player in the playoffs.
Not even close.
And he was hurt.
Same didn't do it in the finals.
I know, but he was hurt. Derek Lively now gets
He
better.
didn't
You have-
look hurt in the WCF.
I know he didn't, but that's just a testament to how great Luka is, though. He could dominate like that. He can dominate in
You
that
know what
way.
I mean? Like he didn't look hurt in WCF, but now in the finals
When
again,
he
he
was
was
putting out
hurt.
40 balls. He was 100%.
In WCF, he looked great.
No, I
Yo,
never-
Luka's one of them ones.
When Luka was dominating WCF, I always acknowledged that he was hurt. And every other game, he went into those games as a questionable because he had a legitimate injury. It wasn't a fake injury. And I heard people say it was a fake injury. Luka was
Say it
really
was
hurt.
fake. It wasn't just enough to
Just
keep him out of
played
the
in the
game.
Olympics.
Yeah,
Like
because
10
he's a
days later.
competitor and he's not going to sit out
I'll be honest,
in a
he couldn't
conference
miss a playoff
finals.
game.
No, you can't.
Kobe Bryant broke his hand and
I'm
still
with
played in
you.
the
I mean,
playoffs.
of course.
So
Kobe.
a competitor is going to still compete in those
Don't
high
disagree
stake
at all.
moments. I just look at the Dallas Mavericks. When Daniel Gafford got to the team in PJ Washington, this was a completely different team. A 60-win pace
sure.
type of team. Kyrie Irving, Luka, you add Klay Thompson, who now you can't just help off of Luka on those wings all the time, or else he's going to kick it out to an elite three-point shooter. Derek Lively improves. Daniel Gafford's now there for a full offseason. I think the addition of Najee Marshall is really good. I think the Mavericks are getting underrated. 49.5 win total to me was kind of disrespectful. And I looked at the Mavericks finals odds.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
What are their odds?
This is a team that just went to the NBA finals and they did it in dominant fashion with their star player being hurt. I know that for a fact these teams have better finals odds than the Mavericks. The Boston Celtics, the New York
Understandable.
Knicks, the OKC Thunder, Minnesota, Denver, the Bucks. I know for a fact all those
Philly
6
too, or
teams
no?
have.
That's
I have
on
to
FanDuel?
check. That's on FanDuel.
Why do they have Minnesota over them?
The Dallas Mavericks.
Minnesota's a good team.
But like four
Over
of those
them
teams,
is crazy, but
four of
they're a
those
good
teams
team.
feel okay.
The Dallas Mavericks to me, I
OKC.
feel like are being
What was it?
underrated
Boston, Knicks.
because they just-
49 was nuts.
Knicks
yes,
is tricky.
because I
But
think
it's just there's less competition in the
they
East.
could very well be representing the West again. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Celtics
no.
Mavericks rematch.
Yeah, it's just historically it's tough to go back to back. I mean, obviously not win it, but just even going back to back, it's tough to do. I think that's probably what they're taking into account. But 49.5 does seem pretty low. The team got better, I think, right? Adding Klay Thompson, adding Najee Marshall, they undoubtedly got better. drastically, where all of a sudden they're like the runaway number 1 seed in the Western Conference. I don't know if they got drastically better. I still worry just about the perimeter defense. Najee's solid. Klay Thompson's not a bad defender by any means, but Derrick Jones Jr. was, I mean, he changed the team last year. Like, better for work. Like, he changed the team last year as a guy, as a minimum signing who came in and was a godsend for this team. Going on that second half run, of course, having PJ and Gafford picking them up at the deadline was huge, but Derrick Jones Jr. was a huge part of this run as well. So I don't want to just like look over the fact because you added in some other guys. But no, this Mavericks team should be great again, right? Derek Lively's getting another year. We know what you're getting with Kyrie and Luka Doncic, and the surrounding pieces should be better than what it was last season.
So the Bucks aren't ahead of them, but the Sixers are.
Okay.
So the Mavericks right now, their odds.
When Embiid plays, they're on like a 55 win pace.
Yeah, their odds are plus 1,100. 1,100. Denver, Minnesota, Philly, New York, OKC, and Boston are all ahead of them.
What's Boston's odds? I'm curious.
Plus 320, and the second closest is OKC at plus 650.
Damn.
Vegas thinks
the Celtics are going to 2-peat. That's what
I was
they
going to
think.
say Vegas thinks that
the
OKC is championship
yes,
or bust.
they do think that.
I don't care about Vegas.
To me, I do feel as if Derrick Jones Jr. was a loss, but I think Najee Marshall replaces almost all of that. I think he's not as agile in the perimeter, but I think he's a better weak
stronger.
side defender, and he's
dude.
going to be huge in those matchups. And last year, he shot a career high from 3. So he's somebody that if that trajectory keeps improving, then that's another shooter
What about
added
the
to
bright
Dallas.
lights?
I mean, that's a possibility, but Derrick Jones Jr. didn't shoot well
just
outside of a
fucking
couple
around.
games.
Just fucking
No, I know.
around.
I just think the Mavericks, even with losing Derrick Jones Jr., I think they got so much better, even with that loss.
They got better.
I think they're going to be a great team. I've done enough shit talking to Dallas Mavericks. They
Just
shut me
more.
up a lot. They are a great team. Obviously, Luka Doncic one of the best in the game. Kyrie Irving come playoff time, though, we haven't seen him play consistent basketball since his time with LeBron James in 2016. Come playoff time, obviously he had some pretty high highs, but at the same time the lows were pretty low, and especially in that Boston series where he was basically a no-show the entire time. So that's kind of where my reservation stems from with the Dallas Mavericks and their defense. But of course, if Klay Thompson can turn back the clock and be Klay Thompson in terms of being an efficient scorer, can give you that level of defense. Najee Marshall comes in and now replaces that Derrick Jones defense. Now PJ Tucker apparently been working on his offensive game, working on some mechanics. How is he going to look this upcoming year? I think Derek Lively is going to be amazing.
PJ Washington.
That's what I meant.
Oh, you said Tucker.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry. PJ Washington, thank you very much. Derek Lively is going to be even better than he was last season. And Daniel Gafford, that 1-2 punch, that's one of the best big duos in basketball. So I think they're going to be great. I think they will have more than 49 wins. But again, when it comes to the grand scheme of things, I still see other teams, well, one team in particular, superior to them.
Now, Denver, their win total is at 50.5. And I think the question for them really is, do you trust the bench? Russell Westbrook, Dario Saric, Julian Strawther, Payne Watson.
They have the best starting 5 in basketball.
I'm fine with that.
They have the best starting 5 in basketball.
With Christian Brown in it.
They have the best starting 5
fine
in
with that
basketball.
statement.
Only argument, Boston Celtics. They have the best player in the world. They have the most pluggable players next to him. They have Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown I think is going to be fine. This is me assuming Christian Brown's going to be good, obviously. With me, it's just about can the bench hold up to give them enough cushion in the regular season? Because if you can get into the playoffs and this bench is giving you enough cushion to where you can just grab 2 guys, I don't think there's any team in the West that can guard the Joker. Like, I think you had that Joker stopper-ish with Minnesota. Like, you had an ingredients for it. But with these other teams, I don't think, like, I think OKC has 2 bigs, but I don't think that's their style of play. I don't think eventually they're going to go to the 5-out spacing. Eventually it's going to be something with that. Minnesota, like you mentioned, Randall's there. With Dallas, the 2 big, I'm not even thinking about that. I think the Joker kills that matchup. The Lakers, we've seen it
That
happen
might be the
already.
best chance, though.
We've seen the
I feel
Lakers.
you, though.
We've seen it happen.
Oh no,
already.
I'm not saying this is the best chance.
Yes.
I think Dallas might be the best chance.
Dallas, kind of, sort of, but I think Derek Lively's too small and Daniel Gafford's too short.
Okay.
Like, I think, like, Denver really, if they can just hold up in the regular season with this bench, man, because this bench is going to be important. I think this is another team that's still going to have its little, it's going to be in the race because they have the Joker, the best player in the world. And if Jamal Murray's healthy for the playoff time, because, if we give benefit of the doubt to Luka, we got to give it to Jamal. Jamal was a little bit banged up. It was a little bit more obvious with that guy. Yeah. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. But if Jamal Murray is healthy, they have those guys. You just grab 2 guys off the bench that can give you something. I think Denver still has a very good chance of maybe not representing the West, but giving any team a 6-7 game fight. And if you can go 6-7, you in game 7, you have the Joker. Unless you're LeBron, you probably take the Joker in that matchup against anybody.
How much does it hinge on Russell Westbrook just being really good for them?
I'm not going to say it hinges solely
In the regular
on
season,
him.
sure.
I think in the playoffs too. He's going to be like the 6th man in the playoffs.
I don't
The
disagree.
Clippers cut his minutes
I feel like
every game.
Also, this was one thing that I should have known, but it still kind of shocked me to read. This is his 6th team in his 8th season.
Yep.
That's
he's been bouncing
insane.
around. It's fucked.
Wow.
6 teams in 8 years for an all-time great.
It just feels like every team that
You're
Russ
insane.
has gone to in the last 8 years, like you've mentioned, it's ended sour. And
Yeah.
all those teams had less of a chance to win when he was on those
Did you see
teams.
what he said when they were interviewing him? He was just like, no team has fit or put a proper. It was something like no team has fit a team around me. I've always had to just work with what I got. And
He's
stuff
had a
like,
fit around the team.
Yeah, he said like it was just
could
some
argue
crazy
Washington.
shit. No, it was crazy. Like it's cat.
Washington was building around you.
Contenders, how the Lakers, I can
I
understand.
think OKC year 2 with Paul George was a good team. It was a good
That
team.
Rockets team
just got hurt.
Russ, well, the season also shut down. You mentioned the injury facts, but the two of them were balling.
They were hooping.
Russell Westbrook, for a point in time, was playing at a top 5 level. Not that he was, but he was on a stretch
hooping.
where he was insane. Then the season shut down. Obviously, they were leaving him open in space. The Lakers were
I
wildly
think he hurt his
disrespecting
knee
him
right before
Yep.
the season
Yep.
shut down, and after that, it was.
Now the Rockets really plummeted really fast.
I think Christian Brown's going to be amazing this year.
That's one I can see it, but I need to see the uptick in the 3-pointers in terms of the attempts taken. Where he was shooting 37% around that.
It wasn't
but
high
it was 3 attempts
yeah.
a game.
Probably
That's
was all
kind of where
cornered ones,
because
too.
it's Christian Brown. You have Julian Strawther and you have Peyton Watson. To me, those are the 3 most important players for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, we know the starting 5. You mentioned it. That's going to be the best starting 5 in basketball, right there with the Boston Celtics. I'll throw OKC in there. But those 3 guys and how they develop this upcoming season tells us whether or not Denver Nuggets will be champions or not.
Yep.
Because I think if they're legitimately solid role players and foundational, not foundational, excuse me, but
Well, they
just
have to be
very,
foundational,
very
shit.
firm in what they do and what the Nuggets want to execute, they can give you guys a great series.
Absolutely.
They can be champions. That's how great, of course, that I think that this team is. But it's solely dependent on, can Peyton Watson shoot the basketball? Is he going to be a negative when he's on the court because he can't space? Can Christian Brown be a consistent 3-point shooter because you know he is a really good defender? And is Julian Strawther going to translate from being this great 3-point shooter and just being that for Jokic when he needs to in just a kick-out type situation, and especially off the bench? That's where it stems from for me. I think this team ceiling is a championship. I think they're one of the few that I have in the Western Conference that can legitimately take off the Boston Celtics. But it's dependent on those 3 guys for me.
Yeah, when you have Jokic, I mean, he's just going to be a nightmare problem for everybody, right? Like their team is different than I feel like a lot of these other teams we're talking about, because as a whole, when you talk about Minnesota, OKC, like these teams, even Dallas, like holistically have basically everything you're looking for. Of course, you have the stars, but you have all of the role players too. We know how great Nikola Jokic is, but to me, they are the most Nikola, like star dependent player out of all of these teams, right? Like, of course, Luka's going to get you yours. SGA is going to get you yours. But since Jokic is such a mismatch for basically the entire league, if these role players can just be role players, they have as good a chance as anybody to be able to be champions, right? I think they should be second best, if not best odds to win the NBA Finals, because I don't think Boston has a chance to stop Nikola Jokic, right? Like there Al Horford, Porzingis, that's not going to be, that's not a recipe
Shout
to
out to
stop
Al. This is last
Nikola
moments.
Jokic, right? Like, sure, you've been able to hold Embiid here and there and Giannis to be inefficient, but Nikola Jokic is a completely different beast. So if you could, number one, get Jamal Murray to stay healthy, because he had that insane run, right? The year they won the championship. But outside of that, we know his injury history. And these role players just need to develop. You need to be able to rely on Christian Brown, rely on Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, and Russ to an extent. I do think when the playoffs come around, be interested to see what his minutes look like, right? Because I think, like you mentioned, regular season, he's going to be used because you need to get through 82 games. You need to get through, 48 minutes per game. So he's going to have to eat up some of those minutes. But once the playoffs come around, how much does he play alongside Jamal Murray or alongside Nikola Jokic? I think that's where we could see a bit of a regression there. And you're really going to rely on those 2 other ball handlers to get the offense flowing.
I think he needs to play because they don't have a ball handler off the bench.
That's facts.
I think, to me, this is how I envision the playoff rotation being. I think it's going to be Russ. I think it's going to be Saric. And it's going to be one of Watson and Strawther.
Who was their ball handler off the bench last
Reggie
season?
Jackson.
Thank you.
So I think
better?
Russell Westbrook is gonna have to play, and I think Saric.
Don't do that.
I like the Saric move. I really do like the Saric move.
That's the one that I did have in my notes also. I don't know. That Sarge, DeAndre Jordan backup center, not
Should've been
garbage,
Darren Holmes, man.
not great.
Yeah,
For real, that's
unfortunate.
devastating. The ACL injury, that sucks. But that was it ACL or Achilles?
One of them, but it's out for the year.
Yeah.
I do know that. So that's my one
John,
big
double
question.
check.
Yeah, thank you, John. Which one is it?
definitely
Achilles.
was
Thank you.
Achilles.
Apologize. That's the one. The Sarge, DeAndre Jordan. That's my only real issue with the squad. But other than that,
So do we have him over 49?
50.
It's 50 and a half.
I think I'll cook up 50 and a half. Yeah.
I mean, Nikola Jokic has had more than these wins with no Jamal Murray before.
Mid.
West has got better though.
Yeah, that's why I think these win totals have been so low because there's so many great teams in the West. The Phoenix Suns are at 47 and a half, number
next?
5th seed in the Western Conference.
Disrespecting my Lakers.
I think the Suns are the most underrated team coming into the season in the West.
I can hear that.
Because when you look at this team, this was a top 10 team. And in the fourth quarter, they had by far and away
You
the
were waiting
worst
for it
net
to like
rating.
just stop.
By far and away, minus 14 net rating in the fourth quarter.
impressive to be
The
that bad.
next
You have
closest
KD and Book
was
and you're minus
Miami.
14. How?
They don't have an offensive engine.
That's still crazy to me.
They don't have a facilitator. They don't have a person that's going to set the table.
I like that.
Facilitator now?
But in the first three quarters, they were
they
amazing.
They're fucking.
That's what I'm saying. I
Tyus
feel like
Jones.
now I
just
think you
can't
should feel
guard.
like you have that
Monty
facilitator.
Morris too. That was sneaky.
I think now you have Tyus Jones, who is going to set the pace for the team. I kind of like their bench a little bit. With when they signed Mason Plumlee, I think that's an all right backup
Shit, I
center.
mean, we were buying into Keita Bates-Diop last year.
We
so
weren't doing
sure.
anything.
Yeah.
You have Monte
Remember he
Morris
told
off
us
the
about
bench.
what's that dude's name?
Grayson Allen,
What
Royce
was his
O'Neal.
fucking name? It was Jordan Goodwin. Remember he tried to finesse the Jordan Goodwin
I
minutes?
think the Suns are so underrated. If they can just get better in the fourth quarter, I can see this team being one of the best teams in the West.
Yeah, I like this team better than last year.
And
So much
Bradley
better.
Beal said it in an interview. I think he was just doing a podcast recently. He said, I missed 30 games and we won 49 games.
Yeah.
And I missed 30 games. If he plays half of those, that's like what, 4 or 5 more wins?
How many games
You
KD
think
or
so?
Book missed? That's what I'm looking for.
They
more
missed
than
like
anything.
15 each.
Yeah, I was gonna
around
say
I'll be
there.
honest,
that's
Bradley
more
Beal
impactful.
saying that doesn't really tilt me one way or the other way. It's just like,
I
okay,
definitely think he makes an impact.
They're disrespecting Bradley.
He averaged 18 on great efficiency
that's cool.
as a third
on.
option.
Cool.
Now, I do think Phoenix is underrated because everyone bagged on them last year, and for the most part, people were right. Like, we had major questions
got
coming
swept.
into the season.
No, they were right.
did get. I'm just saying, regular season wise, they won a decent amount of games,
I'm with
right?
you.
But yeah, you got swept in the first
shit
round.
don't be
That's an
backwards, but
embarrassment.
it got
So I think the fact that everyone was bagging on them last year, and you were right about it, coming into this year, everyone's just assuming or wanting to bag on them again, be like, it's the same thing as last year, right? Even with the additions of Tyus Jones and your boy Plumlee, Monte Morris, and these guys, we still know what the core of this
boy
team
Ryan
is.
Dunn.
I'm surprised we didn't. I'm surprised you didn't mention him.
I just don't know if he's going to get minutes.
Yeah.
I think he
tried to
will
tell you this.
get minutes out of necessity because they
It's
still
going to
need
be tough to
defense.
crack that lineup.
If he gets
Yeah.
15 minutes a game,
Okay.
let's just say 15.
Who does he play over? Because
15?
15 is even tough.
Booker, Beal, KD, Tyus, Nurkic,
Royce
KD,
O'Neal, Grace Allen.
Royce O'Neal,
names.
Grayson, and Plumlee.
It's over, bro.
Need injuries, which will happen.
It's cooked.
Yeah.
No, they'll happen for sure.
Yeah.
But it's over.
It's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be hard. But if he starts
I don't mind him not playing.
hitting
This
a
is
jumper,
a question I
he's
have
gonna
for
be
the Suns.
impossible to keep off the court.
Because I
Good
feel
learn
like
to
the
score.
way
Possible to keep off the court. It's
the way
crazy.
we talked about OKC,
Elite defense can do it. Can block shots. Has active hands. If he
Now
can
talk
hit,
about his
hit the
offense.
jump shot. If he can just hit that corner three, just hit the corner three. He's
You're
impossible
having
to take
so-
off the court. That's all I'm saying.
the way we talk
doesn't have
about
it yet.
OKC, I feel like the Suns fit that mold more. Where the Suns,
break this down for me.
if they don't have any success in the playoffs, this team's gonna blow up.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
way more
I think
dependent on that.
it's more successful season or bust for
Did
them.
we say OKC gets blown up if they don't win a championship?
No,
we
no,
didn't
no, no.
say
No,
that.
he's saying the way it was. The conversation was going.
I think the Suns, even
His
though we don't
definition
view
of
them,
championship or bust
facts,
is you don't want
facts,
a chip, you're
facts.
trading dudes,
even
you're
though
firing
the
dudes.
Suns,
Phoenix doesn't
we
win
don't
chips.
view as championship contenders. I think this season for them internally is championship.
But
or
they're
bust.
also
it was that for
the
them
Suns,
last year.
The Suns are kind of like the Jets. Like this is.
Have you just
this
admitted
is,
what your team is, low key?
It's just you have superstars on this roster, right? Like you have KD, you have
First round
Devin
exit.
Booker.
Suns have been way better than the Jets.
But hold up,
historically.
are the Suns far away though? Like I think they're one more move from being a.
That's my
contender.
next question. I was gonna ask you that. Where do you have them? Like You think
I think the Suns are a top 5 team in the West.
And they can win a chip?
I think they are a center away from being a legit championship
What kind
contender.
of center?
fuck a championship. Do you think they can
they
make
got
the
Plum
finals?
God.
Avika Zubac.
Brother, they're not getting it.
Zubac is not going
I know, but I'm
anywhere.
saying that caliber
He's
of
a
center.
dog. He's a
I
dog.
think they are that caliber center away from being a
Do you
championship
think they
contender.
can make the finals? NBA finals. Just make it in the West. Boom.
In the West? No.
No.
And I'm moving to the
Is
East.
Jakob Poeltl going to be available?
He might be.
He could be.
But they don't have picks to give out. So
True.
Okay, I'm talking about my Lakers.
I think Grayson Allen
you
is
don't
the
have shit with
contract they're going to have to trade to get a center on the team.
You saw he gained like 30 pounds.
I'd rather
So
trade
that's
Nurkic,
fucking.
the center.
I don't think you can. I don't think that his value is that.
Oh,
I
brother,
don't
you
think he has
can't
a lot of value.
move your best catch and shoot 3-point.
But
shooter.
also, Nurkic was
There we go. Off-season moves.
every single 5-man lineup that the Suns had.
He was in
That
it.
the most positive lineups. Nurkic was a part
No,
of.
he's a good
I think
player.
Nurkic gets terrible PR. He was good last year.
What the
I
fuck
enjoyed
is he
watching
getting
him.
good PR for?
Who? I
He
haven't
passes
seen
well.
any PR from
He
fucking
rebounds
Nurkic.
well. He's an elite rebounder.
Yeah, I get what you, it's just Nurkic. Nobody's giving him
Have you
good
ever heard
PR.
PR? Is that what
No,
you just said?
that's- I
think
haven't
that's
heard
well
any
said.
Nurkic.
No, I
actually.
feel like
Any
with
PR
Nurkic,
from
his
Nurkic.
PR is just like, oh, he's unplayable.
Oh, you've never heard?
I don't think
Oh, I
that it's
don't.
that.
Unplayable. I've never.
I've never heard unplayable.
But no
think
one's
with
ever propping
Nurkic-
him up because I don't think.
With Nurkic, for me, when I watched the Suns last year, I thought when he wasn't on the court,
was a
they
problem.
really struggled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who were
Nurkic
they,
is the guy you give him PR to.
who were they playing in his
respectfully.
in plays last year?
Yeah,
Who's their
who
backup
was their
big?
backup?
Kevin
big?
Durant.
I'm blanking.
Bobo,
Kevin Durant.
It might have been.
He still
Who
might
was
play
it?
this year.
Drew Eubanks.
Drew
Yes.
Eubanks. Okay.
Bobo is apparently playing the 4 this year. They're going to run jumbo lineups.
But I think the two biggest issues the Suns had were point guard and center, a defensive-minded
and
center.
coach, which they've upgraded
Yes, coach.
this offseason.
Mike Budenholzer now offensive-minded coach. He now fits the identity of how this
Yes.
team wants to play more. They got a point guard. They were the worst net rating team in the fourth quarter and still a top 10 team in the NBA, which to me is impressive. Also, terrible that you were that bad in the fourth quarter. But you got a point guard. You got an upgraded head coach. I think they are one trade away from getting a viable defensive center from being a legit
be hard
contender.
It's going to be hard to make that trade, I'll be honest.
You get Devin Booker, arguably the best 2 guard in the game. You get
Because
Bradley Beal.
you really don't have many draft picks, and to move Grayson Allen's not a young up and coming player. Tanking teams are going to
You have
covet.
to move him to a playoff team of some
Grayson
sort.
just shot 45%.
You want
from 3-2.
Vucevic?
Yeah, I don't.
does he
no,
need?
I don't wanna-
Yeah, Vucevic stinks. I don't think you want Vucevic.
no,
That's the
no,
type
no
of guy
way,
you
no
don't
way.
I
want.
think Grayson, you can trade him because you have Royce O'Neal.
Why didn't they sign Andre Drummond?
Probably didn't have the money.
Hey, what'd Drummer go for?
That's what I'm wondering. Was it that much of a bat?
It was 1 year.
They didn't have $8 million to
216?
give?
They had minimums, right? I don't think they had anything else.
I think it might be 216.
You know
He
what I
went
mean?
2
Like,
for
like
6.
Drummond would have been a front.
6 or 16.
6, 2 years, $6 million.
Oh, I thought they had that.
Come on.
No, they're over the second April.
Let me just ask
Oh
you
wait,
guys
sorry,
something.
hold up.
Do you guys agree that the Suns are a center away
years,
from
10
being
million.
a contender?
Okay.
Player options year 2.
I think they're a good ass team.
Getting
Are
Ty-
they a center
run that
away
back one
from
more
being
time?
a
Getting
contender?
Tyus Jones moves me. I think they finally have someone that can facilitate this offense. Also is a great spacer in his own right, can shoot the basketball in an efficient clip. And also does it in a manner that he doesn't really turn over the basketball too. That's a big part of it for me. Devin Booker now goes to his 2. Kevin Durant is still probably being put in a position on the defensive side that he still has to do a lot at this age. The concern is defense. That's why I can't say that they're center away, because their defensive pieces still aren't great unless Ryan Dunn. Who knows?
And regular season is going to matter in the Western Conference for these teams out. Like, you do not want to have to go up in the first round and go up against those top 4 teams. Like, you're going to want to be. You need these guys to stay healthy so you could get into that top 4. So you don't have to play OKC, Minnesota, Dallas, OKC potentially. Like, for Phoenix, if you're able to get out of the first round, I think you could potentially buy yourself one more year. If you lose in the first round because you're going up against these top 4 teams, everything's
Shit.
on the table.
I don't know. I think like at this point
my job.
Jesus Christ. At this point in the West, Dehls, I think any seed right now, 1 to 7, is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I'm just saying I'd rather play Memphis than OKC.
Yeah, but you need
like
for Phoenix it's tough because you kind of need Kevin Durant to be kind of geared up. Like Phoenix, teams like the Lakers,
Pelicans,
even
yeah.
teams like the Pelicans, you kind of need your star. Like you thinking seeding, but you at this point where you're like, fuck it, I just need you 130% when the playoffs start, because that would give us the best chance as opposed to getting this high seed and then you miss a game or 2 in the playoffs.
The reason I asked that question was because I wanted to name centers, and I wanted you guys to tell me. I'm going to name the centers, and I'm going to say if they get this center, are they a championship
They're
contender?
plugging out Nurkic and plugging him in.
They keep Nurkic. Nurkic
moving
just comes off
Grayson?
the bench
Well, you're
now.
begging
It's just
for
they're
this. Okay.
starting.
They're moving Grayson Allen.
They're moving Grayson.
I
Grayson's
think
gone.
you would have to move Grayson. for a
Okay,
deal to
Grayson
happen.
in 2 seconds. Here we go.
Yeah, I think you would have to move Grayson.
Well, you put that on the trade finder. What do you get?
But do you think it's true though? If the Suns get a center,
No.
an upgrade,
I'll have to see
they're
the center.
contenders.
Let's see the center.
Okay, if the Suns get one of these centers, are they a championship contender? Yes or no? I'm gonna list off some center names. Some realistic to get, some not. Jared Allen.
Crying at you said realistic and said
yeah, I
him.
mean,
but yes.
Not said realistic or
Jared
not.
Allen.
Oh, yes.
They're not getting Jared Allen though.
He just
You
needs
get
an
Jared. It's up.
insane
It's
guy.
up if you
Yeah,
get Jared.
if you
But
get
yes.
Jared,
Who's
you can
next?
win a
Fucking Jokic?
championship.
Porzingis. No, I'm just kidding. Daniel Gafford.
No.
No, but you're close.
Yeah, no.
You can't play him for 30 minutes.
I'm looking at the name. Ivica Zubac.
Yes, I think Zubac is undervalued. I
I
really
don't.
like
I
him.
don't think that moves the needle enough to win a championship.
No.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like Zubac and him are on the same level, but
Same level?
because I think Zubac is a slightly worse defensive player, but better offensive player.
Really?
I like his post game. It's really good.
Passing though?
No, not close.
I was gonna say.
close.
Okay.
Let's say score. I'm sorry.
I got you.
Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah.
Oh, we're saying yes to that.
Jakob Poeltl's a good player.
So is Zubac. We're being unfair. We're being unfair.
Jakob Poeltl's a little bit better than Zubac.
I don't know if that's a fact.
I like
saying no to
Zubac.
that.
I have none against Zubac.
I'm
No,
saying
I
to
think
that.
I think Zubac is better, but I would say if I said yes for Zubac,
You
yes,
did.
so I'll go yes for Pearl.
Wendell Carter Jr.
No,
He can't stay healthy.
Sneaky.
stop!
He can't stay healthy. He can't stay
no,
healthy.
he's probably
He can space.
Zubac is better. He is. He just got a bag
Probably.
too. Shout out to
Might
Wendell.
be.
I don't know. I don't know if he is.
You could run a 4
Either
out,
way, Wendell Carter does not make this team
4
championship.
out, 5, 4 out, 1 in with Zubac.
You want to know what it
Let
is
him
that's
eat.
making me
I
think
don't
of
need
it?
you to be
Yo, you
spacing
get a
5 for this
You get a 5
team.
wide.
But I don't.
5
is-
out.
Is
Who
that
gives a
what this
fuck about
team?
Wendell shooting them threes? Go ahead.
Yo, stop. He just got an extension.
I don't care.
I would love Wendell in the Lakers.
So did Terrence Mann.
That's different. He got 358. That's a
I
good
think Terrence
contract.
got 349. Not even trolling. I think he did. I don't know.
I got a couple more names. Walker Kessler.
I'm gonna say yes.
No.
Did you hear John in the
You
back?
said
Mhm.
fucking this guy, man.
I'm
I don't
saying
think
yes.
so. I don't
No.
think so.
Nick Claxton.
Yes.
Yes. Clax
There we go.
moves me.
That-
Clax
You're
that-
moves
underrating
me.
Walker Kessler.
No, I said I struggled with it. No, I did. I struggled mightily.
The Jazz also won like 2 fucking first round picks for him. So
Because Danny Ainge, he does too much. He's
I mean, listen, he
overselling.
finessed. He got some good deals
did
for
that. He did.
Donovan and Rudy.
I think this is possibly the most realistic
James Harden?
player that they can get. Mitchell Robinson.
You sent Grayson in New York. It's up, but I'd
God, shit
say
gets nasty.
no. I don't trust his health.
Yeah.
That's it.
If he's healthy.
It's never happened. But I would say yes.
if you get a healthy
Hey,
Mitchell
the one year,
Robinson,
I would still
the
say
one
no.
year he was
Oh,
healthy.
yes.
I don't think so.
The one
I
year
don't
he was
know.
healthy, he bust Evan Mobley and Jared
did.
Allen's
He-
ass.
He locked them up, but look who we're talking about. They're not high profile offensive players.
You're cooking.
Yeah, those are guys.
He's going up against the Joker.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no, but it's tough for me.
Did I respect Jakob Poeltl too much? I don't feel
You
like
did.
I did.
I think
you really
maybe a
did.
little bit.
Just too much.
The only one I feel like I respected too much was maybe Walker Kessler.
Wendell Carter, you respect
Wendell
way
Carter
too
was-
fucking
I'm
much.
here with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wendell
I get-
Carter can fit almost every squad.
And
Sure, as a backup.
If he's your backup center,
You're lit.
You're one of the best teams in the league.
the final 2 names is Rob Williams, healthy.
Yes.
So
Rob
shit is
Williams
missed, so I
healthy
say no.
moves the fuck out of me.
no,
You know that.
He's right. He's right.
Where's the healthy Rob Williams?
Yo,
man.
Zubac is better.
That's a depoy.
Oh,
fuck
no.
you.
I don't. He's right.
What's a fucking
He's
Celtic?
right.
Zubac is better.
At what?
Oh, you don't. You're
I'm
done.
asking.
You're done. You're done. You're done.
On
You're done.
defense,
Don't say you
he's
like him.
better?
Don't say you like him. Stop.
I love
Zubac is
Zubac.
a really good defender.
But he's not Rob Will, is what I'm saying.
Rob Will doesn't even play.
It's been
That's
so
unfair.
long since
He
I've
gets
seen Rob
injured.
You
Will
haven't
play.
seen him be a
Rob
elite
Will
defender
also
in
he has a
years.
new injury too going into the
No,
year. He
does
does.
he?
Yeah, he's
But
like
he just said
And then
Rob Will
Zubac is
healthy.
giving you O.
Bro,
He's giving you
hear
O.
me out.
lob threat.
Yo,
Oh
OD.
my fucking!
OD.
That's the
Vertical-
weakest O you can
vertical
give.
spacer.
Zubac is not giving you the floater.
He is.
Post up.
Nah,
Stop.
OD.
Rob's a
OD.
decent passer.
Yo, I'm done.
Yo,
This the
but
last
he
name
did
I'll
just say Rob
mention.
Will healthy. That was the disclaimer.
I'm not giving that. Sorry.
The last name I'll say,
Unbelievable.
another Blazer, DeAndre Ayton.
No, come on. Stop.
Nigga, DeAndre.
Hear me out.
Stop.
Hear me out.
I'm done.
He's great at basketball.
I'd rather have Walker Kessler.
You're lying.
I'd rather have Walker
Yo,
Kessler.
DeAndre Ayton is great at basketball.
ask
He
that.
doesn't have drive.
Him or Zubac? I hate that.
DeAndre
For the
Ayton.
Suns team, Zubac.
Yo,
Zubac
Joel,
is
please step
better.
in. You're
Is
going
he not
Zubac is more
Zubac.
defensive minded.
He's underrating Zubac
Suns,
bad, bro.
No, you're underrating DeAndre
He
Ayton.
sucks.
No, he does
He
not.
fucking sucks.
He doesn't have drive.
DeAndre
And that's
Ayton,
different from
exactly,
being
he sucks.
talented. He's talented as
Zubac
fuck.
has drive.
He does.
I need that.
He does. He
on
has
my
motor.
team. I
He
don't
has
care.
drive.
And he
Bro,
plays defense.
DeAndre Ayton is the best.
Who's the better
worst
defender? It's not even close.
Who?
Offensively, it's there.
No, don't you
As a
dare.
scorer, Zubac really got it. He's improved
DeAndre
every
Ayton
other
fucking wiped Zubac on offense.
I don't think so.
No,
You're looking at them
wiped
empty
him.
stats in Portland.
He did that shit with the Suns too.
You see what Zubac is doing with the Clippers?
Averaging what, 11 maybe?
It's actually like 16. I caught
16
you.
when?
I caught you.
When?
It was last year.
Zubac. If Zubac averaged 16 points right now, get ready because I'll get active. I'll get active. I swear to God. Here we go. Let's see. 16.
16
There's
feels
no
crazy.
fucking way.
Wait.
11. 11.
12 and 9. You're round.
I'll round
What
it
about the year
12. 11.
I capped.
16 was wild.
What the fuck?
16 was a strong.
16 was crazy.
I thought I had to be
maybe
back.
per 36.
Check his per 36.
No, it's not. It's not 16. It's definitely not.
What is it, like 14?
He averages 11 playing 31 minutes.
He has Kawhi and PG.
You
Harden.
fucking gassed it. 16.
He has Kawhi, PG, and
What's
Harden.
wrong
He doesn't get the
with
ball.
you?
He doesn't get the ball. This year.
And you're gonna make me.
You're running off through Zubac?
You running off into DeAndre fucking Ayton?
I'd rather do that than Zubac.
Cap.
Yo,
No.
I
You saw
had
Portland. They tried.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, at least give me like 18.
DeAndre Ayton actually averaged 17 last year
Not moved.
and 11.
I mean, yeah,
Unimportant.
it was a nothing 18, but shit.
The year before in Phoenix, he averaged 18 and 10. The year before that, 17 and 10.
He's a
Can't
better
even-
offensive player. I mean,
Better score.
sure.
But
So the
defense.
next-
And rebounder.
The next team in the Western Conference, we already went through the top 5. The Memphis Grizzlies are number 6 at 47.5 wins.
This might be the one that I'm under on. I don't know how I feel about this team coming into the season.
They'll
At
win
least
50 flat.
in the middle of the offseason, I was pretty optimistic about them. But right now, when you come into the season, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams Jr., and Jaren Jackson all are going to miss the start of the season. It's going to be a lot on John Morant, and I think that he's more than capable of having this team fighting for that last spot in the playoffs, but realistically a play-in team. Of course, Desmond Bane. But after last season, you have to look at every single one of these guys in the starting 5 and think they're injury prone. That's just the unfortunate matter of talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. So I think they are a talented group when they are healthy. But right now, where we stand, even Marcus Smart also got injured too. So there's no real safety when it comes to
Jaren
the
Jackson
Grizzlies.
is not expected to miss the start of the season.
I saw out 4 to 6 weeks. That's
Had to look it
huge
up.
news.
Tuesday, October 8th, 3:48. That's what it came out. So
Today.
I get why you didn't.
Okay. All right. Listen, if that's the case, I'm a little bit more optimistic. But last I saw 4 to 6 weeks with that injury.
No,
You see,
he.
they've been hyping up Zach Edey a lot.
That
Yeah.
I'm excited about. I'm going to be
sure.
transparent with
Yeah,
you.
it was a low-grade hamstring strain, so he's not expected to miss the start of the season.
I thought he fucked up his shoulder. Am I tweaking?
Nah, he's dealing with hamstring tightness at the start of camp. Underwent imaging, and they said they'll be cautious with him over the next couple weeks, but
All
he
right.
won't be starting.
Good looks. All right, I could have sworn
The
I
other
saw
two
4
are
to 6
out.
weeks.
Yeah,
What am I thinking of?
Vince is out 4 weeks.
Okay,
You might be
maybe
thinking of him.
Maybe that's what I got.
Gigi's out for
Vince Williams is
3
the
months.
only player that I think for sure would have gotten minutes. I think Gigi Jackson still has to find a role.
Really?
And I say that because you look at Memphis when they're healthy. You have Ja, you got Desmond Bane.
Smart starting.
Smart is starting.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're playing pretty small
They are.
in the at least the backcourt, but
Because
the front
Bane's
court's
playing
really big.
3.
No, I think Smart will play this 3.
Then you have Jaren Jackson. Then you have Zach
Really?
Edey.
Okay.
I think Luke Kennard is probably that next person off the bench with maybe Vince Williams or Gigi Jackson. I
I think
don't
it
think
probably
they
would have
have.
been Vince.
Yeah, they don't have much depth. I mean, it's
Clark
this
is coming back.
yeah with Clark. So if he comes back, then
Pretty cool.
Shit, he hasn't played.
it's Clark and it's Luke Kennard.
That Edie Clark big duo too. That's something to be excited about for the Grizzlies.
Part of me I find it very difficult to buy the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like their time was a couple years ago when they just caught the league by storm. But now, I don't really buy them. I don't really buy them at all. I don't have any faith in the Memphis Grizzlies.
John Morant's healthy. I feel like that's kind of where you have to have optimism.
I think their playoff expectations is a lot different than their regular season expectations. Like I don't buy into them as a playoff team yet. I still
with you.
think they need to improve in that department. But as a regular season, you still have a top 5 point guard in the league. You have Desmond Bane, who's ascending. He's rising. He's still a really good 20
always
points per
knew.
game scorer.
He's a demon.
Jaren Jackson's still one of the best defenders in the league. You have Zach Edey. You have a good coach in Taylor Jenkins. Like I think people sleep on that factor in Taylor Jenkins getting the most out of his guys and being a quality coach in this league. So I think 47 is understandable because of this team dealing with a shit ton of injuries, being injury prone as they is. But I think this team can get the 48. 49, 50 wins, be a 5 to 7 seed in the West. I think that's my expectation for them. Just get back to the playoffs, get that vibe back going into Memphis, and then this offseason coming up, you start worrying about the playoffs, like what you can improve on. Because I don't think they're ready for that mark. I still think you have issues on the wing. You still have to figure out what Gigi Jackson can be, of course, and then your bench is not what it used to be.
I'm sorry to interrupt the conversation. Ryan Dunn bullies Cade Cunningham, pulls up for 3 in transition, nothing but bottom.
How are you gonna keep him off the court?
How are you keeping him off the court if he's doing shit like that? You're not. Yo, John. We might be here.
They could trade Grayson if that's the case. Get Mitch.
It becomes a little bit more possible.
Who's
Ryan
starting for
Dunn
them?
and Mitch.
I've become a Suns fan.
Tyus, Beal, Booker, KD,
say that.
Nurkic.
You can't say that.
I think
voicing Grayson
Memphis
is
feels like the first team. Like, I think the top 4 we talked about, Suns at 5. I feel like those are 5 teams that, to me, stay healthy, locked. Memphis is that first team of kind of the next tier-ish with like them, Pels, Lakers, Kings, where one of these teams is going to get that final 6 seed, and then all of them are going to be playing teams. But they got to stay healthy, man. Like, they've had injuries these last couple of seasons. So many injuries to start off the year. Gigi, Vince, Ja Morant tweaked his ankle. So I need them to stay healthy on the court for a couple months before I have any real expectations for them. Because if it's going to be another injury-plagued season, in the West with so much competition, they could be the 6th seed, they could be the 9th seed with
Ja
how
Morant,
deep
they
it
lost
is.
15 games to start the season?
Yeah, they were
Pretty
terrible.
nasty.
Yeah, they were one of the worst teams to start in the beginning of the season. Now, this ties in perfectly to the next team we're going to talk about. And I want to start off by asking this question. The Kings are the next in line with the win total.
Makes sense.
They're at 46.5. We'll get to them when we get to them.
No, it's just insane.
They're
to me.
11th right
what
now.
the
They're 11th.
fuck?
They're 11th.
11's fake
Well, we'll
crazy.
talk about them when we
Is
get to them.
Vegas insane?
You were just glazing Vegas when it came to Dallas, by the way. I want you to keep that same energy.
I said it was ironic.
Ironic
I
here.
disagreed with Vegas.
They
we
got
go.
like the Rockets on
Okay,
them or some shit?
but
What the fuck?
between the Grizzlies and the Kings, who's going to be better this year?
Kings.
In the
regular season, I'll take the Kings.
I think I'll take the healthier team.
The Kings can be a very
If
safe
they're both
floor.
healthy, who are you taking?
I'll take Memphis slightly. I don't love it though.
Even 100% healthy, I think they could be the Kings.
I don't love it. I think they're on the same. Like, it's a 50-50 for me. 60-40 Kings. I still want to see how Sacramento's starting 5 meshes
Chelsea.
together with DeMar, with Sabonis, with Fox. I think with Memphis, you have a little bit more stability. Jod, Bane, and Jaren have played together, so they kind of know their strength, their weaknesses. I think with Sacramento, the defensive issues are going to be there. With Memphis, we're talking fully healthy, by the way, before y'all go crazy.
Great defense.
I think Memphis will be a great defense. Like, I think that's going to be something they hold their hat on. The half-court offense is still going to be some issues, but you expect that to improve with Ja Morant coming back, Desmond Bane to upgrading his level. With Sacramento, it's just on that end I have the issues with. But I think really for me, it's probably 60-40, 60 Sacramento, 40 Memphis. So, I'm always going with Memphis.
I think the Kings found something last year with Keon Ellis.
Cook.
Of course,
Starting
yeah.
at the 2 guard, when you have Fox, Keon, if he can continue to shoot well, with DeRozan, Keegan, and Sabonis. Then off the bench, you have Herter.
Yep.
I think this team's really good.
Herter
You say
always
Monk
loses
first.
me. He always
Oh,
loses
Malik
me.
Monk. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
Yes.
Here's the thing, though.
I forgot about Malik Monk.
A lot of their success, people are going to go Sabonis. They're going to go DeMar. They're going to go De'Aaron. Be honest with you, I'm looking at Keegan Murray. 36% from 3 last year on 7 attempts. That was a complete shock to me, especially after how he
A lot
looked
of
in his rookie
responsibility on the
season.
defensive end.
Agreed, but I feel like now it'll be a little bit. But now your job is, I just got to hit my open threes. I have 3 players in front of me that are going to be looking to score before I am. I'm going to have situations to score here. DeMar DeRozan's a playmaker in his own right. We know Sabonis is the dribble handoff king, and obviously he's the guy that initiates the offense. We'll see a little bit more of that out of DeMar this season too. We saw De'Aaron Fox take a step in his development as a 3-point shooter. Keegan Murray is that guy that the Kings are looking at and thinking, hey, this is going into year 3 now. We're gonna have to see some improvement, especially with that 3 ball, because on defense he definitely is gonna give you that effort. But what made the Kings such a great team that first year breakout with Sabonis was how efficient that offense was. And with DeMar, I feel like we can see the offense be a little bit better than it was last season. But Keegan Murray to me becomes the big the big point of emphasis, the X factor for the Sacramento Kings. You mentioned Keon Ellis. That was the first name I put in my notes because defense was a concern for the Kings last year. When Keon Ellis was inserted to the lineup, he made them one of the more respectable defenses in the league. So that's where I look at the Kings, and I really get excited for this upcoming season. I think they're one of the teams that are being slept on the most because they just don't have attractive names. They're not really a box office type squad, but when it comes to being a great foundational team, that's the Sacramento Kings.
They got some serious regression last year from their three-point shooters. Keegan and Kevin Huerter, they were 40% three-point shooters the year they were the third seed, and then they just dropped off. And I think if they can get back to the level they played at, we're talking about one of the better offenses in the league. Mike Brown mentioned something interesting because I do think there's a leap that Keegan can take, but with DeRozan and Fox, I don't think it's going to be on the offensive side. He just has to go back to his consistent shooting. I think defensively last year, he really blossomed as a defender, and he was a great defender. And with him and Keon and Fox, who's a really good defender too, I think they have some pieces right there to continue to be a respectable defense. I think Sabonis has to take the next step in his game. And I think the next step in his game is just shooting threes. And Mike Brown,
the mid-range.
Mike Brown said that this year he wants Sabonis to put up 5 threes per game.
Heard that about AD.
This past
We're going to have
season,
AD take 6 threes a game.
This past season, Sabonis shot a 3 a game. He shot
to go with the 5.
Yeah, he shot 37.9% from 3 last year.
37?
37.9%.
Okay.
Hey.
You got a little bit of faith at least.
It was
Again.
1 attempt. So that means there were games he went 0 for 1.
But listen, if it was
get it to 5 and he
26%,
shoots-
you'd be like, all right, don't take 5, 38.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, if you go to 5 attempts a game and you shoot 34%, at least it's a
He's
threat.
not. I think he'll go to like 2 max, probably, realistically.
The fuck
2
is wrong
max.
with you guys?
That's
I
doubling
said
his 3 attempts.
34.
You think he's just going to magically shoot 34
He
on
just
5
shot
attempts?
37 point whatever.
Well, he's not. First of all,
5 is crazy.
fucking, he was lying. Fucking Mike Brown was lying.
Brown
He
is
said,
right,
he
telling the
said,
truth,
he
bro.
said 3 to 5 threes per
All
game.
right,
okay,
that's it.
all
Now I
right.
can.
And even 3 is stretching. I think.
I think
2.
3 is where he's going to
And
be
if
at.
he shoots 3 threes a game and he
He'll
shoots
make one.
34% a
He'll
game.
be 33. I'm with it.
Okay.
Maybe over 3.
We'll take it.
And I
There'll be
would-
days when he shoots over 3.
I would be starting.
And if he's
I don't know,
the worst
do you think
three-point
is
shooter on the
Keon
5?
slated to start?
He
I would
is.
be. I would be
Keon's
starting
starting.
Keon Ellis over Kevin Huerter.
Him and DeMar will be the worst.
Oh,
people.
facts.
Yeah.
Now, I think if Sabonis has an uptick in threes that he attempts per game, I think it can unlock a different layer of the Kings
MVP
offense.
maybe?
Oh, of course.
MVP.
I mean,
no.
no. If he could shoot, everything changes with this Kings team. We could talk about them like as a real like playoff team in the Western Conference, but the spacing gets a little bit wacky with them.
Hold on.
Are you
What are you
going to
looking at,
disrespect
Riff?
Sabonis?
This man took 87 threes last
Yeah,
year.
1 a game.
1.1 per game, yes.
This just
How many did Bam take?
Bam. I don't even expect him to shoot
stop.
37.
So
Would
stop.
you prefer him to shoot 29%? Like he shot 37 on Sabonis.
He shot 38%
Brother.
on an attempt per
Like
game.
yeah, the attempts aren't there, but
But when he takes it, it's fucking cash.
okay,
He
that's
did it the year
crazy.
before. You didn't even
One
know
again?
that. Yeah, you didn't
How
even
many?
know.
How many?
Well,
He
Mike
took
Brown-
83 attempts to make
Mike
31.
Brown
You didn't
wasn't
even know
talking
that.
about
it
taking
was
5
33%.
again.
31. It was 33%.
No, I'm just talking about attempts and
Oh.
makes. Like the year before, he took 83, made 31. Last year, he took 87, made 30. So he did it.
So he's
back-to-back
only going
years.
up.
Sure, yeah, but it's like
Sounds like his game
First
is
of all,
growing.
You
I
just
blame-
constantly disrespect Sabonis.
no,
and
I blame Mike Brown for
spirit.
cap. I blamed him for lying to us.
I think
like
he
that.
really wants him to take more threes.
I
per
believe
game.
that, but that's just like first. Can you start at the mid range? Can we figure that part out?
Why would you shoot the mid range? You could just shoot some
least
threes.
efficient
Get his
shot.
big ass. What is his big ass doing up there? Like, get to the mid range. You love to work down
Where's
there
the
anyways.
bonus pulling that 3 from?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
it's gotta
And
be
it's
just
Get
the
that little
corner.
free throw line
You gotta
extended.
think like
Not
corner.
even that free throw line. That's kind of like his spot where he likes to take his midi.
Drew.
Just take a couple steps back.
Drew,
From what I've
you watch
seen-
Sabonis.
Yo, think about the dribble handoffs, and suddenly, he fakes the
promise-
handoff,
If he does
and he lets that thing go up top.
I'll lose
Yo,
him,
he's-
bro.
he's-
From what I've
tough.
seen, his best spot shooting is on the wing.
I know.
like the 3-point shot.
The wings, yes.
The wings. That's
That's his best 3-point shot.
dude.
Drew,
Watch Sabonis.
Drew, you watch Sabonis more than anybody.
I love him.
Don't he need to work on the mid range?
No, he does. He
Like-
does, but that's the one shot he does take.
So
Like, he's
you'd
gonna
rather
take a
him shoot more mid-range shots than 3-point shots?
Yes.
No.
I don't think I would.
I don't mind him.
You're an old head.
I no. Like,
D,
I
old head.
want you to like. It's a level thing. Like
You
work
already
on the
have
mid-range.
Fox and De'Aaron that operate in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like Fox to take a little bit more threes, to be a little bit more effective at the 3-point line.
Because I think
Fox was
Sabonis,
awesome last
if
year
he
at the
can,
three-point line.
What last year
Fox.
was he?
Yeah.
I don't
he
remember.
shot well from 3 last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like him to operate more in that area. I mean, listen, if Sabonis start hitting them threes, cool. I just feel like his most effective game is in that box, in that post. That's his game. So you're kind of taking him away from that. But listen, if you mentioned it, if he improves that, fuck it. Everything I could be saying could be bullshit at this point. But I'd rather him levels. Work on the mid-range first, then drop back. What is he, 30?
Who?
Sabonis.
He's like 28, 27, 28.
But he's not
Give
that
it a rest.
Sometimes you are who you are.
He's not that
And
old.
there's nothing wrong with that. He's a
Sometimes you are.
Rick
all-NBA
Lopez
level player.
developed very late. His
Yo.
three-point shot.
You're sick.
What did
bro.
he just say?
He said Sabonis is an NBA player. Then looked at me like I capped. No, he said he looked at me like I capped him. He's a sicko, bro.
I hate you right now.
Yeah, he's a
Yo,
sicko.
De'Aaron
Sabonis
Fox,
is 28.
7, 20 what?
28.
Yeah. 7,
He's who he is.
8 attempts a game, 37%.
Okay,
That's great.
That's
I want
elite.
that at 39.
That's great.
That's
good.
great. For what everything else
That's
Fox
great.
gives you, that's
That's
great.
good. I want
7
that at
attempts a game, 37%. That's
I can't
great.
say anything anymore. Like
That's great.
I want that 39. I'm maxing.
My God, he just went from like
39.
30 to
Yeah,
20, 37.
So
a
can
big jump.
we ask for? He went
Oh,
from 30
Yo,
to
he went
37.
no,
He can go 37, 39.
no. So he's gone from, because his second year he shot 37, so that's an outlier. He went 29, 32, 29, well 30 rounding up, 32 to
So
37.
I can't ask to go to 39 based
Well,
off
you
the
can ask him,
improvement.
but off
Based
that
off the
improvement,
If
improvement.
Fox
that's
is
why
giving
it was great.
37% on 7 attempts, you're taking that every
To the
fucking
crib,
season.
bro.
Every season.
I guess I can't ask for more. I'm sorry.
You can ask for more, but we can acknowledge that that's great.
Can I ask for DeMar to make some threes?
Yes,
Two more.
that's where we should be. Yes, that's where the conversation.
That's what we
should be
really
with
should be
Fox.
talking about.
Listen, we're talking about Keegan, we're talking about DeMar. They need
Listen,
to lock
this should be
in.
one of the best fourth quarter teams in the NBA too.
I agree.
Like 2 years ago, they were super elite. Last year, not
Better than
as
the
elite.
Suns.
But I mean, geez, with DeMar and
hard.
De'Aaron Fox there, goddamn.
Now, the next team, the Pelicans, they're going to win a lot of games, 45 and a half wins.
They don't have a big man.
I really hate this team.
They don't have a center.
I hate the fit of it. I hate the pieces that they've put together. I don't like the Pelicans
They
at
are
all.
running Zion at the 5 all year.
Daniel Tice is starting.
Yeah, he's
Their
gonna get
starting
20
lineup
minutes.
right now
Not
is
Daniel Tice.
it's
No, if he's
DeJounte,
Yves Missi.
it's CJ, it's Herb, it's Zion, it's Daniel Tice. Yves Missi is
Wait,
very
brother. Where's
raw.
BI?
Oh, he didn't play in the preseason. Sorry, because in the preseason I was watching it. That's who they
where's
started.
BI, brother?
So who's he starting over? Brandon Ingram?
One of them guards has to
I know.
sit down.
Wait, no, he's starting over Herb Jones.
No,
No.
you need Urban.
No.
DeJounte and CJ start.
Brother,
No,
sit
CJ
DeJounte
goes to the-
down or
Calm
CJ.
down, calm down,
Or-
calm down.
Whoa.
You know, I can't get
No,
nothing
you said
else.
DeJounte first.
But I
That's
said
crazy.
or CJ.
I'll be honest, DeJounte's not in the conversation to come off the bench.
I'll be honest, CJ had a ridiculous year last year. So,
He did.
And then he fucking...
And he's their best. He's
I
one
feel
of
like
their
you
best floor
need
spacers.
CJ for his spacing. though.
And you need his floor
He
spacing.
Herb spaced the
He
floor
can lead
last
the second
season.
unit.
Yeah, but
DeJounte can lead the second. He's more
Or
of a
you just play
one-on-one
the
player.
world's smallest lineup of all time. DeJounte, you run CJ, Herb, BI, Zion at the
You're gonna
5.
get-
You're going to get killed by
an
everyone in the West.
Zion is the most physically imposing player in the league, not
He's
named
fucking
Giannis.
6'5".
no, seriously though, what are
I
the
don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do.
what are the Pelicans doing? Because right now
Trading one of these
you don't
wings?
have a center. It's
No.
either Daniel Tice or Yves Missi starting, and Yves Missi looks a ways away
I'm
still.
with you.
DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson.
Sexy.
They just collected talent.
Instead
That's
of going
sexy.
to get DeJounte,
No,
Two
it's
of those
talented
guys
people.
have to come off the bench. Who is it? It can't be Zion. It probably can't
It's
be
not
BI.
BI.
It
It's not Herb.
can't be
Contract year.
DeJounte.
It's not
Herb
Herb.
has to start.
No, Herb is locked.
He's your
Herb
best
is locked.
defender.
Yeah.
Best defender in the league.
Yeah,
So
he's
are you
all NBA
benching
defender.
CJ McCollum?
DeJounte has to get benched.
Stop!
And I'm
Listen,
sorry.
I'm
It has to
benching
happen.
We need a
I'm benching
facilitator.
DeJounte
We need a
before Herb.
facilitator.
CJ's a cool playmaker. And
he's
Zion,
not-
point Zion. You've been telling me. And B.I.'s a cool
You're
playmaker.
cooking. You're cooking.
DeJounte has to come off the bench. I'm sorry.
He fell off. He fell off
crazy.
Fell off.
I don't give
You
a fuck.
went from wishing him a
I'm
happy
trying to help
birthday.
Zion.
No, you went from wishing him a
I'm
happy
trying to help
birthday.
Zion.
Late.
Exactly. I was late.
Now
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying he needs to come off the bench.
Because he's doing too much. This
How?
is like you're getting. Like, listen.
But it's also a different situation if he's going to New Orleans.
That's okay.
And he low-key was the best he was as a jump shooter last year.
Yeah, when Trae Young was not there.
Here's the thing, though. If you start Herb Jones, you have to bench CJ McCollum because Daniel Tice is starting at the 5.
That's
CJ McCollum is their best
throw up.
floor spacer. He's their best floor
They
spacer.
trade for Steven Adams.
If you start CJ, now Herb Jones comes off the bench with Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. It's not bad, but in the starting lineup, you don't
Jordan
have
Hawkins.
any real legit defense. And Jordan Hawkins, I like Jordan Hawkins a lot.
should.
DeJounte Murray has been marketed as this defensive stopper. He's not that anymore. He's
DeJounte?
not that.
No.
he's
fell
not
off
that.
a cliff.
He's not
going to
that.
be back now. He's in a system where they're
Yeah, 'cause he's gonna
amazing
get saved by Herb
defensive.
Jones. They don't have a rim protector.
I know, and that's where I'm worried.
How does he
Send
look
us a
like on
first for Steve
defense
Adams.
when he's on the court with
Send us
CJ,
a
BI, and Zion?
Send us a first is insane. Let's just put that out there. You're nuts. That being said,
What was he talking
he said send us a first for Steven Adams, and we can do it.
You know, I've
shit.
been there with Houston.
Type
The
shit.
Pelicans are
You need help.
the Pelicans are the most disgusting roster in the NBA. It makes no sense.
All right.
It makes no sense.
They're the most disgusting talented roster.
Detroit's there.
Brooklyn Nets.
No. He's making a strong statement.
Toronto Wizards.
Brooklyn. No.
The lottery teams don't count in this
Cam
scenario.
Thomas.
I don't
I
care.
agree.
okay,
That's a
okay,
fact.
okay,
He's
okay.
But
right.
even then, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson,
he's
stop.
and Nick Claxton makes more sense.
Cam Thompson would be the 9th best player on this team. Not even trolling.
He's right.
Cam Thomas. Yes.
And ninth is
Maybe
nuts.
8th. Maybe I lied. But
Jose
nonetheless,
Alvarado or
They'd
Cam
rather
Thompson.
give more minutes to Jose Alvarado.
Whose roster's uglier? Who's starting 5 just fit-wise is uglier? The Pelicans or the Hornets?
Fit-wise, the Pelicans have one of the worst fits in the league.
Oh,
I'm
I just feel
there
like
with
it's
you.
disrespectful.
But
to
they're
say,
they're
like, the
talented as
Hornets
shit.
fit
They just
better,
don't
but you're
fit
right.
well.
Yo, if Zion plays center.
Yo, bro, he's 6'5".
Stop.
Dehls is the same height as him.
He can't play center.
That's
He's not a
Dehls.
good rebounder, John. You're right. He's
Dehls
not a
is
good
the same height
rebounder.
as
He's
him, bro.
given
What
up
are we
7 inches to these dudes.
Yo, dude.
He
knew it was sick. He knew it was sick when he said it, bro. The fact that he's
cracking up right now. That's what's killing me.
He knew it was a freak shit, bro. He knew what he was doing.
Come on.
Yeah,
Because right now you have Zion, B.I., DeJounte, and Tice are the locked-in starters. The 4 locked-in starters.
This has been the most unserious
I love it,
conversation
man.
ever.
Wait, okay, so Tice is starting. That's 15
Tice has
minutes.
to start, yes.
Cool. All right, because you need somebody at the 5 to just go out there. All right, whatever. He plays 15 minutes. What is your small ball lineup? Now you have Zion, you have B.I.,
I gave it
Herb,
to you.
And the 2 guards?
I told you what it is. It's DeJounte, it's CJ,
So
it's
Trey Murphy,
her,
what are we
B.I.,
doing with
and
him?
Zion.
What are we doing with Trey? Are we trading him?
6 men off the bench. And I said that I'm willing to trade
Why
Trey
didn't
Murphy.
they just go get a center instead
They
of
can
going
go
to
get
get
Jared
DeJounte?
Allen. They should go trade for Jared Allen. It's possible.
B.I.
I think that should
They're
be,
not
I
trading.
think it's passed.
The Cavs aren't
They
trading.
just-
That's
they
it.
just
That's
extended-
it.
they just extended
But
him.
I'm saying if that's
No, but here's my thing.
really what you
Why
need.
didn't they just go get a center instead of saying, hey, we need DeJounte?
That's a great question. I don't
I
know.
think right now the perfect trade would be Trey Murphy for Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson's hurt.
You just want everybody on the fucking Knicks.
Trey
no,
Murphy-
Mitchell Robinson makes sense for the Pelicans.
He's not playing to December.
Yo,
Yeah.
That's
Trey
what I.
Murphy
That's why I
on
said
the
because
Knicks.
he's injured.
Also,
they
I
haven't made the
don't
trade.
know.
I'm
I don't know
sorry.
if the Pelicans need to get another injury-prone type player.
How about they go get
Precious Achua?
dude? He's 6'9".
Sorry, I'm just naming backup centers.
No, they need a starter.
They do.
Go get Clax. Can they trade for him? Yeah.
What picks do they have?
I think trading for DeJounte Murray
Fox would
was
be tough.
probably the worst move of the offseason.
They didn't trade anything to get him.
No, Larry
low-key,
Nance,
they
Larry
did.
Nance and Dyson Daniels or something. If I'm the Hawks, I'd rather have Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance than DeJounte Murray.
No,
Yes, I would. 100% I would. 100% I would.
You did this.
Wait,
You did
no,
this.
no. He
You
been
did
hated. He
this.
been hated Johnson out the league. Remember
True,
that.
true.
If you're the Hawks, you
He
wouldn't
been
rather
hated.
Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance Jr. over DeJounte.
No, I just think it's pretty shit.
Dyson Daniels is legitimately
DeJounte, you know?
think
Dyson
that's more
Daniels
DeJounte.
is legitimately a way better defender than
That's it.
DeJounte
That's it.
right
That's
now.
all he does.
That's
He's a
what they
dog
need.
on
though.
defense.
No, they don't. That's
The
not what
Hawks
they
need
need.
defense. Yes, they do.
Okay, yeah.
The Hawks,
no,
that's what I'm
sorry.
talking about.
I'm sorry. No, but we're talking about the Pelicans. The Pelicans don't need defense.
They
They need a point guard.
especially like wing defense.
They needed a
pretty
point
set.
guard.
DeJounte's not a true point guard. He's a shot chucker.
But he's better than what you
here-
had.
here comes
Shot
Nate.
chucker's
Here comes
insane.
Nate.
Shot chucker's
He
insane.
is a shot chucker.
But he was efficient
Shot
last
chucker
season.
he
is
shot 40.
fake crazy.
He scored 41 points on 41 shots last year.
Yeah, he beat
That was
Boston
bad.
that way.
That was bad.
He had to. Who the fuck
Yeah,
else
Trey was
was
out.
Hey!
He was the shot chucker when Trey was out because who
I
the
would
fuck
be
else
too.
is gonna shoot?
Was that the only time you were watching Hawks basketball last year?
Should be.
DeJounte Murray for me is just not a true point guard.
He's not in the league for real. For you.
No. Thank God. Shout out to the Spurs organization.
He's not in the league for you. Like
No, I think the Pelicans. I think they might.
What's their thing,
They might
40
just
what?
float off of talent.
42?
45 and a half.
they'll get out that over talent.
Fucking Lakers are under.
I think they're
a team
probably
that
going to
has
go
no center.
under that. Honestly, I don't know if
Should
they're
they
going
go
to
out
win
and get
46
a
games.
Jakob Poeltl or Zubac? Like
They
one
need,
of those
yeah,
guys?
they
But
need,
they would have
they
to trade
need
one of their
anybody.
wings.
I'll be honest. They need
Now,
anybody.
Golden State is 10 at 43 and a half wins.
Insane.
Oh, we'll win 45. 10 over the Lakers is crazy. The Lakers are better than us. But
The
we'll win
Lakers
40.
are better than the last 4 teams you've read off to
They're
me.
definitely better than the Pelicans.
We're better than the Grizzlies.
Warriors.
We're better than the Kings.
So to talk about the
Regular season,
Warriors,
probably not. They own you guys.
DeAnthony Melton doesn't
Kings.
move you. There's been some DeAnthony
What?
Melton hype.
Move me.
Yes.
Like what you mean?
They've been saying
Like there's
that
movement.
DeAnthony
No,
Melton
we have
having a
we have-
guard off the
we have
bench
Steph and 12
is a
role players.
revelation.
What was your favorite offseason move for the Warriors?
Nothing.
Buddy Hield.
Oh, Steph extending.
Okay.
Okay. Kyle Anderson playing the 5.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Draymond said he wants Kyle or was
We
it
have
Kerr?
12 role
Played
players.
a 5.
We have 12 role players.
You have Buddy Hield, you have Melton, you have
We have a
Anderson.
very nice.
Kuminga.
I don't know. If he doesn't become Jaylen Brown.
Yo, his jump shot sucks.
Brother, oh my God. I wanted to say this. If Pods comes off the bench and we didn't move him for Lauri Markkanen, I'm going to jump off of Joel's roof really,
start
like
over
head
him?
first.
Buddy?
Like, brother, He didn't start in the preseason. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna wait. But if Pods
He played
doesn't
pretty
start,
bad.
yeah,
He was inefficient.
he's a role player. He's a high level role player. I've never thought.
Tell me
more
he was
of him.
better than Reeves.
Was it just Pods that was the
Reeves is a
last
high-level role
piece
player.
in that deal?
I don't even know if the
sure.
Jazz
Just
were going to
Pods?
accept
It was
That
that.
was
Pods
the-
like 4 first.
I know, but I'm saying they were fine giving up the first, but not Pods. That's how that
They
went.
said not Pods.
I don't know who would start over Pods. Buddy Hield? Or you
No,
don't
Anthony
Pods
Melton.
is starting.
Pods is probably or Melton. Melton's is making a case.
Trace Jackson Davis isn't going to start.
No, he started the last preseason game.
But I'm seeing
There has
Draymond's
been-
being set at the
The
five
starting
right
lineup right
But
now
you got
is
Steph,
Steph,
yeah.
Wiggins, Kuminga,
Wiggins, Kuminga,
Draymond.
Draymond. I don't know who's
Probably
at the 2
Pods.
spot.
Then
Pods.
Or
Pods
Melton.
play the 2 or...
Listen, man, this
yeah.
team is cute.
I'm going to say that lineup sucks because I will.
Oh, which
It's-
one?
it's not
I don't
great.
like. I don't
Starting.
like
It's not
Draymond
great.
at the 5.
I don't like it either.
I like him at the 4. I think Trey should start. This team is 12 role players. It's cute. Steph's gonna gas out by about January. We'll have haters like him saying, "Oh, he's regressed," when in reality, look what he's doing. 40.
If he played next to LeBron, he'd be a champion.
Oh, if he played less HD, he'll be a champion. I mean, we don't need LeBron.
What do you mean?
You know, I think this
Bring AD
isn't
here.
this
We're
isn't that bad for Steph.
What?
And it's not that bad for Steph because he went through his entire prime playing with
Kevin-
nothing but stacked teams.
So Kevin Durant can get Devin Booker
There-
again.
there are
James
players-
Harden again, but Steph can't.
2022 too. You got to understand. He went through the mud a little.
There are players that in their prime had to carry Patrick Beverly and Terrence Jones to the playoffs like James Harden. And they never really got a true team until later in their prime. I think Steph, it was okay for him to sacrifice his prime years to be ass right now for the roster wise. I think
James
it's okay.
Harden has played with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's.
Kyrie
I don't
Irving,
care about those.
Russell
Chris
Westbrook.
Paul.
Yep, him
What?
too.
Russell
Because
Westbrook.
those facts are so out of context.
And Steph has played with
Russell
Draymond and
Westbrook
Clay
was
and just
injured.
Kevin Durant. Those facts-
Russell
And just Kevin Durant, don't do that.
No, I'm saying like he's been with Dre and Clay his whole life. They've been drafted
James Harden
together.
played with Kevin Durant and
'Cause
Kyrie
he keeps
with the
fucking
Nets
moving
only
everywhere.
13
Draymond
games.
Green was also a second round pick, and it was kind of a miracle he turned into one of the best players of all
All I'm
time.
saying is that
slap in the butt.
Steph Curry in his prime
Am I okay to
had
say Draymond's one of the
great
best players of all
rosters
time?
and a great infrastructure around him.
So wait, why can Kevin Durant get Devin Booker, LeBron have AD, Harden have Kawhi, Steph can't even get that?
He can't get Laurie.
He can't get Laurie, can't get PG. Like Embiid keeps getting tossed his talent, can't
He
get
just
past the
got
second
fucking Paul
round.
George.
Yeah,
He got Jimmy Butler.
They got Maxey in what, late first? Like so fuck. Like, but Steph has to just suffer, right? That just
He's already a 4-time champion. You
We
had
want
it was
more.
a dynasty.
I'm saying you had your time in the sun. You're
2010's
cooked.
dynasty.
so okay. I get it. It's hate because Harden has 0.
It's blind
I love
hate.
that.
That was blind hate.
I respect
It's
it.
the
love
best
that.
regular season of all time, 73-9. I mean,
Harden
the
couldn't do
Warriors
it.
were dominating for
And they-
a crazy stretch.
Okay,
and they
Klay
won
Thompson.
2022.
The guy that
He's
yo,
gone.
that's also what I found rich. He hates Klay Thompson.
I know.
watched
Now
him go
he's
to
been-
I
bed
hate
like
Clay
his brother.
as a number 2. I hate the shit out of him.
No,
As
it
a
is
matter of
crazy
fact-
that you hated Clay on the Warriors. Now he's gone. You kind of love him.
No, he's a number 2. I hated the shit out of him. He's the worst number 2 I've ever
This is
seen
the
in
thing
my life.
with,
He's the best number
with
3 in the
Steph
league?
Curry.
Probably 4.
He's going now with what he wrote in with. The
Clay's
Warriors.
gone, brother.
That's what it is.
It's only Dre.
I know, but Clay's
Kerr.
gone because he started declining.
Yes, that's true.
Yes,
an upgrade.
he is an upgrade.
No, he's declined
an
from a
upgrade.
number 2. It's drastic.
It'd be a shame
It's
if he
been a
was,
number 2 in fucking years.
Be a shame if he was just washed.
Yeah, you're not gonna catch me feeling bad for Steph Curry.
Yeah, I don't
he's-
blame
He,
you.
he
I never said
spearheaded a
that-
dynasty.
I mean, it's the same
he
way
could be ass now.
I don't
It's
feel
fine.
bad
The
for
team's-
Harden. He's about to walk away with 0. That's hilarious as fuck. I don't feel bad for Kevin Durant. He's stuck on them 2 with Golden State.
You feel bad for LeBron? Like,
Now we got our 4. And we just won an Olympics. Harden was on the team?
facts, we had our moment.
Oh, he wasn't. That's why you're
fuck.
upset.
Oh,
He wasn't on the greatest team ever assembled. Banger.
Oh my, I hate that. This is so rude.
Kawhi wasn't either.
He
So?
went home. Knee injuries.
And he has 2
But you know he
rings.
got picked up for Harden.
Oh my.
You know who else got picked up for Harden? Drew Holiday.
Listen,
And Derek White, champions.
listen. Harden broke down because he carried teams for years, like Steph Curry's carrying right now. That's
I'm
why he
sorry.
broke
And
down.
Steph won a championship with it.
Yeah, but Harden didn't have
Harden
the
couldn't
roster
do
to
that.
do it. With
Hell,
the
you
Rockets,
mean
he
that
did
time
it.
when you guys were up 3-2 and Steph had 33 in the second half?
Chris Paul got hurt.
You were up.
I'm talking about the first one.
Oh.
Man, Harden's got
Trevor
a 15-year
Ariza
career
didn't
of
play.
excuses.
Calm down.
Trevor
damn.
Ariza didn't play. He wasn't
Wait,
on the
which
team
one?
the next year.
Oh, the next year when you guys
when they
were
blew the
up 3-2
3-2
when
lead.
Kevin Durant got hurt.
And it was only a game and a quarter that Kevin Durant was
Steph had
out.
33 in the second half.
I know, but I'm
It's
talking
zero
about
in
it was
the
just
first
a quarter.
Why did
and
Harden
a
show
full
up?
game?
Dude.
Remember when Manu Ginobili blocked Harden? Remember when he had 10 turnovers in a game 6
Oh my God.
to lose a series? Do you remember that? I remember so vividly. Remember when Steph beat him in
God,
4
here
and
goes
5
again.
games? Before they got Kevin Durant, remember that? When they had Dwight Howard? They were both 1-2 seed? I remember that. Steph averaged 35 that series. It was truly amazing. to
Yeah,
watch.
I mean, you look at the Rockets.
Do you
starting
remember
lineup.
2022? Where was Harden at 2022? I remember Steph at the end of the year holding the medal up and saying he finally got his
The
finals.
Rockets
MVP.
starting
What year
lineup
was
with
that
Patrick
Harden?
Beverly and
Didn't
Josh
Harden
Smith.
go to the Clippers last year to play
Yeah, he
with
did.
PG and Kawhi?
No, he
Another
did.
super team.
And then Kawhi
Interesting.
got hurt. He didn't even play together.
It just sounds like a bunch of.
It
just
sounds like
sounds- it
Harden's
just-
had the worst luck in NBA history.
That's what it sounds
no,
like.
it sounds like whenever
You
Harden
started this.
has a situation, the players get hurt.
I'm sorry.
He was supposed to win his
He should
championship
come
with
to
the
Golden
Nets.
State.
No,
No,
that's
but it's
too-
funny
that's
you
over
say
for
that
him.
because then Harden ended up breaking down in 2021, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Great two hammy.
No, literally the best chance he had to win, he got
He
injured.
blew it.
It
Because
sucks.
he went.
Remember that year?
Wait,
they-
he blew
for
it, or
10.
did he get hurt? He didn't
Dehls,
blow.
did
He
you
got
see
hurt.
that game where they missed 27 threes?
Yeah, I do remember that game.
Oh, he was healthy.
Trevor Ariza was 0 for 11.
Wasn't Harden like 1 for 12?
Fuck was
I
Harden?
thought he
Trevor
was 2 for
Ariza
12,
was 0
something
for
like
11,
that.
got open
2 for 11
shots.
sounds
You know,
right, actually.
Joel, you started.
And Chris Paul didn't
You didn't
play.
have to start this.
No,
But now I have
all
to
I'm
shit
saying
on
is
Harden.
that I don't feel
But
bad for
wait,
Steph
Chris
Curry
Paul
one
got
bit.
hurt, but you're telling me James Harden couldn't get one?
One
DeMar got
game
one.
He couldn't get one?
against Kevin Durant, Steph Curry,
give me
Klay
one.
Thompson,
He
and
couldn't
Draymond
get
Green, and
one
Andre
after being up
Iguodala.
3-2?
That
What?
was a fake nasty.
What? Against Andre Iguodala, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond?
Well, you go 3 for 27 in Game 7.
Yeah, it wasn't just him.
You were
Everybody on the team
screaming
played
one
with
time
that.
when he beat Lou Dortz in the first round
Because he had the game
in
winning
the
block
bubble.
in Game 7.
That's your highlight. That's Harden's career.
You know, because
That's-
it was tough. It was a tough series. And he was facing off against Chris Paul, old teammate,
and
and
Dennis
Harden
Schroeder.
played defense.
Listen, man, this is when we,
They went
this,
7.
This is comparing apples to oranges.
That
We're talking about a
series
top 10
went 7.
player to like a guy that's in like the Charles Barkley tier.
You mean a top
That's
5
still
shooting
great.
guard of
It
all
is, but
time?
we're talking about cream of the crop. He can sit at a different
James
table.
Harden is a cream of the crop.
Huh, what?
He is a cream of the
He
crop.
can't sit at a certain
He's one of
table.
the
So
best
now James
offensive
Harden,
players
he's not
ever.
on AI's level.
He's there.
Okay.
It's a certain table you
AI
can
is
sit
the
at.
cream of the crop, too.
It's a certain table you can
He's a
sit at.
legend.
You know,
Big three, you're
you
saying?
sit with
Like, no
Magic.
Wade.
You sit with Bird, MJ,
You know
LeBron,
what I love about
Kareem.
James
Like,
Harden is that-
Harden can't sit there. He never could sit there.
In the middle of his prime, Harden received nothing but hate.
Here we go.
But
with
now,
this pity.
Harden, now that his career is starting
You
to
don't even,
be
you're
on
not
the
even a
back
fan
end
anymore.
You're
Nah,
not a fan of his.
Well, because he's not that good anymore. That's what it is.
And that's where you lose me. You lose me so badly.
Yeah, because I'd rather watch Luka and Anthony Edwards than
respect that.
James
Are you a
Harden.
real
right
fan of anyone?
Steph, I can watch.
I mean,
all day.
yeah, of course.
I was
Be
just
honest.
watching this
Yeah.
40-minute.
I would not be tuning into Clippers games.
Yeah, James Harden. I still love him, but what I resonate with the most was his prom years. That's
He's
what I
not box
resonate the
office
most with.
anymore. That's where he's not gravitating.
He's just not the
towards
same player
TV.
no more. He's still one of the best passers in the league. But
Some
what I
guys
was
just
saying
can't
is
do it
that
for that long.
in the middle of the
Sucks,
in
man.
the middle of his prime, he was getting nothing but hated. But now that he's starting to be on the back end of his career, I see nothing but praise for James Harden. Whenever I see James Harden posts
I must
on
be on that side of Twitter.
Bleacher Report or ESPN, all the comments are like, "Man, James Harden don't get appreciated enough. One of the greatest scorers ever." Now everybody wants to love him, but in the middle of his prime, everybody just criticized
It makes
him.
you feel better. I'll keep hating.
Good.
Check
do
my
that.
Makes you
Twitter.
feel better. They
Didn't
do
see
that.
anything.
They do that for every player ever,
Not every player. ever.
except Steph Curry. That's it. That's
What do you mean, Steph?
They've done
What
it
do
for
you mean?
Brady.
There's
Did it for
every
LeBron.
single great all-time player in the middle of their career got hated on.
Oh, whoa. After 2016, it was roar. Uproar. for
I
Steph.
know.
Yeah.
I know. Everyone
um,
hated.
See, the
Everyone-
thing is, Harden just.
It's a hateful world we live in. It's sad.
Harden
That's why I just keep
I
hating
think
him.
Harden's you can still like he's still fun to watch. The thing is when you're not at that pantheon of greats like Steph, LeBron,
Pantheon.
Kevin Durant, and all these guys.
Close.
What was it?
Like,
Well, there's just other players you'd rather watch. That's really
there
what it
is.
comes down to. Like if LeBron was the 50th best player in the NBA, you're not watching
He would
him
never
over
be.
Wemby. You're not.
he'd never
Me?
been.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
What?
But he's
No,
a
you're
Laker
not.
fan.
No, you're not.
Me?
I'm talking about the LeBron thing. No, if he was the 50th best player in the NBA right now, you're not watching LeBron over Wemby.
I am.
No, you're not.
LeBron has given me the best years of watching basketball.
It's
A
easy.
group of particularly
No, you
respected,
could.
famous,
It's
or
Pantheon.
important people.
It's Pantheon.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It's
You
easy
got what
for
I
you
meant?
to say because LeBron has never
I
had that
wasn't down.
decline.
I didn't know that.
No, I know you were up to something. You just said it wrong. It's okay.
I always say it
Yeah,
wrong.
it's
But the word
LeBron.
is
I
there.
really,
He's still a top 10 player.
Like when Kobe Bryant fell off, Kobe Bryant fans didn't stop watching him.
No, they started.
They didn't stop watching
that
him.
last season was pretty terrible.
But they still watched him.
No, I don't know. Because they put the Lakers on primetime all the time. They put them on
I
national
think that's what
television.
you're missing. You've just been a James Harden fan. These LeBron fans and these Kobe fans, they're Laker fans too. You know what I mean? You've just been a fan
And
of
they're
the
also
player. Well, he's a Laker fan. He said that.
I am.
Because of LeBron.
Of course it is.
Nobody was tuned in to Kobe Bryant consistently that final year when they had
If you
Jordan
tell
Clarkson
me a Kobe Bryant fan, you ask
Jordan
straight up,
Hill?
how many
that
games
team
of his
was
did you
shit.
watch in his final year? I would not be surprised to say if they watched more than 50%.
That team was dog shit.
And it was bad. But because it was Kobe Bryant's last year, you have to watch.
What's the difference if they're Lakers fans as well? Because most Kobe fans are Lakers fans, so they're watching the Lakers just because that's their team, regardless. Like, if I was a Rockets fan and James Harden stayed on the Rockets his entire career, I'm watching the Rockets all the time.
Absolutely.
But because he left, I'm not just watching the Clippers and the Sixers and the Nets and all these other teams.
I'm not saying
all
that you
the
can
time.
still just,
We know.
you still have to love him.
No, we definitely.
No, I do love him,
Man,
but-
you're latching on to that. 0 rings.
Now, the Houston Rockets are 11th at 43.5 wins.
Hammer it. Wait,
I thought the Lakers
Wait, so
were
Lakers
11.
are 12?
The Lakers are 12th. The Lakers are
They violated.
42.5 wins.
they violated.
So the same as the Rockets?
Yeah, let's just talk about the Rockets first. I think this is a potential breakout team in the West.
I agree.
do.
I agree with you.
I think
Define breakout.
Alperen Şengün has another
Playoffs,
step he
top
can get
8.
to. I think the play-in is
Play-in will
realistic
be
for
in.
them.
Can we also agree?
So we all wait. We
though?
all collectively
talk
agree.
about the
Houston
Lakers.
is our
no.
I'm in
is
on
our
Houston.
panel. Is our
I'm here.
our panel.
I'm with
I'm
Houston.
here.
I'm with
I love the Rockets.
Here we
Let's
go.
do it. Me too. I'm a
But
fan.
can we all agree their ceiling can only be reached if Jalen Green takes another leap?
I think it's a collection.
I don't
but
think
yes.
it's solely on Sengun. I think if they want to get to the ceiling where, oh wow, this can maybe be a playoff team, it is on Jalen Green and Jalen Green only, in my opinion. Because if he plays at the level that he played at in March, average that around, just not that level, because 27, over 40% from three,
was
insane
crazy.
efficiency. It was unbelievable basketball to watch. Truthfully, it really was amazing. Just kind of take a median of that and put that through the entire calendar year. If he plays at that level, they can be a playoff team.
If Jalen Green just has to be good. That's really what it is. I mean, last year he wasn't good outside of that
inconsistent.
stretch.
It was literally March. It was a movie.
Because Jalen Green doesn't play defense and he's inconsistent with his shot. If he was that last year, they would have been a playing team. I think for the Rockets, Jalen Green to me is up in the air. I really don't know what to expect from him. What I am expecting from other players, though, I'm expecting a leap from Jabari Smith. I think last year his shooting got more consistent and he was drafted with the the third overall pick to be an elite level shooter. They need that around Şengün. Like, they need that. And he's a good rim protector. So that kind of hides Şengün's deficiencies protecting the rim. You want to see improvement from Amen Thompson. You hope that Reed Shepherd can make an impact. I think Jalen Green, I just don't know what to expect from him because he's just been so up and down to this point.
Yeah, I think there's other players on this Rockets team you could count on, right? You could count on Şengün, you could count on Jabari Moore, you could count on Fred Moore. Jalen Green is kind of would be the cherry on top. Like, I really don't know what I'm getting year to year, game to game with Jalen Green. The March runs were sensational. They were amazing. I know
Take me back.
the efficiency was crazy. He was averaging 27. I don't know if he's able to do that for an 80-game stretch or even like a 40-game stretch for half the season.
He was
but
hooping
this team
28.
is super deep. Everyone's bought in on Ime, his defensive physicality, intensity that's brought with this team. You bring in Cam Reddish, Reed Shepherd. Cam Reddish looking at you.
How did you get that mixed up?
I thought he meant to
Reddish,
say Cam
Reddish.
Whitmore.
I thought he was going to say Cam Whitmore too.
Of course, Cam Whitmore as well. So I think there's other players on this team that I see a more clear path to development. Jalen Green, he's obviously still super young and his story's like not written yet, but I think this is kind of what Jalen Green is. Like, he's a high volume level scorer who you're going to be upset with some of his shot selection. He's going to have games where he's super hot. He's going to have games where he's off. He's going to have some bad turnovers that you don't like. Defensively, there's going to be some inconsistencies, but I think the whole this Rockets team is really solid. So Jalen Green takes that leap. Okay, now we're talking about a team that could be
They have
like,
two
like a
stars.
7 seed, a 6 seed potentially.
If Jalen Green takes that leap, I agree. They do have two stars.
Yeah, they have
I
two
just have more
stars.
faith in the collective over him.
Yeah, Jalen Green, I like it.
It was 15 games. It wasn't like 15 games, 28, 9 attempts from 3, 41%.
No Şengün, no.
That's
gotta add
fair.
him in. You gotta
That's
add him
fair. But six rebounds, the playmaking, 4 assists, nothing crazy. But Jesus Christ, 9. Like, he's shown when he can get hot, he's an amazing basketball player.
We don't need you to get hot. We need you to be consistent.
He just needs
That's
to
what I
hit his
agree with.
shots.
Both of you guys are right.
That's it. And I think if he can break out, for one, this is a contract year for him. So he is incentivized to play consistent basketball and breakout, because if he doesn't, right now, Şengün is the leader in the clubhouse to get paid that max contract.
Yep.
Jalen Green needs this for his future as well, and to actually have a solidified role in the NBA. Because if he doesn't have a successful season with the Rockets this year, around the league, he's going to be viewed as a negative asset. There's going to be a team that gambles on him for sure because he's so talented, and maybe he breaks out in another situation. But ideally, you want him to do it in this one. So I think a lot does ride on him. I think if he breaks out, this team is more than a playing team. I think this could be the surprise team in the West.
I think just the vibes over there are lit. Like
Hell
the way
yeah.
Ime Udoka has these guys playing for each other, how these guys just get along so well. I mean, they're like, you got Steven Adams coming back. You know, Jock Landale gave you some good minutes. Jeff Green gave you some good minutes. So they have a nice collection of veterans / young players. Well, they have a shit ton of young players. I don't even know how this rotation is going to go. You got Fred probably starting. You got Jalen Green at the 2. At the 3, Dylan Brooks, then Jabari, then Şengün. Then the bench, I mean, Amon, Cam, Steven Adams, Reed Shepherd.
Tari.
It's one of the deepest teams in the league.
Tari was missing time last year, too. Like, this team is legitimately 10, 11 deep. Like, if you miss Steven Adams, Jock Landale can give you some good minutes. You miss Cam Whitmore, Jeff Green can still give you some good minutes. You know, you have Aaron Holiday, where if Amon or Fred get hurt, Aaron Holiday can give you good minutes. Like, this is a team that plays collectively together. And they play defense. Like, this team plays defense. They buy in on every possession. They hold each other accountable. This is definitely and I'm glad this is a panel love, because I think this team deserves it. This team's the next group coming up. Like, there is no egos on this team, I feel like. This team is a collectively really play for each other. So I'm all in on this team to potentially make the playoffs. Like, I know the West is deep. I don't think not making the playoffs looks like a failure because the West is so deep. Just being that hunt like they were last year.
What's this for? Oh, no reason.
Oh, crazy. Just being that hunt. And this team, like, you know, you got these old teams, an injury or two away. These old teams can drop off, you know, a Zion, a LeBron, a Steph Curry, definitely. So Houston, you got to just be healthy, stay on pace.
They almost did it last year, right? They went on that crazy hot streak at the end thanks to Jalen Green, and they were fighting right there with that 10 seed potentially getting in.
Now the Lakers are 12th at 42.5 wins.
What sense does this fucking make?
Here we go.
What sense does it
2
make?
hours
I like
and
what I've
46
seen from
minutes.
JJ Redick. I like the things
As
he
you
said.
should.
Oh, love
that
it.
shit with
Love
Rui
it.
Your
Hachimura,
team
I was
ass, though.
punching. How is it
Your
ass?
team's ass.
How?
It's the same team as last year.
Exactly. How is it
The
ass?
team wasn't that good last year.
What we were leading by double digits every single game versus -1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. You
And we
lost.
blew it because our coach was fucking inept.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that information.
Their biggest upgrade was Darvin Ham to JJ Redick. That's
Sure,
their big
yeah.
offseason. And
ass?
We're ass. Maybe
That
it
was
a little strong.
ridiculous.
That was a little strong. I'm sorry. You're okay. You're mid.
who the fuck would you guys draft in blanking?
Connect.
Don't
Connect,
connect.
thank you.
Now we
Yeah.
have a little bit more spacing.
His defense is pretty terrible.
It's
I'm
fucking
not against
awful.
that. I'm not.
Bronny
not
James
wrong.
is not a basketball player.
Why are you talking about a
He's not
second round
playing.
pick?
Just in case, you know, you was gonna go into a spiel about potentially him LeBron playing. I don't know. I felt it coming.
Now the
You've been
video of
listening to
him
people in
of
the
LeBron
Discord?
going up to
No,
Bronny to
Bleacher
get that
Report. Did you
picture,
see
that
Bleacher
shit was
Report
killing me.
posting just going crazy about it? Yeah, you have the same team as last year.
That's good.
You've upgraded at head coach. Well, we think in theory, yes, you've upgraded at head coach.
I'm
Do you
very
think that there's
confident.
unnecessary glaze around JJ Redick right now?
I mean, he said all the right things.
How?
Because I want to start by saying this.
Necessary place.
Like, what kind of fucking statement is that?
I think JJ Redick's going to be a good coach. But I was watching a Twitter clip where the reporter asked him a question during the game, and he talked about he's screening and stuff, and he's seen that the team was doing a good job of screening. And under those comments, it was just people like, yo, man, Lakers finally got one.
He's saying all the right
Yo,
things.
they
Like I
finally
said,
got this great of a coach. And I'm like, I feel like every head coach in the NBA says something like this, and they don't get praised for like basic
was Darvin
answers.
Ham saying it?
Darvin Ham wasn't drawing up
I
shit.
don't know if Darvin Ham had any schematics in him.
Darvin
definitely
Ham was
think-
Dan Campbell. If Dan Campbell
Didn't have Ben Johnson.
essentially.
Here's the thing: you're loved until you're not. I thought Darvin Ham got a lot of praise until last year. The conference finals run.
He's right.
People
He's
did
right.
praise him
He's
a
right.
lot. And JJ Redick right now, it's the
Yes.
honeymoon phase. It's, oh my God, JJ is so fucking good. Oh man, we've never had a guy like this do it this way and speak in this fashion. My goodness. It reminds me
wanna
of,
fuck him?
you know when a reporter talks to a quarterback
John.
post game And the reporter asked the quarterback, what did you see on that play? And then the quarterback actually goes in depth on the coverages, and then everybody is freaking blown away that this quarterback knows basic NFL concepts. That's what I feel like is happening with JJ Redick. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a good coach. I'm just saying I think he's getting a little bit too much unnecessary praise right now.
Like, wow.
I think it's a little bit unnecessary. It's unearned. Like, if you guys start losing during the season, going a slump, he's going to be the first guy scapegoated. 100%.
It's the offseason. People are trying to be excited about something for the Lakers, especially because that was the big move that we made. What I would have loved is a backup big. I've been vocal about this for fucking years, and we've failed to do that.
Some perimeter defense.
Perimeter defense, I'm with you there. That being said, Vandal comes back this season. God willing, is healthy. I'm excited about that. I know that he's negative on offense. I can't disagree with you, but you love Payne Watson, and he is too. So that being said,
well, he's a bench player.
Yeah, so is Vando.
You were saying like Vando was going to start.
They're counting on Vando to be your defensive stopper, though, for the most part.
They don't count on Payton to be their defensive stopper.
Who would they count on?
Is Aaron Gordon or Christian Brown?
So now I got a question for you guys. What's the highest that you see the Lakers finishing in the West?
6. Yeah.
6.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Feels right.
Six feels
it's 6.
7, 6, 7.
We're not a regular season team.
They're not. That's for damn
Which is a problem.
I'm not against it. We're LeBron James is going to be 40 this year. He's not a regular season player right now. Well, he is, but you know what I mean. Like we need to make sure that we're healthy for the playoffs. Look at this team, and who can benefit the most from this is Austin Reeves. I say that with the idea that he's coming in, and Darvin Ham failed to play the lineup of D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, AD, and Rui. Why that it took him till the start of the new calendar year to figure it out and play that lineup was insane to me. Fringe idiotic. One of the main reasons we did struggle was because we didn't know whether to start D'Lo or start Reeves and put D'Lo on the bench, put Reeves on. It was ridiculous to me. I really couldn't wrap my head around it. But JJ already put that to bed. The starting lineups can be the one that was the most dominant for them for the year prior when they made the WCF, and of course when they did finally put that lineup out last year. It shouldn't be common. It's really not rocket science to understand that when you have a coach that actually plays the right lineups, knows how to draw up plays, you're probably going to perform a little bit better. Who I'm most excited about for is Austin Reeves, but really Anthony Davis and how we can find different ways to get him the basketball.
What's your bench?
The bench is going to be right now Dalton, probably Gabe.
Gabe who? Oh,
Vincent.
Oh, I forgot Vincent.
The backup big is killing me, but it's Jackson Hayes and Max Christie.
A lot about him.
People are very and Vando
got paid $30 million.
And that's one of the things I'll give. Yeah, he
4
did.
years.
I'll give Max Christie his praise. Amazing 3-point shooter, really good defender.
All he needs is to do those two things.
That's really all I need from him.
What did you think about the answer that JJ gave to the reporter
about Rui
the leap?
That's exactly what I was saying. Brilliant. And I say brilliant in the sense of
as Picasso moment as a interviewer coach,
because these interviewers are really trying to drag out and set expectations on these players. But the reality of the situation is Rui Hachimura is a role player. To take the next leap, as a role player, to get better as a role, he was already a really firm role player who is not a great defender, but gives effort, but can space the floor. If you give him the ball, he can kind of create for himself in a weird way, especially in the post. He is a really good offensive player for being a role player. Why are we trying to ask him to take another leap? As what exactly? Are we just suddenly gonna now? You're a defensive stopper, Rui Hachimura out of nowhere. You're setting unrealistic expectations for him, and that is fine for JJ to go out there and that be his immediate reaction. It's not like he kind of thought about it. It's like, no. What are your expectations?
So can you guys make it to finals?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm actually higher on the Lakers this year.
Summer.
Nah, I mean, what was last year?
Oh,
yeah,
every summer, yeah.
But we were in the WCF and we blew it. This year we played against the worst matchup for us.
What if you didn't have to play Denver?
I would have liked our chances.
No, I'm saying going into this year, you're able to avoid Denver.
Like completely. Yep. We can make the finals.
See,
could lose.
You can beat OKC.
That'll be tough, especially now with Hartenstein. That's gonna be tough.
That's a moment I'm talking about though, when JJ Redick put that reporter in his place. And it went like super viral.
He's got glazed for that.
I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like the reporter asked,
you just try to set me up on some shit like that just so you could say that.
No, but
that's weird.
I wasn't trying to set you up. It's just the fact that to me, how I took it, the reporter, maybe he's trying to stir something up, right? Oh, he's trying to divide the Lakers team by putting all-star expectations on Rui. I thought he was just asking an honest question, like, what's the next step for Rui? The next step doesn't have to be an all-star. It can be being in better position, becoming a more consistent shooter. And I thought JJ reacting in that way, kind of spazzing on him, kind of showed that throughout the season, if things start to go badly, he's not going to be able to really handle the media. I thought that was an easy question to answer.
I just thought he supported his team.
I thought he could have simply just said, Rui's going to continue to impact winning like he has been. That's it.
But that's not answering his question.
It is, though.
But there's no leap taken there in answering that question.
Yeah, but it's coach speak. Coaches don't always just answer questions directly.
But also, I'm fine with JJ saying, being his own guy and saying, what do you think then?
Like, I just feel like JJ's playing the media a little bit too much.
That's good.
He's like fishing for quotes and trying to put like reporters in their place.
You think so? That's
Yes, I
really
do.
what the take was?
I really
He's
think
fishing
it
for
was
some content because he's out the
Yeah.
podcast.
You hate JJ?
I don't hate JJ. I think he's gonna be a fine coach. I just think that like the
He's
fact
another
that
white
the
coach,
fact
and
that
now people are giving him praise.
that
That
went,
could be a fair take.
the fact that went viral. I'm like, what was this?
Should-
Like,
should
what
fix
was
it.
the
It's
point?
the
of it?
Lakers' new head coach. He is the biggest podcaster
You know,
in the last
Bronny's
2 years.
weak ass layup
I'm not
went viral.
surprised.
No, his chase down block went
anything
viral.
Lakers is going to
Like
go
if Steve
viral.
Kerr said that, what would your
He would
reaction
never
be?
say that. But if he did say that, I definitely
Is there
be
another
like,
coach that's really gone out of his way to call out a media reporter in that fashion?
I
Steve
don't really
Kerr
think
probably
so.
gives some real dumbass philosophical.
It's a numbers thing.
It's a listen. It's
what he
all within
said,
the mind. You know, you just have like just something stupid.
Rui's been really great for us. I think he's going to continue to get better in different ways.
Shit, Kerr's the type to never play Rui.
JJ was like,
fuck.
"No, you're writing the narrative. What do you think, huh? Huh?"
That's a good
Yeah,
statement.
come on, he didn't get beside himself in that moment. I thought he did.
He's
I don't
funny
think
for
he
that.
turned up on him either. Like in terms of like how aggressive he was.
Now,
Maybe he had a bad morning.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the Lakers can be high as 5, which is why I think it's crazy.
Oh, he'd be over the
number
Suns?
12. Yeah, over the
Yeah, they
Suns.
can be.
Actually, I'll say 6 because not that. Oh well. Actually,
No, they
yes,
could be.
5.
I think they could be over the Suns.
Actually, yes,
That's
5.
fine.
I think it's realistic.
They can.
Let's
Now
stop
the
for it, though.
LA Clippers are at 38.5.
Let's run through these last 3 teams.
They'll get over. They'll get 40 over 40.
I think they can too, but it all relies on the knees. Yo, the Clippers, fake or deep?
I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. You're relying on James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, and if
James Harden can still be solid. In the
but if
regular
one of those guys go down, which is very possible, this is a
I
bottom
think
team in the
defensively
league.
they'll be a really good team this year. Like
Yeah,
really.
you bring in Derek Jones off the bench, Norman Powell. Chris Dunn was a solid addition, especially for the defensive side of the ball. You still have Zubac, of course. It's one of the better bigs,
really?
role player bigs. Stop.
Sorry,
I
you
like
just- You're a little
Zubac.
funny.
They've got like 2
Am
top
I-
70 players in the league.
Respect Zubac.
What do you
was
mean by
that-
that?
you have
Kawhi
3.
and Harden's dropped to 70.
I'm saying
Damn!
I'm saying everyone else.
You know, every time I try to maybe buy into the Clippers hype, like, oh yeah, the starting lineup: Harden, Kawhi,
is
Jones
the starting
Jr., Terrence Mann, Zubac. I'm like, but is Kawhi going to be healthy?
That's really what it comes down to.
And I don't know if
I
I
have
can
very
trust
little
them.
faith in this Clippers team.
Yeah, no, they should probably trade like some of their
They
players.
extended Kawhi, if I'm not mistaken.
did.
They should trade James Harden to a contenders.
Of course,
Oh,
another one.
also brought back Batum.
Sweet.
Fourth quarter,
yellow.
The San Antonio Spurs are at 35.5 wins.
Really for you, brother? Can they crack 41?
Wem God.
I really don't give a fuck as long as I see Wemby go out there and ball.
Can't
send
wait
it.
to watch my Spurs.
What's Wemby's
Yo,
stat line
Stephon
prediction?
Castle looked kind of tough versus OKC.
He's my fucking dog.
He did look kind of
What?
tough. Who?
I told you I was a Stephon Castle fan.
You did. You said you was riding this one.
What's Wemby's stat line?
He's
25,
gonna-
12, and 4 blocks.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5 blocks. I can
not
see
He
gonna
it.
lie.
averages 5 blocks a game.
He should win DPOI. 5 blocks.
What's he
is
shooting
big.
from 3?
37.
Ooh, 37 would be crazy. I
I
was
was catch
saying
and
like
shoot. I'm talking about just catch and shoot.
I'm,
He's,
I'm
really,
saying
he's better at
I'm
catch
saying
and
over,
shoot.
just
He's
overall
a
three-point
fire
percentage.
catch
I was going to say like
No.
34.
No,
I
off the
could do it.
dribble.
Is
it
he like
off the dribble?
28?
I thought it was the other way around. Off the dribble, he's really
No,
good.
off
catch
the
and
dribble.
shoot.
You're right.
Yeah,
Off the
yeah,
dribble,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
OD. It's the catch. He's shitty.
Off the dribble, he's a demon.
Yeah. Maybe like 35.
He's making All NBA team.
Okay. I can see
Yeah,
it.
he could 13.
Yep.
As a 13th seed in
Maybe.
the West.
Yep.
I've
Like
seen
Luka.
Boogie do it. That
Not
was a
gonna lie,
13 seed.
Wemby's gonna have all the
Look at
hype in the
playoffs.
world. It
Look at
doesn't matter if they win
playoffs.
fucking 10 games. So they'll get an All NBA.
They'll glaze him to get up there.
Yeah.
One of the 15 best players statistically.
I've seen Boogie do it.
Well, he also has to meet the game requirement, right?
Oh, brother's playing
He will.
70 games.
How many games did he miss last year? Not that many.
What's the game requirement? 65?
60 or 65.
It's 65. He played 71, right? Yeah, I was going to say, why did that even come to your mind?
He's just very, very tall. Yeah, that's why.
Okay, next statement.
Just tall.
Yeah, those guys, you know, there's always a little bit of concern there. The Utah Jazz, 28.5 wins.
Yes.
Over?
We are going under because we are tanking
Selling.
for Flack.
Tanking for Cooper.
I'm looking at the trade deadline. There's like 4 names that can get sold.
Clarkson.
Clarkson, facts.
Kessler.
Colin Sexton.
Laurie cannot be traded.
I know.
Correct.
Yep. I don't think Laurie will. Who'd you say?
Kessler.
I'm sorry. Walker Kessler was one of them.
Collins.
John Collins is the last one. Don't know what team
He
would
can go.
want him. I'll be honest. I
Lakers.
wouldn't say no.
That's $25 million
Who
a
I
year.
really want is Walker Kessler.
John Collins
I'm
feels
gonna
like
get
a
nasty.
Laker.
I'm gonna
He
get,
does.
He
He
does.
does. He feels
I know.
like a Laker.
I know.
No,
he does.
Jordan Clarkson honestly feels like a
I would
Laker.
love him to.
That'd
Colin
be a great
Sexton would
addition.
move me.
Yeah.
It would move me.
I
Yeah,
think the
but
Wemby take is kind of crazy.
About
All NBA.
He's stuck on
NBA.
it.
No, I really do. I really
Okay.
do.
He looked up names.
If he could play, if he could be healthy, other dudes are gonna get hurt.
Wemby
He
is
mentioned
already in
not making
conversation for
NBA
top
last year.
15.
He
So
mentioned
it's like
minimum,
other
you know?
dudes are gonna get hurt, but we can't even speculate about Wemby.
Well, we're just saying in this
He's
world
just
where
played
he
71
plays 65 games.
I'm just saying
He's not
we
injury
got-
prone. Does he have a history of being injured?
I want to go off the assumption that these players are healthy, and let's see if he's gonna be a top 15 NBA performer this year.
You want to ask this question?
Yes.
Wemby's
yes.
already in the conversation for top 20,
So,
top 15.
Do you think Wemby's gonna make an All NBA team this year?
100%.
Over Joel Embiid,
No,
Of course not.
Nikola Jokic.
no,
Well, can Joel Embiid make the minimum requirement?
he's spitting.
I can give you that one. Jokic,
Of course not.
No.
Giannis.
No.
Can Giannis meet the minimum requirement?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
we just we could do
That's
this
right.
about so many
I
players?
know.
No,
I
yes,
know.
but we're talking about if
Live in a
healthy.
perfect world.
If
Yes,
healthy. If
Giannis,
healthy.
of
course.
So
Yelling.
Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. If healthy.
You just asked about Wemby's health and it blew mine. But go ahead. Yes. Of
SGA,
course not.
That cut is killing.
Luka Doncic,
Luka,
Luka, of course.
Anthony Davis,
AD.
AD.
LeBron James.
You look like you was really.
They're gonna
in
give it to
Brooklyn.
LeBron no matter what.
They
I'll be
will,
honest.
but I could see it.
deservedly, he's gonna have a great year.
He should.
Jalen Brunson.
Who? Oh, Jalen Brunson.
Brunson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why
Brunson.
the fuck can't I hear you? Two?
But can Wemby have as good
Brunson
a
might
season?
average
Who knows?
30.
As
He can.
Jalen Brunson?
And they're gonna win like
Statistically.
55.
Yeah,
games.
no, for sure. He's gonna make it off that alone.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, Wemby.
He could.
You know
get
how
over
I'm feeling.
Tyrese.
You know I'm going with
He
the
get over
Max.
Tyrese.
Nice, he might average 26 this year.
Maxi
Shoot the-
sneaky. Maxi sneaky this
Boy,
year.
he got a bigger. He's gonna kill Jalen Brown, bum ass. I can't wait.
If healthy, John Morant.
Hey,
Wemby.
playoff rise.
For sure. So is Jalen Brown.
So Wemby has a better season than John Morant if
Sneaky.
John Morant's healthy.
Wait, what?
Yes.
John Morant or Wemby?
I think me and him had a conversation about this. It's possible.
It is.
But I think Memphis will win more
defense.
games.
Wemby's defense on top of probably averaging 24 to 25 this
Probably
season.
be deep.
If
Point.
Ja averages 27 and the
they
Grizzlies
win
are a
50,
top
he's
6 seed,
easily getting
he's
over it.
getting the All NBA
You have to
over
All
factor
Wemby.
right,
in the
so
winning.
if the Spurs are a
Wait, what?
play-in team,
Brother, stop.
like 10-9.
You think they're going to do it? Well, I mean, the
Nine?
Grizzlies being
I
top
said,
6
all
is
right,
realistic.
9-10. 9-10. 10. Oh my God.
10 still. Yeah, the Lakers, they had him at like 12.
Well, Vegas was tweaking.
Yeah, but the 12 teams is fake tough.
Okay,
Like, Houston is way better than the Spurs.
Yeah, I agree.
Damian Lillard,
Wemby.
Wemby could do it.
Jason Tatum.
JT.
Wemby can do it.
Morons.
You, come on, Joel. We could be here with this.
I think Tatum's going to be in the MVP conversation.
He's in the MVP conversation before the season
He
starts.
was 2 years
every
ago.
year.
He was like top 5.
This is what 3 years in a row All NBA first team.
Like, come on, let's be serious. Jalen Brown,
Wemby.
Wemby could do it.
Tyrese Maxey.
Wemby can do it.
No. You know, that's
Put the
bias.
bias aside.
No, it's
I
We
can't.
understand Tyrese is like that.
I can't
Max
do it.
is like that.
Maxi's the best
I'm
player.
here telling you this. He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Donovan Mitchell.
No. Well, he didn't make it last year
Yeah.
because he's
I'm
gonna
saying
miss
if
time.
healthy, if healthy.
Oh, Donovan's gonna. If they win 50-55, he averages 29.
Wemby
He
could
averages
do it.
29. Did he average 29
He averaged
last year?
28 last year.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, Donovan
He was
can do
amazing
that,
last
yeah.
year. I'll give the nod to Donovan.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Wemby.
Oh, this is not even thinking about it.
Yeah, no, you're really. What did Wemby do to you?
Cat didn't even make
Nothing.
last
It's
year.
just Cat with the Knicks could average 24, 10, and
that-
10.
okay,
and they could be a close to a 60-win team.
Wemby's gonna average like 25-12 and beat Depoy.
Yes,
You
but
lost
these
to
players
Cat.
are going to be
That's
on
where I
winning
draw the line.
teams.
This is why I draw the line here.
Jimmy Butler, if he takes his regular season
Wemby.
seriously.
He's not.
We don't even know if he's going to do
Wemby.
that. He doesn't play enough.
Bam Adebayo,
Wemby.
Wemby.
For all
Okay.
NBA purposes. Defensive purposes, no.
Paolo Banchero.
Wemby.
You can already argue that Wemby is better than Paolo. You can already argue that.
You could.
If Boncaro, listen,
Another lead.
you can make an argument.
Yeah.
He could have been on it last year.
But then I can make the argument Zion could have been on it last year.
Both, yes. But
Okay.
I'm saying I can see an uptick from Boncaro.
Okay.
And then an
I
uptick
see
from
it.
Orlando.
I see
That's
it.
what I'm saying. I think Orlando is much, like, you have to understand, a lot of these teams will be better than the Spurs by far.
Mm-hmm.
So, And listen, I don't know about that one.
Anthony Edwards.
Yes. No.
Ant-Man.
Sorry, Ant-Man.
But I can see it. But
I'm not going to mention Kawhi Leonard because
Yeah, he's not going to play.
you
let
know.
me ask you a question.
Hey,
There was a year where a bad team. Well,
Boogie.
no. That OKC.
Steph.
OKC. Thank you, Drew. I
Steph.
knew your memory would fucking get
I'm
there.
helping you.
SGA.
Steph.
No, Steph was number 2 in MVP.
Yeah,
Facts.
he averaged 33.
But first team All NBA
Didn't make the
was
playoffs.
SGA, and they didn't make the playoffs.
But he made the play-in.
Playing.
You got to
talking
make the
about
play.
like a
If you make the
13
play, you have a
seed
chance.
But he was first team All NBA, is what I'm saying.
He made the play. Steph, same thing. And number 2 MVP, first team, made the play.
But my point being is SGA was insanely great, but didn't make the playoffs. Was playing, but was first team.
Yeah, but you can. If
Wemby
there's
should
a
be fucking
path for
third.
Wemby, but he
Yeah.
has to make the play.
Kevin Durant.
I
KD's
respect-
healthy
I
as
respect
KD.
KD.
How many names are we at?
Devin Booker.
We're at a lot.
Not
Devin
really.
Booker
No,
healthy as
probably
well.
Devin
said,
Booker.
we said Wemby for a lot of these names.
We said a good. I think we've
I
said
feel like
15.
we're at like at least I would say 10
I'm not.
names
I'm not really
easy.
keeping count. I'm just like
that
you
was
know.
I feel like if somebody to know, we've
John,
said
you keeping
15.
count by chance?
No way.
Nah, he wasn't. The editors will keep
fucking-
count after when we put it on
Fuck you
TikTok.
typing over
It's
there.
okay. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Prob-
I would
Kevin
say
Durant.
both of them
And
over,
I'd say both.
over
If
Wemby.
healthy.
yeah.
If healthy, Zion Williamson.
If healthy Zion, I would say
Yeah,
that.
I think that's fair.
No.
There's a lot of names.
If Zion's healthy, I would still take Wemby.
If Zion's healthy, the Pelicans win 54 games.
But the thing is, Wemby's going to get glazed, deservedly. But when you have like these 50-50s, this
Yeah.
guy or that guy, even if he's the 12 seed, he goes out there, puts up 4 or 5 blocks, and
You're
it's
cooking.
So
doing
let
like
me ask you
If you are a top 2 defender in the world, like Wemby can be this upcoming season, god damn.
Hypothetical scenario.
I just, bam.
If-
I wasn't even
Chet-
done talking. That's on you.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
If Chet averages 23 and 10, and the OKC Thunder are the
Chet.
number 1 seed in the NBA or
Chet's
in the West
All-NBA.
he's locked.
versus Wemby, who gets in the All NBA?
They're the number 1 seed. He's averaging
And if
23
Chet
and 10.
averages 23, Wemby's averaging 26,
But
27.
Chet can also be in DPOY conversations too. So I say
That's a fact.
Chet
I'll
would
give
average
Chet the
and
nod.
they'll probably be a
18
better
last year?
defense as a whole, too.
I'll
than
give
Spurs.
Chet the nod.
Because I think it's realistic that Chet can take that type of leap.
What did he average last year? 8?
17, 16, 18?
Something like that?
I think J-Dub's very obviously going to be the number 2 this year.
Yeah, it'd be tough for Chet to jump to 23.
Shit, Chet, damn near generational.
I think he'd get to like
Okay,
20.
he averaged 16 and 7 last year. If J-Dub takes
20,
a leap,
20 and 8 seems like the vibe.
if J-Dub takes a leap, would you put him in All NBA before Wemby?
Not over Wemby.
Type of leap.
Because he's not going to have the defensive
Serious,
impact
serious
that Chet
leap.
would have had.
Yeah, I would have gave it to Chet more because the defense part.
I just think it's not that Wemby's not on the level. Obviously, he's on a level. I'm just
better than
saying
half these dudes.
it's just if the Spurs don't get to the
He
play-in,
averaged 24. Oh my god.
Wemby?
Yes.
if the Spurs don't get into the
phenomenal.
play-in,
Yeah, what was their record?
I think winning is going to matter a lot.
a lot
Nah,
of
for
losses.
sure.
Yeah.
And they didn't get too much better. They're really focusing on the developmental part. Stephon Castle's winning Rookie of the Year though.
I'm here for that.
Unless Chris Paul makes a big difference.
Steph can play the 2.
All right, we don't have to talk about the Blazers or the Utah
Hey.
Jazz. It's whatever.
Blazers,
Like
Shaden
the
Sharp.
Portland Blazers.
All I wrote in my
Rob
notes for them
Will.
was Danny obvious season. John and Riv were here. Scoot Henderson, please.
Move Aiden so
Lock in.
Klingon can start.
Donovan Clingan, all rookie
And move
first team.
Klingon so Rob Will can start.
Shaden Sharp,
Idiot.
prayers. Hopefully he's okay. That's who it was. He's the one that fucked up his shoulder.
Shaden.
Yes,
We were
that's
he- we
who
were
it
here
was.
for
That was
Shaden.
on me because that's I makes Vince
He did-
Williams.
he did-
and his
he
injury.
did
I'm
mess up his
definitely
shoulder.
Shaden guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
What school he went to? College.
You got it. You have it. You have it. You have
He
it.
went
You have
to
it. Yes.
Ignite.
Idiot. He didn't go to college.
I said Ignite.
He didn't go to
No,
Ignite.
it was
he just
Kentucky.
came out of
It
high
was
school.
Kentucky.
No,
I thought it was
Oh,
Kentucky.
he never went to. He
signed
didn't play.
to
signed
Kentucky.
to go.
He didn't
Yeah.
play. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. He just came out of high school.
I was
I was
close.
about to say you weren't about to play me. I knew it was Kentucky.
Yeah, no, he definitely
Yeah,
did the whole thing at Kentucky.
I thought he was an Ignite guy.
You guessed. Guessed wrong.
I knew he didn't play in college.
Yeah, he didn't. He just said, "Fuck it, nice, let's just win."
He's real.
Yeah, I respect it. I would have did the same thing.
And that's going to do it for episode 415.
Fucking DJ Moore.
Very, very long episode, but deserved NBA Western Conference preview. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickAsidePodcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.